Okay, we are live. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Holy Humanist. This is going to be a very, very fun stream. So, as if you don't know, I hope you guys know that I don't tend to talk about religions like personally that I don't know much about. And this channel was built around talking about Islam and obviously the lack of women's rights in Islam. And over time, I've obviously interviewed guests from like a varying background of religions. And it just so happened that as you obviously talk about Islam, I guess for some reason, coming from a Pakistani background or whatever, a lot of like Hindu, or I would go as far as to say hindutva sympathizers, not necessarily like sympathizers in the political sense of the word, but they want to reclaim that title, tried to kind of cozy up to ex-Muslims and think that, you know, we have some kind of alliance where if you've left Islam and you do come from a subcontinental background, then it just so happens that you'll fall into the lap of these supposed hindutva sympathizers, and they expect you to kind of talk on their behalf and kind of incorporate their opinions into your work. So it was never my intention to go and, you know, go after Hinduism per se, or the way of life, quote unquote, that we're told it is. But it just so happened that kind of to prove a point and to show that, no, we are, you know, this movement cannot be hijacked by any one particular people because of your racial background or your ethnicity, or, you know, you're not going to be a pawn in somebody else's game against their enemy. So just like in light of that, obviously, there is a huge movement going on across the border from Pakistan, even within India, because of the current political climate and all of the violence that we're seeing, the kind of bipartisan violence, the violence against Muslims, the rise of the Hindutva, the RSS, the policies that Modi is backed. All of these kind of things, I think they need to be discussed in light of just this movement, their movement. I think it needs to be discussed more. We need to focus on what's happening in India. We need to hear from people who have also turned their back on dogma, dharma, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I think it's very, very important that we do highlight these voices of the minority within the minority and hear what they have to say. And I do think it is always better to listen to and kind of shut up and sit back and listen to somebody who's actually living there on the kind of ground level and understands the problems from a grassroots level. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Rukshit from Ex-Hindu Atheists. And yeah, we're going to kind of dive into this topic some more. I have posted their YouTube channel in the chat, and there's a couple of other places you can also follow them, join their spaces. They are doing incredible work, but I will let Rukshit take it from here. Rukshit, welcome to Holy Humanist. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Nureya, for inviting us, and it's been a great pleasure to join this live and present our point of view and perspective on these issues. So if you are, my name is Rukshit, and I co-run this channel with my friend Hindu Atheist, who is Saurashtra, and we have currently over 4.3k subscriber. We have Twitter account and the Instagram as well, so people can definitely go ahead and look there. And we try to give references from the scripture. We discuss the social and political aspect, and we also conduct regular spaces on Twitter on various issues, whether it's related to society, whether it's related to religious ideas, dogma, or whatever. So we have covering at least for these things, say over 2-3 years, last 2-3 years, and we have been doing okay, but we would like more and more people to understand our perspective and have a viewpoint instead of just writing it off, or putting a certain label and just ranting about it. Okay, of course we encourage debate, and we definitely would like to debate with people who are interested in debating, not abusing. That's where I want to clarify the distinction. Having said that, today's topic is the problem with the Hinduism, Sanātana Dharma, call it whatever. There is no name. The fundamental point number one you need to keep in mind is that there is no name for this thing, what they call as way of life or blah 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 or anything. If there is supposed to be a name, that is Brahmanism, for various reasons, not just one reason that it's a priestly class who holds the key to all the knowledge, but it's also because Shankaracharya, when he started his Reformation movement, he imagined an absolute truth as Brahman. So there is a Sanskrit word which means absolute truth as well. So there are two to three different meanings of the same word, but yeah, with that perspective itself, you can say that this is something as Brahmanical religion. It's more to do with the rituals of a family. It's not so much as though that somebody wakes up in the morning and starts blabbering. No, what it's like is that your parents did something, your grandparents did something, your great great grandparents did something, hence you must do that. It's kind of like that of a belief system it is. And
So,
what happened,
so
yeah,
Rakshit, sorry. So just to start with, so you're basically saying that when we always hear that Sanātana Dharma in Hinduism is a way of life, and then obviously a lot of people have heard the term Brahmin, which is like the priestly class and I guess the
yeah.
highest caste you could be born into as a Hindu. So essentially what you are saying is that the entire way of life or the Dharma or the dogma is essentially built for that priestly class, and not really everybody underneath. They're kind of just pawns in this ritualistic religion based on those Brahmin elite class. Is that what you're saying?
In a sense, yes, that's what I'm implying. And you can also keep this in mind. It's not just that it's all for the priestly class. Because the tide is turning against this idea that there are Brahmin, now they have started playing around the logical fallacy. You know, anybody can be a Brahmin now. Oh, it's all based on one's social activity. And they just put this lens that, oh, even you can be Brahmin. Oh, you are knowledgeable, you are Brahmin. Oh, you know Sanskrit, you are Brahmin. Again, and one more thing, the highest, if you truly get this religion, what I'm saying is Sanskrit is the classical language of rituals. Only during the period of, say, Gupta period or so, that it became a language of literature, but otherwise it was always a language of rituals and philosophy, Sanskrit. So this was not something spoken by all the people in India as well. There is no evidence that all people in India spoke. People think that once it was, no, it wasn't. What you forget about the Indo-European languages is Sanskrit is just one of the many Indo-European languages. Apart from Sanskrit, we have something called as Prakrit, which is Middle Indo-European languages, which you can Google and find out. So Prakrit was, say, more lingua franca of India rather than the Sanskrit. So Sanskrit was used only for evoking the gods or having a philosophical discussion around that gods. That's what it was meant to be. But today, what we are doing today is, if we are to present Hinduism, we are presenting it from the point of view of a Brahmanical lens. In the sense, what a person born in a certain Brahmin's family practices or lives a life is told to all others as this is Hinduism and this is good and this is like very logical and blah 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 blah. But when if you look closely, there is nothing logical in it. All that it is it still caters and beliefs around the belief systems. So as I said, there is no name for this. Even if you have to give name, you can only call it as Brahminism. Otherwise, there is no name. And if somebody says Sanātana Dharma, Sanātana means eternal, what essentially they are doing is they are fixing the things into a timestamp and saying, today whatever thing we are continuing, even if it's dogma, we will continue that in future. Just like Islam is, our religion is fixed. Hindus' way of saying that our religion is fixed is by calling it as Sanātana. That's what they're doing, nothing else.
I see. So are you saying essentially that by saying that it's a way of life and it's fixed, like it is a way of always just going back and doing those ritualistic like elements to it? Those things are Like, so, like in terms of the language that you said, so in the scriptures of Hinduism, we see that it's mostly written in Sanskrit, right? And there is
Yes,
importance
yes.
on Sanskrit. So are you basically saying that those like rituals around God or worshipping or whatever were always, those conversations were always done in Sanskrit?
Most of it, yes. Okay, very few were translated, I think. I mean, even if you look religion, it was only after or post Mughal period or during the rule of Delhi Sultanate did people really think about vernaculars. But before that, you hardly had any idea of vernacular language based propagation of these things. Okay, so even if you look at Ramayana or Mahabharata, the texts, they're originally written in Sanskrit, but it became vernacular with more than 300 plus version in only last say 800 years, 700 years. So it was always at a certain point in time is centralized with the certain class of people, and their job would be to interpret and tell it to the people. So they will read the Sanskrit. Once they understood, if I have to explain it to common people, they used the Prakrit language and interpreted it in their own way. And whereas if you look at the debates, discussion within the priestly class on the certain topics of say rituals, on topics of afterlife, and on topics of ultimate reality, all that will be in Sanskrit.
Okay.
You won't
Yeah.
find it much in Prakrit. Yeah. Only Jainism and Buddhism uses Prakrit mainly.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I also want to touch, Rakshit, right, like we'll do this towards the end, but I do want to touch on the kind of offshoots of like how Buddhism separated, and a little bit about Sikhi as well, if we can just go into it. But still, again, coming back to Hinduism, so I get told this all the time, Rakshit, and I'm sure you must have come across it too. But any time that I notice this backlash when I would go in, I mean, I haven't looked at a deep level, but superficially, if I was to read a part of the scripture, it would scream out as being misogynistic or problematic to me. And every time that I brought it up with, let's say, a Hindu, they would say, oh, you don't understand our religion. Like your brain can't comprehend it because you've come from an Abrahamic framework and you only look at religions through like halal, haram, jannat or jahannam, like hell or heaven. Whereas in Hinduism, Rakshit, and I think you're going to love this, but I don't believe you're an ex-Hindu because you can't be one, Rakshit.
Okay, so here is one more problem here. Most people think that word Hindu is something ancient. I mean, it's not so ancient as well. If you look at people, even say 500 years back, people didn't call themselves as Hindus. Okay, I mean, in the last, say, you can say 200 years, there has been this concerted effort during the British period to say unite all the non-Abrahamic aspect into that one umbrella term. It's just an umbrella term. Let's be clear. Okay, and how do you justify this umbrella term? The only justification you give is you either refers to certain Persian writers like Al-Biruni's travel books, or you refer to certain inscriptions maybe in Persia, which refers to Indus River as Hindu. I mean, where is Indus River today? So very small part of Indus River today flows through India, but the major part of it flows through Pakistan today. So again, I mean, today what you see people calling as Hinduism is nothing but Ganga Yamuna culture. So the culture of say states of UP, Bihar, and Uttarakhand, where you will see the flow of river Ganga and Yamuna, the culture of those states is what their people are calling as Hindu. Whereas Hindu originally, even if you talk geographically, it meant Indus River. Majority of which is in Pakistan. Only a small portion flows through Jammu Kashmir. So again, that also doesn't make sense. And today, if you look at it, it's just a political term. I mean, you can believe me, you can try this, Nuria. Go and change the name of your YouTube channel from Holy Humanist to Hindu Humanist. Hindu Humanist. Okay? Put a tilak, and put your Shiva's photo, put an agarbatti, put a lamp there, and chant Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. I will bet that you will get easily 500,000 subscriber in no time.
Oh,
In
yes.
1 month. In no time. Just one video, you go viral and you get it in no time. And if you want more subscriber even more quickly, you just need to take a clip of, say, Sudhanshu Trivedi, or take a clip of some other Hindutwa channel's video and put it there, and you become pop star in no time.
Yes. And for the people that don't understand like the extent of like what Rakshit's saying right now, there is a whole kind of unspoken movement behind people like myself who have left Islam, let's say, and we are from what Rakshit was describing. Like they say that our ancestors, and it's true, we come from the Indus Valley civilizations, but again, that was just like a place where you've got the Harappan civilization, you've got the Mohenjo-daro civilization, like a lot of civilizations grew out of there. And as Rakshit was saying, it flows mainly through modern day Pakistan. So there is this whole kind of unspoken movement, and it's called Ghar Wapsi in Urdu or Hindi.
Oh, yes.
So what Rakshit is saying is basically, if I was to put the tilak on my head, light some incense, and kind of, go like follow a Hindu preacher and chant certain things, like the following is huge, because low key a lot of these people are expecting or would love for people who have left Islam to go back and, according to them, do what their real true ancestors did, which was follow Sanātana Dharma. Which again is also not true, because my ancestry is more from the Afghanistan side, so they were probably Buddhist in all likelihood, but still
Buddhist or Parsi.
Exactly. Yeah. So even then it doesn't make sense. But Rakshit, what would you say to people who are fixated on this Ghar Wapsi and trying to get larger numbers to come into the fold?
So that's what we do. Basically, me and my other friend ask one question: please give me the scriptural reference. What is the method and what is the ritual of doing Ghar Wapsi? Okay, please show me one scripture which tells that, okay, if somebody is so and so following quote unquote some other thing, he can be brought home, which is what it means. Ghar Wapsi means homecoming. That's it. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, how do you do that? Where is the description of that ritual? There won't be any answer, but you know what the ritual actually is? Here is the thing. You would be purified. And believe it or not, Hinduism too has its own halal and haram thing. Anything that is pure or pavitra is called as good, like halal version. Okay. Anything that is impure or apavitra or pap is something to be rejected. Okay. So that is called as haram version in Hinduism. So it does has concept, though people play logic. Okay. No, don't compare us with Abrahamica. We are not like this. Impure, this is there. Even within, I mean, if I have to tell my family is so conservative. Even though my father being open-minded, okay, still says you should never make sure that हम जब उसको थूकते हैं ना थूक, that should not touch the plates. You should make it clean. Even though my father is very open-minded. So this is how it goes. There are quite literally various families, especially this mainly happens in the Brahmin families, okay? If you look at it, that point of view, upper caste. But now it's being even propagated in other communities and castes as well, that ki bhai yehi Hindu dharma mein ye hai. So this happens in other families also nowadays, okay? That you should not spit on certain things, or your spit cannot be exchanged. Your spit is somewhat impure between two people if that happens. So much of that is there. And not just that. Yeah.
And Rakshit, this gets very so it seems almost like a bit benign at the moment. Islam has like weird things like that if you have dirty thoughts while you're praying, spit 3 times on your like right or left shoulder or something. If you have a bad dream, it's the same thing. But with Hinduism, I think it gets a bit problematic, because what we're gonna like obviously just like go into it in more depth, but like in general, what you're saying, even if these were just rituals that were done by certain families or Brahmin families, the point that it goes all the way down, that trickles down to untouchables, supposedly, because Hinduism has this kind of inherently inbuilt caste structure, if you will, into it. Just before we get into that, Rukshit, while I have you here, just for kind of my Western viewership as well, could you just answer this question for us, just to, you know, so we move on from the introduction? But in your opinion, just to answer Norse mythology, would you say, is Hinduism a philosophy, a religion, or some combination of the two?
I would rather call Hinduism a kind of a framework within which you can have anything nonsense. आप कुछ भी डाल सकते, but it's a framework, and that framework cannot cross over certain things. और वो certain thing ये है that you need to have a guru, a teacher, who is even superior to gods and who will take care of your afterlife things and blessings and blah blah blah. Okay, guru, that is gurudom. Then you need to have something called as reincarnation, common belief. You no matter which Hindu comes and says I believe this philosophy, that philosophy, almost 9 out of 10 schools of philosophy, all of them, or 10 out of 10 of them, if you name it, will have a concept of afterlife reincarnation. कि आपका अगला जन्म होने वाला है. You die in this life, you are not supposed to be considered dead. It's believed that the soul travels a journey of, say, 84 lakh species and again comes and born as a human being. And that soul journey doesn't just end there. It will even go through heaven and hell temporarily and then come back again. So that's how weird it goes. Okay. And then of course you have the social structure. Here is the interesting thing. What we say as caste is nothing but a subset of classes. So Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are the classes initially done. However, over a period of time, they became birth-based, and it is birth-based even now as well. Okay. But within these groups, you find subgroups, and that subgroups have another subgroups. So the highest person have a hierarchy thinking that I am superior to other person. That other person thinks I am superior to other person. So highest person will always be considered as a priest. Anybody who can do the rituals, anybody who can, sing the Vedas or Sanskrit verses is somewhat superior. They need to be listened. आप उनका अपमान नहीं कर सकते. You cannot insult them. You cannot, blaspheme them. Okay, that's how superior they are considered. Below them are people who do the kingly work, kings or people who rule the kingdoms, who are called as Kshatriyas. Okay, warriors, blah blah blah. Below them are people who are traders, who do the job of trading and hoarding the items, all that, business class basically. Even below them are the Shudras, called the laborers in modern terms. हम जिनको labor बोलते हैं. Now all of this at a certain time logically was made as birth-based. And to justify this birth-based, you were told a story that you did some good karma in your previous life, and hence you are born as a Brahmin and Kshatriya in this life. You were a Shudra or a laborer getting exploited because you did certain bad things in your previous life, hence you are suffering this now. So that is the Hinduism's explanation of story of why society is like that. It doesn't go into classical market economy or market sense कि भाई society में अमीर और गरीब क्यों है. It goes into the idea of karma and reincarnation to explain that. Okay. So even,
Rukshit, just to say, sorry, for example, if somebody was born differently abled, so like if, they've got some kind of difficulty when it comes to, like, let's say, like their normal faculties, in terms of explaining that from a Sanātana lens, they would say they did something sinful or wrong in a previous life, and that's why they are born this way?
Yeah, that's the explanation, yes.
Right.
So पिछले जन्म का कुकर्म है, और there is another way of explaining कि आपके माँ बाप या आपके दादा ने कुछ कर्म किया था जिसका फल आपको मिल रहा है. So your grandfather or father did something wrong for which the child suffers. So that's how its spin is given.
That's so damaging anyway, as a mindset for society. But it also, for some reason, I really remembered the kind of concept of original sin from Christianity. It's kind of similar, that you're born wrong or you're born sinful. And what Rukshit is just explaining is that even if it's not put down to you, they could say it's something that your grandfather did or your great grandfather did, and therefore you are now paying the price for that by being born in this way. Is that right, Rukshit, to say that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
That's there.
Yeah, thank you. So Rukshit, we have a lot of people in the chat who are getting very angry and irate by saying, we're just having like a one-sided conversation and there's no scripture, and give us scriptural references, ask him references, and he's just talking about basic practices. So let's just move on to we don't even have to give exact references. I can put them in the description later. But for somebody like me that doesn't even know much about Sanātana Dharma, and I'm going to call it Sanātana Dharma because everybody in the chat who is defending it is saying everything that you're saying, Rukshit. They're flipping it and saying, no, you can still be a Gnostic, which is an atheist within Hinduism, and it's not Hinduism, it's Sanātana, So let's go to some of the major scriptures, and you tell me if this one is even worth bringing up. But there was a big, let's say, aspect of Indian history where Dr. Ambedkar, who was very much against the caste system, actually has, did he burn the Manusmriti himself? And is that...
Yes, he did burn that.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about what the Manusmriti is, what kind of things we can find in it, and why Dr. Ambedkar did what he did, and the effect on Indian society?
Okay, so Manusmriti is a classical text. It's a Smriti text. There are basically two types of text. Okay, one is Shruti and Smriti. Okay, Shruti is, which means that is heard. You just heard it from your teacher and you just passed it down. Okay, Smritis are texts which are supposed to be memorized, that which is remembered or memorized. Okay, so Manusmriti is a Smriti text, means a text which is supposed to be memorized or by hearted. Okay, so the text basically deals with all your social activities. Okay, how the kingdom is supposed to be, how the king is supposed to be, how the priests are supposed to be, or how women are supposed to be, or how Brahmins are supposed to, or Vaishyas are supposed to be, how much the tax should be collected by the king, what are the punishments. And imagine if you read the text honestly and think the kind of punishment prescribed there, then you would really think, are you really sent to follow that in 21st century? Because for every single things which goes wrong ritualistically or even socially, okay, there is something called as prayaschitta or atonement of that. So everything you do, there needs to be certain way of atonement through rituals. आपको नहाना है, आपको जो है पूजा करना है, or you need to invoke certain things, certain ritual by which you get that atonement done. Okay, the text deals with that, and for each class of people they prescribe certain things कि उनके लिए ऐसा है, उनके लिए ऐसा और इनके लिए ऐसा है. Okay, and as far as women is concerned, there is no place for lesbians in Manusmriti, though it may have place for gays but no place for lesbians. Okay,
how discriminatory.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the reference. You take Manusmriti chapter 8 verse 369 370. Okay, so you read that lesbians verse. One second, let me type it.
Yeah, Rukshit, you can say it again. I'll type it in the chat. What was it? Chapter 8?
Chapter 8 verse 369 and 370.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I've put it in the chat.
Just let them open that and see what it says. So again, it's anti-lesbian. Okay, whereas a man can do sex, the only atonement he has to do is take a bath of water morning. That's it. Usko nahana hai. Just take the bath from Ganga river, enough. Done atonement. Okay, but if two women do sex, they can be beaten, they can be paraded on a donkey throughout the whole village, and their faces can be blackened. Yeah, and there will be 10 lashes. 10 lashes.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
yeah.
So why that's interesting, because a lot of people say that, again, with Sanātana Dharma, you have this flexibility when it comes to like just sex. They're a lot more sex positive. The Karma Sutra was developed out of it, but within a lot of people are going to say, oh, the Manusmriti is not even a scripture that people consider anymore, blah blah blah. But regardless of that fact, you find all of these rituals in there, the ritualistic cleansing, and then you also find that if you have a context where two women are to have sex, there is a punishment ordained for them that does not apply to men in the same way. So even in the sex positivity, it's inherently discriminatory towards women that like women. Yeah.
And one more thing, if people think, oh, our religion is compatible with evolution, blah blah blah. Just one opening of the initial chapter 1 of Manusmriti tells that everything is created by Brahma, or somebody called as supreme being or Purush. So in Hinduism, there is a concept that there is some unknown or invisible supreme being called as Purush, and from him comes everything. From his mouth comes Brahmins, from his hands are the Kshatriyas, from his thighs are the Vaishyas, and from his legs are the Shudras. And they have this concept that all gods are somewhat connected and emergent from that. Okay. Again, this shows again creationist idea.
Rukshit, I'm so sorry to stop you again, but this is really interesting. I just want people to understand. So what Rukshit is just describing, and if we can do it again, so where do we find this description where you can kind of see the illustration of the Varna system? So this is how they've categorized people. So the priestly caste start with at the head, right? Can you just explain this image to us, Rukshit, and what it symbolizes?
Okay, so there is even in Vedas they use the Purush Sukt. Okay, it's there in the 10th mandal. Okay, Purush Sukt. But within the Purush Sukt, of course, main focus goes into this social structure. But even without social structure, there are other things. They describe how gods are, connected to that supreme being, how gods make up that supreme being. But what they also show us is how social structures make up that supreme being, or they interpret that is emanated from the supreme being. Okay, so it's always that the mouth will always be Brahmins, and hands or muscles and those things will be Kshatriyas, the warriors. Thighs will be the Vaishyas or traders. Legs, the foot will be the Shudras or the laborers. So that's how it's only emphasizing hierarchy, top down to bottom. So society is always a top down approach. So Brahmins, there is if somebody says that Hinduism is secular, then they need to give me an instance where king did not use the suggestion of priestly class for taking decision in the state. They need to give one example. So actually speaking, there is no king in India without the advice of priestly class. They took any decision. It's only in modern last 200-300 years, because of secularization, that our society has at least come this far, that you need not take the decision, you need not consult the Brahmins or the priests for decision making. You can go ahead and make independent decision based on the people's welfare and economics and blah blah blah. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's interesting. So only recently, otherwise any other kind of ruler would have to go and take the advice of the priestly caste.
In fact, if you look at the Indian kingdoms, okay, in many ways, this is actually particularly true, mainly true about the north states. South, there has been some exception, but most of the south state didn't have kings who were pure or something allegiance to full Brahmanical. There were autonomous things, okay, even in south at that time. However, if you look at the north, predominantly you see that always the minister, the prime minister of the state, will be appointed from a priestly class, and the king will always take last consultation from him even before going to war, and then decide whether I should continue and take the course. But even only in the last 300-200 years that in politics there is separation of this priestly class or state from, you know, decision making process. There has been some differentiation. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's actually also very interesting. Just to round up on what Rukshit was saying previously, is like this creation story within Hinduism that, I mean, a lot of people in the chat as well, I've heard this excuse all the time that what Rukshit essentially just described as like the Varna system. So the priests emanate from the head of creation, and then you've got like the traders who are that come out from the thighs, and the warrior caste is just beneath the priest, and then you go all the way down to, I'm assuming, like the basic ground level where your feet are, and that's where you get the untouchables, who are unfortunately known as Dalits in India.
One small correction. Though when we say untouchable here, in Sanskrit they use the word called as Ati Shudras. I mean, they're considered even lower than the labor class, Shudras. Why? Because they were given the job of cleaning the sewers. They were given the job of, you know, cleaning the sewers, and you know, the feces and the poop coming out of the other people's houses, especially. And they were given the job of, you know, maintaining and cleaning the dead bodies and those sort of things. Okay, so they were called as untouchable, and there is a Chandogya Upanishad, this chapter verse you can read, which actually tells why this is the case.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And Rukshit, are you able to, if you're born, let's say, as somebody who has to do that job, is there any way out? Can you move out of that? Can you climb up the social hierarchy and structure?
You can, but that doesn't guarantee that it will happen within this lifetime. What they will promise is it will happen in future time. You just do good karmas in this life. Next life you'll have a better, you know, social status. That's how it goes.
And this is the process, if we can just touch on it. Is this what is called samsara, where you are constantly going through the process of kind of like dying and reincarnation again and again?
Yeah. That's what Buddhists call, and they have their own modified version of this. That's it. There is not much difference.
I see. And that's until you reach nirvana. Is that correct?
Yeah. And here in Hinduism, the concept is like moksha. Okay, so in Hinduism, it's unique. After you die, you're supposed to go into the God's abode, which you remembered at the time of death. So, Nuraya, if you were supposed to be dying, you remembered Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, you go to Vaikuntha Dham, Vaikuntha or Goloka, and there you will enjoy everything with him, okay, in his company. But if you are remembering, that is there in ISKCON. You didn't know that? You can ask any person from ISKCON, they will answer that. Okay. If you were to remember Lord Shiva, you go to his abode, Kailash Parvat, and you spend your eternal life, eternity there. Okay. But at the time of death, if you didn't remember any of this God, you go to the Yamaraj. Yamaraj will decide. This is there in Garud Puran. Open the Garud Puran and open the Bhagavad Puran. This is there. Okay. He will decide whether first you should be sent to heaven or hell. After you have been through heaven and hell, you are given a birth on the earth, and you can be born as any species. By the way, the word yoni means species closely.
Okay. Yeah. So Rukshit, who should I remember when I die? Who has the most funnest what's the most fun like after party for life? Who should I remember?
That depends on the sect. Okay, so each sect has certain their thing. So you, for example, there is some sect who worship the goddess. Okay, so if they remember goddess, they will go to Chintamani Dweep. So the abodes are beautiful name sounding. They are almost like eternal place. You read their description, you feel like, what is this? Why was I following Islam? Okay.
Rukshit, I think I'm going to remember Lord Shiva on my deathbed.
Oh, your wish.
Shiva's a good one for me. But and Rukshit, just to kind of, somebody's given a super chat, so I just want to address this real quick. Chikur, I'm sorry if I say this wrong. Chikur Chuchum Baba, thank you so much. 420. Oh, you'd also follow Lord Shiva. Thank you so much for your super chat. Chikur is saying, and I really wanted to bring this up, Rakshit, with you, because I did not know this, and it's something I really want to talk about because it's the purpose behind this channel. I genuinely believe, my personal opinion is, with every organized religion, and I would include Sanātana Dharma in that, just for this context of this question. But I think women are always at a disadvantaged and at a disservice when it comes to believing in an organized religion. So this super chat, Chikur is saying, women are called Bap Yoni and are always looked down on in Sanātana Dharma, but our fellow sisters fail to understand it. Such is the blindfold that makes Sanātana Dharma. Did you want to comment on that, Rakshit? Because that is news to me. Women
that
are
is
called
true.
Bap.
That is definitely true. That is definitely true. I have given the reference in the chat. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 32. Okay.
I'll just put that
So
now, yes.
women are compared to the sinful birth. Okay. So Pap means sinful. Yoni means birth, species, and even private sex part. Yeah, as I said, Sanskrit is an absurd language that a single word can have any meaning. So that's the absurdity. Okay.
Yeah. So again, this just shows you a lot of people have tried to, especially like as a woman leaving Islam for a lot of misogynistic reasons, have told me that, oh, come into the fold of Sanātana Dharma because you can also be a free thinker, you can be a Gnostic, which is like an atheist, you can, and they also respect women. So the respect that I didn't get as a woman in Islam, apparently Hinduism has that. So I would notice little things just growing up watching Bollywood. You know, there's like the Karva Chauth, which is the day that a woman fasts for her husband or her partner. And it's a one-sided fast again. But then I saw certain rituals where a woman would be drinking the water that her husband has put his feet in. And then
that is there. Yes.
Of sati as well. Yeah, do you want to just talk about some of these misogynistic aspects?
Okay, you told a woman drinks the water which is touched by the husband's feet. Doesn't matter whether it's dirty or clean, whether it's like, but it's touched. Okay, that reference comes from Shiv Mahapuran. Okay, and that is already practiced. So I mean, if I were to give reference now, you will have people in certain Hindutwa people coming and asking question, who does that today? Okay. But the question is, if I point out who does that today through news, okay, will you admit that it is being done through Shiv Puran? No, they will not admit. They will say, no, you need to give it. Again, this is a logical fallacy, but it is happened in many villages. It is very common, even among very conservative families living in the cities, okay? And it's not just the case that this is women thing. There are so many levels the discrimination happens. Discrimination not just between upper caste men and lower caste men, even between upper caste women and lower caste women. That also happens when it comes to the marriage selection. Okay, so you know, if a person is born, especially a person, if a woman is born in a Brahmin family or a Kshatriya family, okay, or a Rajput family, okay, whom they call as warriors, okay, their parents do not expect her to get married to person from untouchable guy, a guy from whose family ancestry is untouchable, or whose family ancestry are laborers and shudras. No, they will not marry her to them. So it happens at many levels, discrimination.
And Rakshit, we see this a lot of the times in India. I see news reports all the time of like violence, if, you know, even by a family or by, let's say, like members of the community, they are so against intercaste marriages. In India, there's a huge problem with, you know, two people from whether it's a different religion or whether it's a different caste being able to fall in love and get married without the judgment or violence of external people. And that's a huge problem in India. What would you say to somebody like British Rakshit, who's saying women are Devi, Durga Mata Gauri, which is basically, he's flipping it and saying that women are, I guess, goddesses and worshipped?
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Actually, it's other way around. Durga, Mata, Gauri are women. Okay, it's other way around. Coincidentally, whom you call as mother, that mother turns out to be a woman. Okay, it's other way to look around. Otherwise, the present government actually banned one movie called as Durga. There was a movie called Durga which was banned from being shown in theaters. Nobody provided the reason why it was banned, but it was banned. You can just Google and check out and ask Brijesh Pathak why this was banned. On one hand, you say Durga, Mata, Gauri are, all women are blah 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 Devis, but a name called as Durga, a movie which is based on a life of a girl who struggles to become successful, is stopped being shown in theaters in India. Why was that the case? Again, what you say and what the society reflects are two different things. What you think doesn't get reflected by the society and its action. That's the point. Action speaks louder than words.
Yeah, 100%. We have another super chat, Rukshit, from Chikur again. Thank you so much for your support. Chikur is saying, Sanātana scriptures had all modern science and social equality, but it's Mughals and Britishers who had all the time in the world to induce all the bad things, with a laughing emoji. This is, again, Rukshit, every single thing that we point out about the problems with Sanātana Dharma or the Varna system. I've heard everything from caste is a Portuguese word, Varna, the Portuguese bought it, or the British came and they were the ones, as Chikur is saying, had all the time to affect practices. I mean, in my understanding, they were the ones who outlawed sati and things like that. So what would you say, Rukshit, to somebody who blames it on every... I understand that the British Raj did so much damage to the Indian subcontinent. I will call out Britain all day, every day for the damages, the way they looted the country, the way they divided and ruled. It was horrible. But is it fair to blame every problematic thing that we find with deep-rooted within Hindu or Sanātana dharmic culture on the British or Mughals?
Yeah. Again, this only shows anybody who is claiming that Mughals and British did those bad things and interpolation, then please, I'm telling them, please clap for British and Mughals that they became expert in Sanskrit. I mean, what your big priests couldn't understand, okay, who were debating all day long in that archaic language, which was not even the lingua franca. British and Mughals from nowhere came. They came from Central Asia, they came from Arabia, they came from Europe, from some corner of the world. They understood the Sanskrit so much that they could add bad things and play around and tell that, yeah, this is your scripture. Great. So again, shows the inferiority complex. Anybody making that claim. Okay. Now, as far as the modern science and comes, I'm just waiting for the day when they will be even searching for the UFO technology in that. Because currently they're discovering aircraft technology.
Vimanas, you already have UFOs.
Yeah. Now they need to find now next labeling will be like the UFO people were aliens, so we were describing our aliens. So I mean, future defense will go like this: who are Rama, who are Krishna, who are Shiva, or who are Vishnu? They will say no, they are just aliens. You have that ancient aliens series, right? They'll go back to that logic.
Yeah, exactly. They built all of these things that we see back in the day. They were flying on Vimanas, having cosmic battles.
However, as far as the mathematics and science is concerned, here is a small caution I would like to add. Okay, here is what they will not tell you, that the science and the mathematics, whatever was used, was only considered to the level that rituals can be performed properly. I mean, even in Vedas, there are dimensions described, measurements and all this, where people will be doing rituals. But that only concerned with the rituals. It was limited to that. It wasn't that it was expanded and it became like everywhere. All this job was done by Jains. So Jains and Buddhists studied mathematics and science independent of the ritualistic religious viewpoint. Okay. Whereas Vedic and Brahmanical thing continued within that framework. Okay. So they will accept mathematics, they will accept science only to the extent that they can able to perform the rituals well enough, they can able to construct the temple well enough for their gods. That's it. Only till their extent.
I see.
Okay.
So even the mathematical dimensions and various things that are described only pertain to them being able to carry out their rituals to the best of their ability.
Yes,
It's not
yes,
to
yes.
further the progression of humanity or
Yeah,
knowledge.
not as an independent science.
Right.
Independent science, it became post, say, I think it became independent science to some degree during the time of say, Aryabhatta or Varahamir or Bhaskaracharya, during that time. But even then, to reach out to the audience, they had to use the names of gods in their books. Else, they will not get the social acceptability. Okay. So I think it became independent science, but it took a long time. Okay. Yeah.
No, thank you. That was actually a really interesting point there with why, even when you find, because it's, Rakshit, the more I kind of talk to you, the more I have these conversations and look into it, I see the same behavior that, like, let's say Muslims do when they go into apologetics mode. Like, you know how they're trying to figure out the Big Bang in the Quran and things like that, which, it's nowhere to be found. It's the complete opposite. But I think it's the same thing in Hinduism or Sanātana Dharma, where they want to say, we were the grandest architects, we were the greatest mathematicians, we have, the most advanced science, like deep seated in our Vedas. Like, it's just all this secret knowledge was there to begin with.
Honestly, I sometimes think that it's time for people living in Iraq, Syria, Egypt, and Mexico to leave their Christianity and Islam and tell, yeah, we are Mayans, so that they can come out and tell to an Indian, hey, how dare you copy our stuff into your religion? I sometimes feel that aaj ke Egyptians should come out and say, hey, we don't follow Islam, but how dare you copy our great stuff into your cowpiece belief system?
Exactly. And Raksha, just again, this is what we keep hearing. So Gauri Shankar is saying the beauty is that Rakshit is still a Hindu and there is no blasphemy and no Sartan Sijuda slogans. So guys, everyone listening, sorry, just to apologize, this is going to be a bit of a bilingual stream, so we'll just kind of keep popping between English and Urdu and Hindi. It's just the dynamic and nature of this conversation. So essentially, Gauri Shankar is saying that Rakshit can no way be an atheist Hindu because there's no such thing. And I think that their greatest flex this far is that at least it's not like Islam where we call for your head to be beheaded and not connected to your shoulders anymore. So that's the kind of flex he's going with here. But Rakshit, did you want to comment on why?
Oh, really? Oh, really? Sartan se Juda is not there in Hinduism? Are you really sure? Or should I start giving references? Okay, here is the number one reference. Krishna beheaded his own cousin Shishupala because he committed the 100th sin. Okay? So Krishna did behead his cousin for supposedly insulting him and thus committing the 100th sin, which he had promised to his aunt that after that he will kill him, which is what he did. Sartan se Juda. Okay? Shiva killed his own son who was defending his mother at the doorstep of bathroom. Okay? Sartan se Juda. And what was replaced? Elephant's head was put on his son's body. That was number one. Number 3, another instance of Sartan se Juda. Pandavas commander killed their own guru, their own teacher, Sartan se Juda. So I mean, I think Muhammad copied Sartan se Juda from Hinduism. Yeah, definitely.
Oof. Okay. And Rakshit, even just in passing again, I saw something that even mentioned if anybody else blasphemes, they should also be killed. It was just part of scripture. Everybody was saying, oh, don't take it literally. It was just, blah, blah, blah. It was just, it's a story describing something.
Story? Why do the people believe in story then? They should stop believing then. But that doesn't happen.
And Rakshit, iska kya kahenge? Vedas corrupted hai.
I mean, if Vedas are corrupted, then I think you better leave all the everything. Yeah, puja path band kar do, yagya havan karna band kar do, and you should tell your purohits or the pandits who come and do puja when you buy a new house, or when you get married, or when you go to a certain function, when the pandits chant certain mantra, you should please tell them, please stop using because it's corrupted. Why don't they do that if that is the case?
And Rakshit, it's like it's such a slippery slope. Like, yahan pe keh rahe hain Vedas corrupted hai, yahan pe keh rahe hain Puran corrupted hai. So, I mean, baki rakha kya hai isme phir if everything is corrupted?
I mean, again, if everything is corrupted, then what else is there left?
Huh,
Because
exactly.
you can't celebrate a Hindu festival, you can't do a Hindu puja, you can't do any rituals or samskaras without the mantras. All the mantras comes from the scripture, and if you say scripture are corrupted, then those mantras are corrupted. Stop using those mantras and stop doing the rituals and festivals. Why should it be there?
Yeah.
Again, you must have seen Hindu marriages, right, where they will be chanting the mantra. Which scripture does it come from? It comes from the Puranas and some amount from the Vedas. So,
And
again,
exactly what you're saying,
yeah,
Kshitij is also in the chat, and Kshitij makes a good point. He says most Hindus today celebrate festivals from Puranas, be it Saraswati Puja to Ganesh Chaturthi, but they say it's corrupted once we quote Puran stories.
Then you should stop celebrating festival. I mean, there is no use of celebrating. Then why you are celebrating the corrupted thing? It doesn't make logical sense then.
Yeah, exactly. If Vedas are corrupted, then accept Islam. Yeah, bang on, Nick. The Bible's
I don't
corrupted,
think.
the Torah's corrupted, the Vedas are corrupted, the Quran.
Again, I think, Nureya, they will put a tag. Once a Muslim, always a Muslim. Once a Katmullah, always a Katmullah. They'll put the tag now.
Oh, yes. So Rakshit actually made a very good point. Let's kind of delve into the more, actually just before that, because I think Hadrian's going to join us and we can get political, but I wanted to talk about that word you just used, because it's a very derogatory term that's being used to apply to Muslims, and we'll describe what it means to you guys as well. But Rakshit, just to kind of get some context and silence some of your haters in the chat, what about Hinduism, or what about rationality, or what was it that made you think, bus, I'm done with this dharma, this dogma?
I think I'm always kind of guy who explores things. Okay, there was a period. If I have to go to my life story, there was time period where I used to cry for my Krishna. मैं कृष्ण भक्त था पूरे तरह, literally. Okay, I had nights and days where I used to cry. I used to chant his name, and I used to even abstain from any thought of sex, let alone even the thought of women. I used to even maintain that sort of abstinency. जब भी मेरे को ऐसा लगता कि मुझे कोई औरत का याद आ रहा है या कोई no, I must have committed sin, let me take the name of God, all that. And even during the workplaces I used to do all these things. Okay, and in my family I have had my Upanayan Sanskar. Okay, all that. Upanayan Sanskar is a thread ceremony where a person, especially say a child from a Brahmin or a Kshatriya family, when he comes of age, say around 12 years or 8 years, they put a sacred thread around him, reaffirming that he is twice born. And twice born are always somewhat considered superior or having a higher social status compared to Shudras, Vaishyas, and the untouchables. Okay, that's how it works. So all that happened. I used to even worship the sun god, Sandhya Vandan. Even now I remember the mantras. I can chant it here. Okay, that's how good I remember. Because मैं ये रोज करता था, morning and evening. Okay.
Oh wow.
Which means twice born. Yeah. So and then I also started following Vivekanand. मैंने विवेकानंद का भी मैंने पढ़ा, उनके volumes और उनके जो meditation है Vivekanand and Vedant. It kind of sounds logical. Only later did I realize that how much mixing has happened with pseudoscience and this and that. Okay, but at a time I used to listen to Swami Sarva Priyanand of Ramakrishna Mission. So I used to follow Vivekananda at quite some time. Then, and again, as I started exploring and then started realizing, what am I going through? I mean, कहाँ पे जा रहा हूँ? कभी मैं कृष्ण को पकड़ता हूँ, कभी मैं रामकृष्ण मिशन का पकड़ के ट्राई कर रहा हूँ, इतना कुछ कर रहा हूँ. But always what I thought that I could maintain my mind pure, or what I could think that I'm doing right thing and this way I was able to control. I felt, there is nothing happening. Then I started looking at Buddhism and Jainism. Buddhism, Jainism, to some extent, it allowed questioning. They were the first eye opener for me. मेरे को जो eye open किया था वो था Buddhism and Jainism ने. Because to some extent they critiqued the Vedas, they critiqued the Brahmanical authority. Though Buddhism and Jainism believes in reincarnation, they believe in karma, they believe in samsara, they believe in certain level of caste hierarchy, though it is flipped around, okay, slightly flipped around. So despite all that, certain open mind was open कि मैंने थोड़ा explore किया इसको and started reading, and then I understood, okay, this may not be very rational, maybe they're more looking at humanistic and secular perspective. That sounded more good. But as I studied further, then I realized even Jainism and Buddhism is like a different bottle with same content. Content is almost same, but it's a different bottle, different size.
Packaging. Yeah.
So finally, then I came into contact. I actually wanted to explore other things. I wanted to go beyond the frameworks set by the society and think, at least even if I can't do physically in social, why not explore it online? So I started exploring more online and started seeing and interacting. And this was a conversation with my father. Though my father is open, the moment I said, I'm probably gonna remove this thread, sacred thread, which I don't want to wear, my father, for the first time, became very literally angry on me. He felt really, really angry. And that scared whole. I mean, hang on. He is very open-minded to rational thinking. If he gets angry just for me telling that I don't want to wear this thread or I want to explore something else, then what shall I tell in the open public? Okay. Then I limited my thing and then I understood, okay, कुछ चीजें बात कर सकते हो, कुछ चीजें बात नहीं कर सकते parents के साथ. Okay, that's what I realized. And that's how I continue to live. So currently I'm somewhat limited to the online thing. Because the problem in society is socially they just not accepting it. And even if you did that, you will be propagated as something like a vidharmi, as a kind of traitor who left the community. That's how you will be projected. So that's the kind of viewpoint the society has, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's really interesting, Rukshit. So that must have been a very scary moment to see kind of your dad's reaction to just removing something as simple as a thread. Yep. Right? And you see the backlash and then you realize how much this means to some people. But again, like a lot of people try and tell you that, oh, you weren't religious enough once upon a time or you didn't understand it. But like you said, you were very devoted. You would wake up and chant. You chant morning and evenings. Your heart was really in it.
I used to do the sun worship. Sun, literally looking at the morning and evening sun. Gayatri mantra. I used to do that.
Salutations every morning.
Yes. No, not sun salutation. It is called Sandhya Vandan. It's a purely ritual done by Dvij. Only people who wear that sacred thread, they know what this ritual is all about. Okay. So there is a certain way to invoke the gods and the rishis and the sages and then do the worship. So you are basically pouring water by showing it towards the direction of the sunset or the sunrise.
Oh, wow. And Rukshit, does it go, because I know I've watched, there's certain babas and stuff in India who think that they don't even need to eat or drink because they get all their nutrition from the sun. Is that connected to this or no?
That's again, it's like a rebranding. It's like a rebranding. Okay. But of course, today we know sun se aapko sirf vitamin D mil sakta hai. You don't get B12, you don't get other vitamins. Okay. For all that, you need to eat the food.
Yeah, exactly. Warna aap zinda nahi reh sakte. I also just wanted to touch on something Buddhism may be and Jainism, but we'll just take the super chat quickly. Chikur, thank you again for your super chat. Chikur is saying, Rukshit, I think ye aapke liye comment aaya कि yes, Sanātana doesn't have sartan sijuda. That's why most of rationals and ex-Hindu YouTubers have to hide their face. And yes, you don't slit throat, but shoot bullets. Example, Narinder Dabholkar. Munafik.
Narendra Dabholkar. Yeah, he was anti-superstition guy from Maharashtra, and I don't think I'm not sure whether he believed in any god or not, but from certainly what I have read, I think he is definitely a rationalist and humanist who has a more secular perspective to the society. He was murdered cold-blooded in, I think, October 2013. October 2013, if I remember correctly. His whole life campaigning was, prove me that there is existence of ghosts. So Hindus have another common belief that there is existence of ghosts, which they called as bhoot, pret, pishach in local language. Okay. So the idea is, if a soul after death is not satisfied by the rituals, so even after death there are rituals, you need to feed the soul by feeding it to the crows. Okay. And if that is not done, the soul is not happy and it will be just, moving around and disturbing, and that becomes like a ghost or
You
a
feed it
pret
to
or
the
pishach.
crows, Rakshit? The soul?
Yeah, to feed the soul, you need to feed the food to the crow.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. Interesting.
And even until recently, my father used to do it. Now, because COVID restriction tha, to wo nahi kar paye, but otherwise, he does that. Okay, my father.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
there is a ritual where you call the pandits, you call the Brahmins. Brahmins have to be fed. Brahmin को आपको खाना खिलाना है. ब्राह्मण को खाना खिलाने के बाद उनके बचे हुए खाना, the remnants of the food eaten by the Brahmins, will be fed to the crow. Once it is fed to the crow, it is assumed that the souls of the father, the grandfather is satisfied. They're happy.
Oh my
Either you
God.
feed it to the crow or you feed it to the cow. Okay, that is the thing.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay. Again, we need to bring up this whole, I guess, the politics of India and what's happening with something as basic as cow lynching. Is that another thing that the British kind of told you, like, to start doing and take more sacredly than your scriptures say? But
Okay.
yes, go ahead, Rakshit, go ahead.
So, cow lynching, I would like to say this politics is at least 100 years old. Okay. Now, the whole idea of cow lynching goes like this, that if I want to show a particular community in a bad light, okay, and if I have to show them that they're bad and they need to be demonized, what is the better way than just looking at the food choices within the Hinduism? So as per Hinduism and the belief system, you cannot eat the beef. Now, beef actually can be anything. Any ruminant animal which is killed can be beef. But in Hinduism, it specifically refers to the female cow. Okay, the normal cow, female cow which gives birth to calf, which gives milk. Okay, it refers to that particular animal we are talking about. Okay, now uh, this has a lot to do with the 1857 mutiny. Okay, where Hindu soldiers were given the pistols, where they had to use where they had to bite the cow's fat in order to remove the bullet and put it in their pistol. And Muslims, vice versa, had to bite on the pig's fat and remove the bullet and put it in the pistol. Okay, so it goes back to that times.
Right.
Coincidentally, it turns out British, when they were ruling in India, were using laws differently for Muslim community and the Hindu community. For Hindu community, they were using the Smritis, Manu Smriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti, Parashar Smriti. Okay, these were the texts which they were using on the Hindu community for social laws. Okay, whereas for Muslim community, they were using the classical Sharia laws from say Hadiths, Quran, and all those things. Okay, that's what the British are using, and that's what divide and rule policy worked very well. Okay, in India, over a period of time, when the nationalist movement, the Indian National Congress, and all started, they needed a certain point to unite Hindus. Okay, they needed certain point to unite against British, and it became a symbol that cow is something that's not eaten by most people. Hence, this will be our unity point, protection of cows. And from Congress, this idea got hijacked by the Hindu nationalists. And Hindu nationalists did not hijack it because they loved cow, because they hated Muslim and they needed to propagate this idea that you need to fight the Muslims in our country. So hence they started cow protection organization by Bajrang Dal, by Vishwa Hindu Parishad and Gauraksha Samiti and all those organizations. And now they have reached a point where police does nothing. Anybody, a group of 100 men come there, lynch a Muslim man saying that he has had beef, so we lynched him. Police just stands and watches there, literally. There is no proof whether that they saw the Muslim guy even eating beef or not. In many cases, it turns out that the guy was just carrying a normal meat of say goat or some chicken. That's it. Even for that, they mistaken it as beef and kill the Muslim. So there has been cases like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, those cases like that have come to my attention. And as you said, sometimes they don't even know the contents of what they're carrying. Sometimes it's a pre-planned attack. Sometimes people are just targeted. So there is a huge...
Just hold on 1 second.
Yes.
Just hold on.
Yes.
Yeah, you continue. Yes.
Yeah, no, I just kind of wanted to... we're going to delve into the political element now. We've got Hadrian, and there's so many people, there's so many Hindus that are obviously here and they're angry. They think this is a one-sided conversation. So I'm gonna, this is my channel. I'm gonna keep it very civil. This is not gonna turn into one of those like shouting matches like ARY News or NDTV News. If you have a genuine question that you'd like to address with Rukshit, if he's okay to do that, I will bring you up. But it's going to be a very kind of just, it's a Socratic conversation and nobody attacking each other's points. Just on Buddhism and Jainism real quick as well. I do want to do a video or learn more about kind of how Sikhism was born and kind of what it found was too pacifist in terms of the Sanātana approach that they broke onto an offshoot. And also elements of Buddhism that I never knew about. So they have the same concepts as Hinduism, like samsara and things. But like Rukshit was mentioning earlier, it depends on what kind of God you remembered, and then you go to a certain heaven. I didn't even realize, because I thought Buddhism was kind of almost like a godless, if you will, or like a deistic religion. But they also have many, many layers of hell and huge amounts of time when you'll be burning in various kinds of hell. So coming from a very purely Western outlook on Buddhism, it shocked me that it wasn't all just meditation and, you know, purifying yourself and the killing of your ego and desires. There is actually like a force that if you do not follow the Buddhist way of life, you don't deserve to go through samsara in the way that you would had you followed Buddhism. So I'm going to be looking into these kind of religions a bit more in terms of the darker aspects. I don't think they're talked about as much. But yeah, sorry, Rukshit, did you want to say something on that? And then we'll go on to the political side and I'll add Hadrian as well.
Yeah, and as far as Buddhism is concerned, there is only slight change. Here, the priestly class is not above the king. King is above the priestly class. That's the only small change Buddha did.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. And Jainism, Rukshit, where do you think that they take pacifism to a whole nother level, or?
Okay, Jainism, there is two sects. One sect believes that Brahmins have the right to exist, but with under the king, okay? That is called a Shwetambar sect. But then there is other sect of Jainism, which is called as Digambar sect. You must have seen many people naked. I'm not talking about the Kumbh Mela people, but there are other people who are fully naked, okay? So they are called as Digambar, okay? Now, they have believed that Brahmins were not even the original people here. So Brahmin was not supposed to exist. There is only supposed to be three classes: king, trader, and the laborers. So Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So Brahmins are not supposed to be counted as per the Digambar. Okay. So this is within the Jainism framework. There are certain common things between both Jainism, Buddhism, and there are differences as well, again. But as far as vegetarianism and strict vegetarianism is concerned, Jainism is kind of rigid in that area, actually. Yes.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's kind of what I thought as well. And then you see how you see, I would say, like almost sistery religions when you look at even certain elements of like Japanese Buddhism, where their diet is so restricted, they don't have any like kind of garlic, onions, or masala as we know it, you know, because it interferes with the meditation and the body and the chakras.
And that's not just the case even within Jainism, Buddhism. Now it's even the case even within Hindu community. So there are some people, if you go to ISKCON temple, suppose in UK, if you are supposed to visit Hare Krishna temple, even they have this belief that you're not supposed to use garlic, onions, and they're considered as tamasic food, or food which is something bad reaction or something like that. Okay. So that's how they believe.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the word they use. I've seen that when I've traveled as well. It's the restaurants that don't even serve anything, they actually put a sign outside explaining that. But Rukshit, so thank you so much again for being here and giving your time and energy to have this conversation, because I think it's like high time I address this as well. But we need to talk about what's happening in India and the rise of this kind of fascist movement, where it's come from, the context it's been born out of, and what we're seeing in India right now, like this constant resurgence of violence and intercommunal violence. So yeah, I'd like to open the discussion on that. Let me bring Hadrian on. Is that okay, Rukshit? And then we kind of go into that.
Yeah, go ahead, no issue.
Okay, thank you. And then we've got Ik Satya and Azur and Amplifier with us. They have posted their question in the private chat, Rukshit, if you want to have a look. I have said they can come on and ask their questions. I will make sure it's going to be completely civil. So if you're okay, then we can also take them on afterwards. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sure. Hadrian, I'm going to add you in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, Hadrian.
Hey, everyone. Is my voice audible?
Yes, yeah, loud and clear. Thank you. So thank you, Hadrian, as well for joining. I know you have a lot to say on this. Did you want to start off with anything, and then we'll start talking about the politicization of Hindutva?
Just quickly, which is, I did join in later, so I haven't been, I don't know what you guys talked about in detail for the past 1 hour, except for bits and pieces. But I just want to make a quick comment, which is, and Rukshit, you can also add in a little bit. In the chats, of course, Sanātanis are like seething a lot. And one of the things they're saying is that, we did not read the scriptures of the Dharma, and we don't even know 5% or 10% or whatever. Now, my question is this, which is, do we really have to read the entire or even 50% of their scriptures to know and believe that? We just don't find it appealing. We just don't find anything special. It is nothing unique, or maybe there are some unique things or unique philosophies in Sanātana Dharma, but that doesn't make it any more superior or inferior to any other scriptures. In the end, they are just ancient texts, and they don't really resonate well with us. We don't have to agree, and not only that, we have the right to reject them on the surface itself. So is it a good position to have, or as an atheist, or go on?
Okay, so here's the first thing. Whatever you said that you didn't read your scripture properly, you should read your scripture properly, are actually kind of, you need not even do activism for them. They are only debunking themselves, because they are the same people who will go to other ex-Muslim channel and say our religion is not based on scripture. They'll say that हमारा religion जो है वो scripture आधारित नहीं है, हमारे धर्म में कोई शास्त्र का महत्व नहीं है. They will say all that, okay? But the moment you show something from that, they are saying, no, you should read scripture. Again, they are contradicting their own claims. आप अपने खुद के ही claim को debunk कर रहे हो, जो आपने शायद किसी और channel में किया होगा. Okay, that is the point. Yes.
No, exactly. क्योंकि ये जो बहुत सारे लोग आए हुए हैं, हिंदूज, जो हमेशा हमें आके कहते हैं कि आपके अंदर, like I'll talk in English. The Sanātanis, they say that, we atheists coming from Abrahamic religions, we have an Abrahamic bias, which is we always go into the scriptures, and Hinduism is not bound by scriptures. But then they come and say, well, you did not read our books, you do not speak Sanskrit, we do not have it written down in in any of our Shastras or Vedas or Gita or whatever. But isn't that itself an Abrahamic trait? Like when you say that,
Yeah.
like, yeah, when
Yeah.
you say that, show it to me in my scripture. Well, it doesn't matter, because according to you, your Hindu Dharma is not bounded by scripture. So it technically, I can even say the fact that, if I go and do flip-flops in the balcony and I think that it's a part of my Dharma, then I will still take it as a part of my Dharma regardless of whether it is in the scripture or not, because according to you, that is an Abrahamic trait. So how can you be that stupid?
Again, this is the hilarious part. Somebody was saying atheists are part and parcel of Sanātana Dharma tradition. The only thing I can say is, please, आप परमीन नवाबी को भी सनातनी बोल दो यार, please. I'm just waiting. Please, यार, come on. आप परमीन नवाबी को सनातनी बोल दो यार, please. मैं सम्मान लूंगा यहाँ पे. मैं भी घर वापसी कर लूंगा. Okay.
And before Nuria, you move ahead, I just wanted to say one thing. Like, they just being an atheist does not make someone a secular humanist or a good person or a moral person, right?
Yeah.
Like, that. And I can tell you there are many evil atheists. One of them is, like, we can say Stalin and Lenin,
Mao.
and then Mao, and then there's another really terrible atheist, Veer Savarkar. He was a Hindu atheist. So atheism is not good. Veer Savarkar was a Hindu atheist.
Really, Veer Savarkar? Really? Veer? Actually, the Veer title was not given by anyone. He himself called himself Veer. Actually, that's the irony.
No, that's the beauty of religion. So अपने आप को ही medal देते हैं. खुद ही अकेले रेस में भागेंगे, खुद ही जीतेंगे, खुद ही medal देंगे और बोलेंगे कि देखो हम Olympics medal जीत गए. Ha ha.
So yeah, and Hadrian, actually, we kind of also did touch on what you were saying earlier. I mentioned because I've always get that from Hindus who say, yeah, you come from an Abrahamic lens. And the thing is, I find it so condescending, and I find it patronizing when people say, oh, your brain can't comprehend the beauty and depth of our religion and our way of life and our scripture. And it's like, okay, well, you're basically saying I'm too dumb to understand this divine wisdom and beauty in your text, which is saying to, like, drink the water of the when your husband's put his feet in it, like, as a kind of form.
You can drink even cow urine. It's okay to put the cow's milk on Shiva's statue. मूर्तियों पे आप दूध चढ़ा सकते हो, लेकिन you can drink the cow urine. That is good. Yeah.
I wanted to share with you one really deep philosophy, Rukshit, and I wanted to get your opinion. And Nuri already knows this. Once I asked them, like, when Krishna, I think it was the Krishna god who married 16,000 unmarried women, and the philosophy behind it was, at least what the American Sanātanis told me, was, see how selfless he was. He's protected 16,000 women, and now because there were no men to marry, he married all of them. And see the love that he has for women, and it is like some sort of a self-sacrifice for him. And they're like, for you to see it, you have to get rid of your Abrahamic lens. And in my head, I'm like, instead of saying this, why don't you guys just say this, that Sanātana Dharma also has Imran Hashmi philosophy in it? Because that's exactly what it's saying.
Because that doesn't sound cool, and that doesn't make it Hinduistic in its outlook, because they want to distinguish anything that is Urdu sounding with the Hindi sounding way.
Yeah, Imran Hashmi is a Pakistani. Imran Hashmi is a Pakistani, so it can't fit their philosophy.
Oh my word, this is too much, guys. This is too much. Even a Pakistani sounding name you have to get rid of. Otherwise, technically, Hadrian, he could very much be a serial kisser of Bollywood and still be Sanātani. It's all fine. But yeah, I wanted to get both of your thoughts on what we're seeing. I know, Hadrian, you're quite active on Twitter and you raise awareness to it. And Rukshit, you guys actually hold spaces and you're trying to move the conversation forward. So could you just shed a bit of light, please, on what's happening in India in your according to your perspective, and how it feeds into the rise of the RSS and the Hindutva movement. And then I will bring in the rest of the guests as well. So you got, because I know they've got issues with the political stuff and the religious side. But yeah, Rukshit and Hadrian, just to kind of get some context on India.
Yeah. So, so starting with RSS, okay, what is RSS? Okay. So RSS full form is Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh. Okay. Believe it or not, today मैंने एक RSS का वीडियो देखा था, वो क्या बोलते हैं, नमस्ते सदा वत्सले मातृभूमि. वो वीडियो के देखकर भाई पूरा श्लोक मैंने कंठस्थ कर लिया है. Okay. Just one video. They actually have a Sanskrit verse on their entire nation. Okay. And they make the people, whoever comes and joins RSS, by heart that every single day. Okay. And they behave in almost the same way as, you know, how the fascist organization in Italy called Balilla behaved. Balilla was a youth organization in Italy, okay, where anybody could join, but they all had to take oath, they had to by heart certain things, they had to do drills, they had to do exercises, they had to have this, you know, community bonding, and then march and do parade every single day. RSS does the same thing, okay. Only the label has changed. Instead of using the Italian flag of Fasces, the Roman symbol, they use Bhagwa flag, okay, the saffron flag they use, okay. And their idea is, it is an Akhand Bharat. So they doesn't view India as India or Pakistan as Pakistan. They view it is Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh put together, even Southeast Asia, even Tibet and even Iran. In sabko mila ke bol denge Akhand Bharat. Okay. And there, you hear this word, you will hardly see anything different from how a communist comes across and says, we will build a classless society. How communists have a utopia, these people have their own version of utopia. Their version of utopia says India is a Hindu Rashtra because Hindus are majority, and it is defined by its geography, and Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Southeast Asia are all culturally Hindu, so all they should be made as one nation. Okay, that is the basic idea of RSS. And to do this, they see certain hindrances. For them, the biggest hindrance is Islam. Second biggest hindrance is Christianity. Third biggest hindrance is communism. Okay. So I would recommend Nuraiya to read this book by Golwalkar, the second founding member of RSS. Bunch of Thoughts and a Nation, or Our Nationhood Defined. You can read that. There are so many crazy things that you will laugh out, but you will literally believe that RSS people continue to propagate and believe that. Okay. So they want to eliminate Islam, Islami, Muslims, Christians, and communists. Once that is done, then they would establish the Hindu Rashtra or the Hindu nation, and it will be not run by secular values, but it will be run by the law of scriptures. It can be Manu Smriti or it can be any other Smriti. Okay. Basically, you can put it theocratic state, dharmic theocracy. Okay. Put it that way. That's how it will be run. Okay. So that is the basic core idea. And they view that because RSS finds that to say this as a belief system or a religion is not something cool sounding or not something very socially acceptable, and among the educated people, the way to make it acceptable among the educated folks is use the word culture. Yeah, this is our culture, this is our way of life. That's what you keep hearing in the online section. Okay. To make it acceptable. Otherwise, acceptability nahi milta hai inko. Inko chahiye acceptability mili. And the other way of making it acceptable is show the fear of Islamic jihad, show the fear of Christian conversions, and show the fear of communism. Jab aap fear dikha doge, it's a human nature and psyche that human mind reacts to the fear. And the way we react to this fear is by tapping into our places or our ideological base where we feel secured. And because RSS has made that psyche among Indians ki bhai ye hai falana falana, aapko hamare paas sona hoga, and we are the ones who will protect you, because it kind of creates this idea of security, they end up even supporting and promoting it online and offline. and expanding their RSS shakhas and offices. And by the way, Nuria, here is a good information. If you're in UK, RSS has its branches in UK, US, Canada, Australia as well. There it runs by the name of Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh, HSS, Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh. So that is the RSS branch in foreign countries. Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. I'm actually sorry. I'm just looking that up as you speak.
Yeah, look into it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just putting that in the chat as well. That's so interesting. But Rukshit, that you explained it like very, very well. And I wanted to ask you, do you think that this concept of is it called Akhand Bharat, right, which extends all the way to
Akhand
Iran?
Bharat.
Yes.
They include Iran. Future, they will include UK as well. Don't worry. That will be never ending.
No, we're okay.
Yeah.
We're okay.
Oh, just so you know, Nuria, actually, some of them actually tried. They said, like, the I don't know which Hindu god it was, but his reign also stretched all the way up until Norway or Scandinavia.
Oh my gosh. Do they include I mean, Hadrian, they would say even Australia then, right? Because they use the word Australia.
They already told. They already call Australia as Australia, places of weapons.
And I promise, give it like another 5 years, they will claim Mars, Neptune, Jupiter, Kepler 185. So they already claimed the sun because Hanuman, I think, ate it, right?
So that is also.
What is Elon Musk doing? Everyone's already following Sanātana on any other planet we're trying to colonize. What is he even doing? Just follow the Dharma. But Rukshit, would you say that this is rooted in scripture somewhere, this concept of Akhand Bharat or a theocratic state where, like, is because a lot of the time Hindus that defend what's happening in India and even the rise of the RSS say this is only happening because of what Islam did to us and Islam did to our country, and what, this is us just or not they don't even like to use the word fighting back, even though that's what's happening, and it's on a grander level, but they like to say, like, how much are you going to prod the bear and you expect us not to do anything? This is us doing something.
Okay, so if you look at these claims, though this is partially true, this is just an excuse. Okay, I mean, okay, these days I talked about reincarnation and karma theory. If we have to go and talk online people, ये कितना absurd लगेगा? How absurd does it sound? So obviously people would not like to follow it. But how do you make people still follow that belief system? You need to always create fear. Earlier times you created the fear of, papa punya. Either you will be born as a sinful person or you will be born as a higher person. But now the new kind of fear is created. The new kind of fear is कि आपका लड़की के साथ लव जिहाद हो जाएगा, आपके साथ जिहाद हो जाएगा, आपका घर असुरक्षित है. So that is the fear by which you can propagate the ideas. And this fear is so deep rooted now that they can virtually, even if you put a donkey symbol with the BJP party symbol, right, they will vote the donkey with the party symbol. People will blindly vote. BJP need not campaign for election in India. बीजेपी को बस इतना बोलने दीजिए कि भाई हम जय श्री राम बोल रहे हैं, जय श्री राम जो बोलते हैं मेरे को वोट दे दो, वोट दे देंगे. Public will vote blindly. They will not look at MLA, they will not look at PM photo or PM candidate. Even if you put a donkey's candidate as a photo and besides it is the Kamal ka Phool, the BJP party symbol, people will make that donkey win and they say donkey rule karne do. That's the mentality here. Okay, but RSS, how it works, the way it works is not directly, it works through sister organization. BJP is just one of the many sister organizations of RSS. So BJP is like the RSS in the political field, electoral politics. So that's what BJP is. Okay, RSS in the temple or temple management field is called as Vishwa Hindu Parishad. Type Vishwa Hindu Parishad, VHP. Okay, it's there. It has its branches everywhere in almost all the countries. Okay, they are one of the largest Hindu organization outside India, and they promote the idea that all the temples in India must be reclaimed. जितने भी मंदिर है उन सबको reclaim करो, جتنے بھی مسجد ہے وہاں جو مندر تھے وہ مندر پھر سے بنواؤ. So the idea is all the places where today you see Christian church or a mosque should be replaced with temples, because the idea goes, once they were temple and they were destroyed by Mughals and Britishans, they must be rebuilt. Okay. अरे भाई कांग्रेस कौन कांग्रेस फंडेड? भाई कांग्रेस के पास खुद का पैसा नहीं है भाई, खुद का पार्टी डूब रहा है और हमको बोल रहे फंड कर रहे. अगेन दिस इज मैं अगर बीजेपी पे बोलूंगा तो बोल देंगे कांग्रेस है. अरे कांग्रेस का खुद का पैसा नहीं है सारा. यू नो, हियर इज द फैक्ट. 70% of today's BJP member of parliament or MLAs come from Congress. Fact. इनसे जाके पूछे, anybody who says कि मैं बीजेपी के अगेंस्ट आके बात कर रहा हूँ and I'm Congress funded should note that 60 to 70% of your BJP MLAs come from Congress यार. तो कांग्रेसी कौन हुआ फिर, मेरे को बताओ अब.
And
Okay.
obviously log pagal ho rahe hain thode se chat mein. So anyway, let's bring on the guests, but and we'll go into the political side more. But Hadrian, आपकी क्या राय है? Because I know आप भी ज़्यादा post कर रहे हो आजकल, active होते हो in terms of जो anti-Muslim जो violence hai India mein. So what's your take on the rise of the RSS and Modi and his current policies with the BJP and how it all interlinks?
RSS will complete its 100th year in 2025. Just a reminder here.
Yeah. See this. So that's how bad it is. No, look, like as ex-Muslims, the thing is, Islam is a terrible religion. The Islamic ideology is probably the worst. Even I'll still admit that it is the worst in my opinion. And Muslims are still brainwashed and they cannot get out of it. And it's causing a lot of problems in India. And for organizations like the RSS, it is very easy to pick up on the Muslim misgivings and promote their own hatred. Like, in fact, that's. But then again, we have to get back to the first year of the RSS. Where was Islam as bad in the year 1925 as it is bad right now? I don't know. I like, there are a lot of books and theories, but RSS, what I understand from it, it is a political movement that is trying to redefine being a Hindu, and they have always objectively wanted to make India a Hindu nation. And now in this 97 years, a lot of developments have happened, and of course Islam and Muslims, especially Indian Muslims, and they had a lot of failures in trying to fight within their own community. And now the RSS and the Hindutwas, they went full sadistic. They went complete psychopaths. They became narcissists to a point that their apologetics about Hindu extremism is literally way worse than Muslim apologetics, because they justify every single attacks on Muslims or any kind of oppression on religious minorities on Islam. For example, I made a thread yesterday, and go and read the tweets. They are literally justifying an attack on a Muslim family to all the oppression that Muslims have done to Hindus. They are literally saying, oh, can we not even respond to Muslim extremism without being called as a Hindu terrorist? I mean, what kind of a defense is that? But they don't understand. They are trying to get revenge for all the atrocities that have been committed to them, or the victimization that they feel that they are going through, to a point now, even if there is a Hindu suicide bomb attack, they will justify it. They will literally think that it's okay.
ताली बजा देंगे
Literally. और बोलेंगे कि हाँ, मुसलमान तो 1 करोड़ सुसाइड बॉम्बिंग किया है, तो अभी हम भी ना करें, तो इसका मतलब you are a Hindu hater. Why are you opposing our suicide bomb? Like okay, this is hypothetical, but this is literally the trajectory that I am seeing. So yeah, it is horrible. Like,
कदू मोड़ूंगो. Yeah, actually, I agree. And one more thing, how RSS came to be found. Okay, so we must remember who was the founder of RSS. RSS, the founder person's name was Keshav Baliram Hedgewar. Now, this person initially was from Congress party. Okay, he was from Congress, and he was closely associated with people like Balakrishna Shivaram Munje, B.S. Munje, and you can also say he was associated with Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and he was also in a brief contact with the Anushilan Samiti, which was a revolutionary organization in Bengal. Okay, so he actually had certain influences of these people, but it was he in around 1920, if I remember correctly, 1920, with his another person called as Lakshman Paranjpe, who formed the first, grassroots organization for the Congress. Okay. Later on, both of them around 1925, that is because of Mopla riots. So in Kerala, there was Mopla riots which happened. And post that, Lakshman Paranjpe and Keshav Baliram Hedgewar, they both decided we need to build a grassroots organization for the Hindus. Okay. That's when around the Vijay Dashmi, the Dashera festival where Hindus celebrate, on that particular day, they started the organization called Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, RSS. Okay. So that's exactly how the RSS started in 1925. So we must keep in mind that person who founded the RSS was also from Congress, and he was also influenced by certain early members of Congress. Okay. Unfortunately, whether we like this or not, but that's the history. Okay. However, today we see that this has become a totally a kind of authoritarian way of organization, which tries to dictate every aspect of the Indian society, not directly but indirectly, through organizations like Bajrang Dal, Vishwa Hindu Parishad, or say ABVP, Akhil Bharat Vidyarthi Parishad, all that. Yeah.
Thank you, Rukshit. So just listening to you guys talk and just like looking at the chat, the amount of people who are fighting back and literally saying like, you guys aren't, how can you be critical thinkers? How can you be free thinkers? You don't know anything about Sanātana. You don't know anything about the RSS. Hindus are only reactive. We're never pro-violence, all of this stuff. So I think this is a good segue. I'll bring on a few of these people who kind of, I guess, want to counter some points, and we can have like an open discussion. Again, if I feel like it's getting personal or there's anything that crosses the line, I will have to remove you. So please keep it civil. And yes, you can speak in Hindi or do whatever you, Hindi or English, whatever you are more comfortable with. I think pehle aap aaye the ek Satya, so aapko main add karne wali hu in 3, 2, 1. Welcome.
So am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. If you are from India, and from where are you, Nuria? Good evening or good morning, whatever timetable it is.
Evening.
Same to you. So first of all, that I'm a little bit nervous because I have not been to anything like that before. But one more thing, till now the whole debate, most of it has been up to BJP, RSS, Hindutva and something. I just wanted to hear what ex-Hindu thoughts are about Hinduism. All right, just like initially he started with the same stuff like Krishna, and he was Krishna Bhakt and all. So I would like to counter his questions, means whatever question he has, and he would like to try to convert me to ex-Hindu. Yeah.
Okay, you want to bring him back to Sanātana?
No. I want to become ex-Hindu. First of all, let's clarify the term. Ex-Hindu means I will have to get the visa, get out of India. So I want to become ex-Sanātani. Hindu was a term coined for any landmass which was the east of Sindhu River, which is a river in Pakistan, you can say. So Hindu means a landmass which is beyond. When RSS mentions Hindu, they only mean the land part which is beyond the Sindhu River. All right. So ex-Hindu just means that anyone who has left the Indian subcontinent. So I want to become ex-Sanātani, as I think the ex-Hindu might be referring to the same term. Now, please, ex-Sanātani, please try to confront me. I'm also Brahman, the caste system which was there, but I'm against totally the caste system which was in past. I don't believe in casteism now. And whatever it was, I think it was abolished for good. Even if it had some better thoughts of keeping society organized, it turned into worst, which many of our ideas turn sometimes into. It got abolished constitutionally and by whatever reforms, rights, whatever happened in past. Even during Britishers period, we know about many reformists, like I don't remember the Bengal person. One way, just because of nervousness, I'm forgetting the name. He was
That's
very.
okay. Take your time. No worries.
So I'm a favor of abolishing caste system. Now I want to ask ex-Hindu, means ex-Sanatani perhaps, why I should convert to ex-Sanatani, means leave Sanatan Dharma and convert to being like you. I would say agnostic, or let's say atheist.
By first of all, the atheism or agnosticism or rationality or humanism, they can be certain perspective, but they are not any like religious per se or anything idea. Okay. However, you told Hinduism refers to geography. That is all fine. Then why do Indians people need to call themselves as Hindu in America or England or anybody else? Geographical, right? वो तो वहाँ पे रहते, वो तो इंडिया में नहीं रहते. But why are they calling themselves as Hindu or Hindu organization, American Foundation or Vishwa Hindu Parishad? They should
Because
stop using that word if you
definitely.
go by that logic.
Yeah, definitely. So let's say that I go to UK at Nuria home. She call me, hey buddy, you are my friend. All right. So she starts calling and she puts a tag on my name that, yeah, I am this person. All right. Now, suddenly it happens because of Britishers rule over the world and English got promoted all over. We also know that why I am speaking English, because Britishers rule, Industrial Revolution came, English got flaunted everywhere. That's why I'm speaking English. So suddenly the term Hindu, Britishers start calling everyone Hindu, whatever the names they call. Now I am being tagged with that thing. So if I will call myself Sanatani in the UK, most of the population there are UK persons and whatever. So they won't understand who am I now. It might be like so for I am in a location. There is a quote you might understand: "Yatha desh tatha bhesh," means the location where you reside, you should act or you should behave at that place. So since Hindu is the word which was coined upon us, just like Mount Everest, as a mountain, but was it the name of Mount Everest always? No, a Britisher forgetted about the local name. He just placed the Mount Everest name there. Now even Nepali person knows that the Mount Everest. He won't go to foreigner and say, look, this is not Mount Everest, this is our mountain named blah 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 in the past. So that's why they call Hindu, and we are fine with the tag Hindu. But since we are talking about ex-Hinduism, so you must have the foundation of rooted scriptures, which we are debating. That's why I coined the term. Let's go to ex-Sanatani.
Wait.
Okay.
Sorry, no. Let me have a very brief counter to this, Satya. When the term Hindu was coined to define the people or the inhabitants living east of the Indus River, what was the boundary of that? Number one. Wait. No, let me finish.
Yep.
Now, whatever boundaries that you're going to come up with from the historical records, that boundary will not be the boundary of Pakistan, India, Bangladesh combined today. It was just up to a certain extent that I'm forgetting. And that was just meant to be for people living within that certain boundary. And now, vast majority of them happens to be in India and Pakistan, technically. Whatever region that they describe to call Hindu. Hindu was used as a term for the inhabitants. It wasn't used as a term for religion, you can say. Now that in 2023, we take Hindu as a colloquial term for people who believes in Hinduism, also colloquially understood as a religion. Now, whoever does not believe in any of the Hindu or Sanātana scriptures or beliefs or traditions, they reject those doctrine. They become atheistic or agnostic based on the scientific rationale movement. They can call themselves ex-Hindu. What we understand when they call themselves ex-Hindu is that practically that they are rejecting the Indic religion or the Dharmic religions. It does not, when you say this, when you come and tell to us that, hey, no one can be an ex-Hindu very similarly how you can be an ex-human. I think like that is very intellectually dishonest. I mean, in that sense, like if we go by your argument, right now the Pakistanis are literally ex-Hindu. Like Nuria herself can literally call herself an ex-Hindu, and you won't be able to fight her back because, like,
it was a term I said, anyone living in the east of Sindhu River. So it might
wait.
look.
Okay,
So
but no, Eksatya. When you say east of
Alright.
Sindhu River, where does it stop? Like Japan is east of the Sindhu River. Is Japan
let's say Indian
Japan also
subcontinent.
Hindus?
If we go from the ancient Great Peninsula and breakage, you see that there are various land masses moving. Some is North America, some is South America. So there was an Indian peninsula moving towards, so it collided with the Eurasian. There you see Himalayan. So you say east of Sindhu's river, but that much the part which collided with the mountains. I would agree with that. Indian peninsula.
But but whoever coined the term, did they mean the entire Hindu peninsula, or did they know that the entire Indian peninsula existed as it did? No, I understand. I'm just saying there's a reason why we disagree.
All right.
Okay.
I just wanted to get to the core of the Hinduism belief. All right. So today I do have a tag that I'm a Hindu. I'm fine with it. Now let's go to the point that why I should live Hinduism. Let's not get into the demography of it. I just said that ex-Sanātani I'm debating because look, in here you also someone, Nuria was mentioning that Sanātana Dharma. So I should then ask them that if we are tackling or fighting the Sanātana, then we should be called as ex-Sanātani. Hindu is a term coined to us. All right, we allow it. But if I corely believe myself as Sanātana, then you should try to convert me as ex-Sanātani. I am saying that I am not Hindu.
Hold on.
Most Hindus are saying that they are not Hindu. Go and check the chat. Many will say that I am not Hindu. They will say I am Sanātani.
No. The chat is not representation of most of the Hindus, right? The government of India do not classify people as Sanātani. They call it Hindus. Generally, if you go to India, you ask people, they would call themselves Hindus. And I don't even understand what's the purpose of
understand by the same name.
This when majority of Hindus and the government of India recognizes. No, they don't. They call themselves Hindus by the government and by the general public. So I don't understand the purpose of this.
So one more thing here. Are we fighting here the extremists
regarding the cultures that
are we
have
fighting
here,
those general common population who doesn't even understand, who have never read the scriptures or anyone?
Okay, let's move on from this. Like, you can call yourself ex-Sanātani, or you want to.
Yeah, I'm ready to just try to.
Whatever. Like get to the point. You want to get to the.
Just sum up your main point, and then we can move on. Satya, just your main point that you want to make.
Yeah, I just want to make is that look, many times he mentioned and some that doctrine. There is no doctrine in Hinduism. You were saying about the scriptures. The truth is there is not a particular scripture which you have to follow. The beauty of Hinduism, I feel, and why I subscribe to Hinduism, that it allows me to not follow any scriptures. It allows me to call myself agnostic. I when I was in 11th class, I used to call myself possibilian. The universe can be anything. It allows me. Anyone didn't had any problem. Do you remember sometimes where the ex-Hindu person was saying that when he said his thread he's removing his thread, his parent got angry because there is association with it. There is a Upanan ceremony and something like that. But it's all right. Many Hindus, Brahman don't wear thread. I am not subscribed to any doctrine. Still, I am proud to be Hindu because that's the beauty of it. And hence, I don't need to be ex-Sanātani. Even I am logically ex-Sanātani. Why not? Let's write a religion for AI and human merger. I don't have any problem with that. That's the beauty of it.
Okay, thank you. I think we have got your point. I also just want to welcome Kshitij, because Kshitij is with us. I know you've already spoken, but welcome, Kshitij. Thank you for joining us. There were also you're welcome. There were also 2 super chats here that I did not want to miss because the chat's going crazy. So just real quick, Chikur is saying, thank you again for your support. Yes, Krishna was very selfless and a non-sexual god. He married 16,000 girls and cured Kubja and turned her into Kim Kardashian to romance with him. Okay, I don't know that story, but that sounds intriguing. Thank you again. And Chikur is saying, Nuria, you're a very bad person because you spoiled Sunday evening of all of the Sanātanis crying in the chat, they were expecting Islam bashing. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's happening. And now they've all come for Rukshit and Kshitij. So it's a great Sunday, in my opinion. I think Veiled Rose was saying we need to have more discussions and streams like this in English. And again, I think it's so important because one of the quickest backlashes we get is what Ik Satya is saying. Why do you need to call yourself ex-Hindu? What is ex-Hindu? Like, and it's just, again, I'm going to let Rukshit and Kshitij answer it, but it just seems to me, and Hadrian would understand, it's the same thing when people tell you you were never a real Muslim to begin with, you know, how dare you leave Islam, or you never understood it in the first place, or why are you obsessed? Like, it's like you've broken up with your ex. Why do you have to have X in your name? Get over it, move on with your life, blah, blah, blah. So, I'm really grateful we are having this discussion. Rukshit and Kshitij, over to you guys if you wanted to answer that. And
Can
then I'll
I
bring on-
speak
Yes,
up?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, so his first point was why instead of, I can call as ex-Sanatani and still be Hindu, okay? So the main point is Hindu word separate from Sanatan today? Has that been decoupled among the minds of the population? Has that been done? No.
Yeah.
Number two,
One thing. Yeah. I would not interrupt. Sorry.
Let me complete. That is number one. Number two, you said there are certain population, when you say Hindu, there are certain population who don't know anything else about them, and that is this, that. When you are aware that there are population in India who may or may not know anything properly about any belief system or doctrine or anything else, then don't you think isn't the government imposing that by making it people when they join school, college to read Gita or read Puranas? I mean, you can take this liberty fine at certain stage and say that, okay, I don't believe this, I don't believe that, I don't read this scripture, I don't read that scripture. But when the state governments make it mandatory in government schools to bhai aapko read karna hai Bhagavad Gita, you need to read Vedas, Puranas, then why you don't say the same thing now? Government has also removed the evolution from science textbook. Does it make sense that this is also fine? Isn't
So
this
can I reply
worrisome?
now? So first
Well,
thing
let
about
me
the last
complete. I
point.
haven't completed.
All right.
I listened to all your point. You listen now. Okay. So, and similarly, you said that Hinduism, there is no scripture that I have to follow. There is no doctrine, anything. Everything is fine. All that is said and done. Can you separate the festivals which is being celebrated, the rituals behind those festivals, from what you are saying that I don't follow scripture? Can you separate it? You have any method to separate it? Okay. Next, you said you don't believe in caste discrimination. That is bad. I'm all for it, blah, blah, blah. That's all great. I appreciate that. Thanks for taking that stance. We need more people to take that stance. Okay. But the question is, आप यहाँ पे जितना ये सब अच्छी बातें बोल रहे हो, that is all great. But can you go and say the same thing in front of a person who is say from Bajrang Dal or from ABVP or from Vishwa Hindu Parishad, lecturing कि हर हिंदू को 12 बच्चे 10 बच्चे पैदा करने हैं? Can you say the same things that this is my personal view? Again, that's my response. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's go on to point which I remember. After one thing about NCERT removing Darwin's theory. First of all, at the ex-Hindu Hindu term of most Hindus aligning themselves with Darwin theory, you must also be knowing that they say that Vishnu was avatar and all blah blah blah. But most Hindus are fine with Darwin theory, so there is nothing religious to that. All right. So NCERT, what reason they have given for removing the Darwin theory is that the COVID thing, and it is already available in the 11th 12th book. They have already removed it from below the 10th
11th
standard.
12th
All right.
biology is optional. 11th 12th
Yeah, definitely.
biology is optional. Yeah,
Definitely. So already, so if you are studied from any English medium school, you also knowing that NCERT book is followed in minimum number of schools, might be government, but most other publications books are followed, which are generally based, loosely based, but not directly followed NCERT. All right, first thing. Now scriptures should be taught, government should teach scriptures or not. First thing, I am a believer of every religion, at least some amount should be taught in school, because by birth we are subjugated to religion. Like Nuria was subjected to Islam, I was subjected to Hinduism, someone was subjected to Christianity. Until we give options to those children, instead of being that my parent was someone and someone, until we teach some of it to every children, how will he knows that this might be good, this might be bad? Let's remove all the fallacy and nothing might be good, let's come up with something new, humanity be it. So the government book thing, that I don't consider it as an option, that let's not teach it. I consider it, let's teach it almost everything which we can teach for a better, even the moral and ethics chapter should be included as per me. So 10 and 12 kids which you were saying, that was a Hinduist aspect, that Bajrang Dal was saying that Hinduism at 10 and 12, it was against Islam. Something in India is going against Islam because of the same Islamicization, you know, that Pakistan already reduces minority, Bangladesh minority going down. There is a fear, you also understand. So it is just against the fear that we are saying that Muslim population is rising so much. So how should we confront it? Because Islam does have doctrines to convert all the people either through force or through convergence or something like that, whole world into Islamic. They do have doctrine for that. How do we confront that? So they say that how should we keep the population balance? Let's have 10 to 12 children. There is no logical reasoning to that. So that's, look brother, if you are saying X, there are bad aspects in Hinduism, I'm fine with it. But if there are scriptures basis of it, let's banish it. I'm saying that if some Hindu got became goon, you are saying that Hinduism is bad. No, that's not how it goes. Even mass firing is going on USA by some atheists. Does it mean atheists are bad? No, it means some lunatic freak out of his understanding of the world did something lunatic thing. But if something
Okay,
he's following,
can
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
Can I
jump in?
respond once, Nuraya?
Okay, you go ahead.
Can I
Yeah,
respond?
sure. And then Satya will have to wrap up because we have Azor
after
as
that,
well. But
yeah.
Rikshit,
So
go ahead.
just to coming back to your last points, okay. As we made it clear, even though I call my, see again public में तो मैं atheist यहाँ बोल सकते हैं, लेकिन if you ask me honestly, मैं किससे ज़्यादा प्रभावित हूँ, even philosophically, then for my idea it is liberal humanism, secular humanism. That is my core idea, which is what has led me to this state. Okay, so people can become atheists for various reasons. There are also atheists who come out and who do because they want to show it as in society, and after some years they also revert back to some other religion, blah blah blah, Mormonism or thisism, thatism, they go back. Okay, but there are also people who just do it for the sake of showing it off, or there are people who became atheist because, hey, I wanted to do crime, and because because religious people talk about these things, somehow I want to defy that. Hence, again, people with certain other mentality can also do. So there are many notable examples, and I think even before you came here, okay, Hadrian had already pointed out that we have had dictators and political ideologues who were actually atheists, but they committed genocide. Okay, so that has been talked about enough. What we are saying is, whatever you told about being a good human being, good person, okay, all that is great. For that doesn't require, for that not necessarily requires any particular label, okay, of a particular ethnicity or a geography. You can simply say, call yourself as a humanist or a secular, it's done. You can say the same thing calling yourself as a secular or a humanist as well. Doesn't require that to call it a label as Hindu or blah blah blah. Okay, and that's the whole point. Okay, and as far as you giving suggestion that all religion books should be taught, not just Gita or Vedas or Puranas, all should be taught. That sounds okay, not an issue. But the question is, क्या आप suggest करोगे government को? If you plan to do. Anyhow, that's my whole point. Yeah.
Thank you, Rakshit. Thank you. Satya, I'm going to move on to Azor, but you can stay with us if you want to just say something towards the end. But Azor, I'm going to bring you on or pair just some guy or uske baad third eye. Ji Azor, 3, 2, 1, aapko add kar rahi hu. Hi.
Hello, are you listening?
Yes, we can hear you. Hi.
Fine. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you means you're audible.
Okay, so I just wanted to say that I'm not a big fan of the right-wing side of India, which I think is a little bit impractical, and at times they do make deluded statements, and they do say things which are not true. But it's not that everything that they are saying is complete nonsense, and they are terrorists, they are psychopaths. Because of them, there is violence going on in the whole country. That whole Hollywood picture that is painted, especially. And just notice that, every time there is a right-wing side of the country that comes to power, all of a sudden, these people are extremists, whether it is Erdogan in Turkey or, anybody. Why is that, the right-wing party is considered to be, some sort of, they don't have any soul, they just hate Muslims. It's not true. It's not based on fact. It's not a rise in communal violence that is going on. It's just that the media is reporting too much. Things
So
which are
what
not
do
even
you
true.
think is going on? What would you say is happening?
Well, what is actually happening is that the people of this country are being suppressed by everybody. That's what I actually think. The government itself, whether it's the right wing or left wing. But my point is this. Okay, I don't believe in right-wing politics, but I do believe in the people who are supporting them. The people who are supporting the right wing are supporting it because they love their country. They're nationalists. Okay, they're not evil people. They're not taught to kill Muslims or anything like that. And I would say that for not just India, even all these Islamic countries, as much as we would like to hate the authority and hate the what do we say, establishment, what else do we have? I mean, we would end up having nothing.
Okay.
There must be some social order.
Okay,
right?
can I respond? Can I respond?
Wait a minute. There must be some social order. So in India, of course, Hindus are the majority. So definitely there will be a right wing which is Hindu centric. So that would go for Saudi Arabia, which would have a Muslim majority because it is a Muslim country. It would have a Muslim centric right wing. And I mean, listen, at the end of the day, the social order is supposed to be maintained. You cannot just remove it, and it's not going to go anywhere. You can talk about secularism all day. Nobody believes in that. So why is it that, especially when it comes to India, everybody has a lot of chat. They are evil Muslim killers or whatever, even though texts do not talk about killing Muslims anyway. So, and the media, there are a lot of times when the media is, caught red-handed, lying about a lot of stuff. So I'm not a supporter of the right wing, but I do support the people, because the reason why they're supporting right wing is because they believe in their nation. They believe in
They're
each
nationalists.
other.
Yeah, we go. Okay,
they're nationalists. They're not evil people the way media portrays them to be. Yeah, they might get angry, but if that is the case, then what about the liberals, the so-called liberals who are, I don't know, the best human beings or whatever? They talk about, they're basically promoting communism. That's what they are actually doing if you look at their policies. So,
okay, should we let Kshitij, do you want to come in on this, and then Hadrian, and then Rakshit as well if you want to?
Yeah. So my problem with right wings or some people who have this philosophy of
I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. Sorry. Be a little louder. I cannot hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So what I'm saying is the problem that I have with right wing is, so it is not one point. I will go into detail. So starting with representation. So in representation, let's take the example of UK, for example. Even though it's a conservative party in power, still the prime minister is a Hindu, and they have a good amount of Hindu or Muslim representation in all parties. I think 1.5% of UK population is Hindu, but they still have a Hindu prime minister. Let's look at India. India has 15% of Muslim population, and the ruling party.
It's more than that. It's almost 20.
Oh no, it's 50. Let's go with the
facts. It's almost 20 or something. That's
no.
What it is. And it's okay. I'm not.
I mean, we go with stats. Yeah, we go with that. So what I'm saying is India has 15% of Muslim population, and forget about a prime minister or a foreign minister. We don't have a single MP which is from the ruling party who's a Muslim. This is a very big issue. Forget about. Let's move on.
No, it's not a very big issue. No, it's not, because
no, it's a very big issue. You don't have representation. This is just the beginning. This is my first point.
It's not an issue in itself. You're saying it's a big issue because it doesn't represent. That's what you
Yeah,
believe.
you don't get representation. No, you're not understanding it.
It's not
This is a
getting it. They are
multi-court.
not representing themselves. There are Muslim
it's a-
MPs in the right wing.
No,
So there are people,
no, there's
Muslims, who support
none.
the right
There's
wing as well.
zero. There's zero Muslim MP.
No, there are Muslim people who support the right wing as well. No, there are. It's not zero. Come on, the number is not
Come
zero.
on, there's
It's not
zero. Can you check it? I think it's 0 or 1. Last time I checked it was 0. They only had
No.
7
There are Muslim
people
MPs
who
as well who
contested.
support the right wing. Well,
Can you let me talk? Can you let me talk?
no,
Yeah,
not
can you
MP
please let
leaders.
him
There are
finish?
Muslim people.
Can you just let
Okay,
him
can
finish
you-
this point? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that there's a very lack of representation, and representation is a very important thing.
You know, Syed Zafar Islam.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Can you just
let
give me
him
a break,
finish. Let
man?
him finish.
No. Syed Zafar
I've just
Islam. He said
started.
there is zero. There's one guy literally.
Okay,
says,
sorry.
hey,
I'm just trying to find him to mute him. Sorry, I'm gonna have to mute you if you don't let Kshitij finish. Go ahead, Kshitij.
He was wrong. I was just
Okay.
trying to correct
Okay,
him.
can you stop, or I'm gonna
No,
have to take
no,
you
you-
out? Just let him finish, and then you can counter it. Go ahead, Kshitij.
You're wrong. There are no Muslim member of parliament in India. And moving on to the state-wise representation, then you look at the MLAs that are in different states, and you would find there are certain states which have like 0 or 1 MLA. Like Gujarat has only 1 Muslim MLA out of 182 MLAs. So it's not just in Lok Sabha or the parliament that they are not represented. They're also very less represented, or sometimes have no representation in state assemblies. Furthermore, they have this. We already know that the economic situation of Muslims in India is even worse than the Dalits, which are considered to be one of the poorest communities. So that is also one issue. So when there is crime, what right wing does is, when there is a crime committed by a Muslim, they're gonna push it, they're gonna promote it, and they're gonna publish it all over their
No, I said that. I
Twitters.
literally said that. Of course, there are issues in the right
Yeah,
wing.
so that's what I'm saying. Let me just
No, I never
move
said
on
the
to
right wing is perfect. That's not my point. My point is that every time, every right wing party across the entire world, the entire right wing, whether it is Trump, whether it is, let's say, Erdogan in Turkey, or any kind of right wing, the media is always up on them. That
Okay.
they're evil, they're murderers, even though that is not true.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
Kshitij finish.
Do you know about Bilkis Bano? Do you know the case of Bilkis Bano?
Hello, I cannot hear you.
I said, do you know the case of Bilkis Bano?
Which case?
Bilkis Bano, the woman who got raped in the Gujarat riots. What happened to her? Do you know about the case?
Azor, do you know about the case? Yes or no?
Azora, Bilkis Bano case. Do you know about the Bilkis Bano case?
What happened there?
Okay, let me tell you the incident. So Bilkis Bano was a woman who was raped during the Gujarat riots, like many women were, but she survived. The perpetrators thought she died, but she survived, and she was raped, and her family was
that
killed.
Rape case, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So what happened next was, this is a problem with what I'm trying to tell you. The government, not only the MLA and the MP from BJP, the ruling party, celebrated him, but also garlanded him, and in a public ceremony. This is being done backed by the state government. This is one of the many cases. Then you look at Babu Bajrangi.
No, in that case, Modi was exonerated by the court, right? They literally
oh my
said
God,
that it wasn't because of him.
I'm not talking. I'm talking about Bilkis Bano.
No.
You're talking
Yes,
about Gujarat riots.
I get that Bilkis Bano, the rape case and the communal violence in Gujarat, right? That Godhra one. Yeah.
No, I think you have no idea.
It was not.
I think you
because
have no
of
idea
him.
what I'm talking about.
The court exonerated him. You cannot accuse him.
I'm not talking about Modi, man. What's wrong with you? I'm saying what happened to Bilkis Bano's rapists was when they were released, and they were released by Gujarat government's pressure. And when they were released, what happened was the BJP, the ruling party's MPs and MLAs had a show, had a kind of ceremony for them where they were garlanded in front of many people. And this is being done by the state. The state is now garlanding rapists and murderers because they did that to Muslims. There is another case of Babu Bajrangi, who has been acquitted by the same Gujarat government, and he himself on the video, he has confessed his crimes on video, where he has said that it was fun killing these Muslims, and it was, I think they should be
Okay. So
annihilated.
I get your point. Now let me
So
tell
all
you.
of these being backed by the government.
How many rape cases happen across the entire world?
Don't do whataboutery. Don't do whataboutery. No. You're doing whataboutery. I'm telling you, the state
I'm not
is now.
No, what about
No, you're not getting the point.
Wait,
No,
I'm
you're not getting the
I
point.
never said
I'm telling
the
about
right wing is
state.
perfect. I never said
I'm
there are
telling you
people in the right and the left wing who are equally corrupt. They are all involved in the same thing. I mean, corruption, murder, rape, trafficking, and whatnot. So
Okay.
the whole idea.
Okay.
Yeah, Hadrian,
He's not getting the
do
point.
you want to come in, Hadrian? And
Yeah.
then...
Okay. Azor, like, let me
never
respond
said
to
that.
you. Let me respond to you. I think I understand where you're coming from, and let me just clarify something. The first thing you said, that it is the common strategy that happens. It's very common to people to oppose the right-wing governments all around the world. Now, let me tell you why. When like most of us here are atheist, secularist, liberal, and progressive. The thing with right-wing governments, whether it be 57 garbage Muslim countries or one garbage BJP right-wing government in India. No, let me tell you.
Muslim countries are not garbage, by the way.
They are, to me. My opinion is garbage. Like, this is my
No,
opinion.
they're not garbage.
Okay.
Come on.
No, let me finish. Let me finish.
See, this
What
is the problem.
this is what right-wing governments do. They
No, this
run
is the
on
problem.
that
According to
narrative.
you,
They
this is
run
an
on a
assumption that they're
religious.
all garbage. Why? Because they're Muslim. That's not how it works, right?
Let me
You're
tell. No,
literally
no,
talking
no.
to a Muslim right now. I mean, the person who's actually took you on. I mean, she might have left, but this whole idea that 57 Muslim countries are garbage because they are Muslim. Come on.
No, I didn't say they're garbage because they're Muslim. I'm saying because if they have right-wing governments. Let me explain. If you let me finish. They run
garbage.
Yes, let me finish.
I think Hadrian, I think he's just got an issue with the term garbage. Maybe just use different words.
Okay, they're Muslim. They're following their religion. It's a Muslim country.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Can you please let him finish, Zor? Otherwise, I really will have to mute you.
Yeah. So this is generally what right-wing governments do. They run either on a theocratic idea, on a nationalistic idea based on ethnicity or culture or traditions. And when you do that, and we can see it from history, and we can see it right now, is it creates a lot of societal frictions. Minorities, they feel that they do not belong in those countries because of either ethnicity or religion. They get persecuted. Their voice gets eliminated from national politics. Like when you said that there are Muslim MPs in...
This happens.
Let me finish.
This happens in left wing as well.
Yeah, and as atheist, secular, progressive, we should call it out as well. Now, right now, when we're talking about the Indian context, what we have in front of us is a right-wing government. So that's why we are talking about the right-wing government. If there was a left-wing government who are doing the exact same things, we would be talking about the left-wing government as well. Now, this is why we are criticizing the Hindutva and the right-wing extremism in India. Now, when you say that the media is only reporting these issues more, which is why we are seeing this on everywhere. Now, are you seriously telling me this, that before 2014, there used to be equivalent amount of cow lynchings, equivalent amount of rampages on Christian premises in India, equivalent level of harassments of Muslims in India before 2014, but the media wouldn't just report because the left...
It could be. How can you say it did not happen? And let's say, listen, this whole cow lynching, look at the population of the country. I mean,
no, don't play the numbers game. That is a numbers game.
Selecting isolated cases from every country where there is a right.
There are. So you're telling me that there are like 44 cases. Are all 44 of them are isolated? All like
44 out of how many? 1.5 billion people in the country. Come on.
So
and 44, how many of them? And let's say, if you go by this logic, which kind of government is perfect in which there is no crime, there is no lynching, there is no trafficking, and there's no corrupt person? How does that work?
No, you cannot equate this with just general crime that is prevalent in every country.
I can, because you're literally asking for a perfect utopian government which doesn't even exist in the first place.
No, but we are trying to get there. No. This cow lynching is coming from Hindu sentiments related to cows. When you talk, let's take robbery. Robbery happens in India, but come on, no one will say that people are committing robbery because of political narratives and it is connected to Hindu sentiments related to. No, not as much. Not at least. How are you saying could be?
Even before the BJP came to power, Nirbhaya happened, right? So who are the ruling party? Congress was the ruling party. So listen, these things happen in
No,
every
that's a very
government.
false equivalence. The Nirbhaya rape case, the Congress didn't garland the rapists. They didn't help the rapists to get out of the jail.
And they got hanged, by the way, later on.
Yeah.
So it happens.
Can I point it?
Who got hanged? Nirbhaya
See, Azhar, you cannot equate a crime, a general crime, with a crime committed due to religious or nationalistic motivation.
It is religious? There must be some reason behind it.
Why are you killing? Why is there a mandate in Gujarat to not on cow slaughtering? Why is it banned in the first place? Because it's generally not people generally dislike.
So how many people are doing that? There are people whose religious sentiments are. Muslims do that as well. Everybody does that. I'm not saying that it is the right thing to do, but what I'm saying is you're literally taking 44 people out of 1.5 billion to make a case that the right-wing government is responsible for murdering of Muslims, and not just Muslims. Even in Muslim countries, there are minorities.
How many Christians? How many? You're playing the numbers game. Let me do the numbers game.
It matters because listen, there will always be murderers and thieves and criminals everywhere.
Okay.
That is why. This is why Bin Salman installed all these rules.
Azhar. If you're gonna play the numbers game, let me ask you this: how many Muslims are doing quote unquote love jihad in India? How many of the Muslims are literally out there going out and saying, well, let's just trap Hindu women and make them Muslims? How many do you think are doing?
Like, do you think not all of them, but there are
no, give me a number. Give me your assessment. How many do you think
there is no way to find out the numbers in this
case. Could it be, let me say,
how do you know it is 44 who are killing, the
let me say,
how can you say that?
I don't know. Let's take the very conservative estimate.
You don't know, that's the point. You're just assuming that the left-wing media is telling you the truth.
This is not left-wing media. This love jihad is from right-wing media. But the thing is, whenever there is one case where a Muslim and a Hindu woman got into some kind of love trap issues and there were murders or there were anything sort of that, the right-wing media of India portrays it as like every single Muslim is conspiring. I know there are cases, but you play the number game. You play the number game when it comes to cow lynchings, but you do not accept the same number game when it comes to other religious minorities. And that's a fact.
The reason why the right-wing media does this is to create an equivalence between them and the left wing, because the left wing is lying as well. So that is my point. So we do not know the truth. That is what my point is. And if you live in India, the numbers that they say are not actually true. The numbers are exaggerated.
Let me tell you a few facts again.
The numbers that they show you on screen are not true numbers.
Hold on, can you please, for a few seconds. The Pew Research has already showed us that the amount of Hindus who are converted is 0.7%, and the people who convert into Hindu.
I don't know. There's something wrong with your settings, because we can all hear Kshitij fine.
I'm sitting in front of a laptop. I cannot hear. His voice is really weak. The others are okay. Hadrian or whatever, the Exatya and all that. His voice is weak. This Rana, what's his name? Kshitij Rana or whatever. So my point is, listen, I don't support the right wing. Okay, don't get.
No, if you can't hear, can you mute yourself? I would answer the people who are in the chat then.
Yes,
so,
thank you.
So basically, what I'm telling you is that there's 0.7% of Hindus who leave their religion, and then there are 0.8% of people who get converted into Hinduism. So there is no such conversion happening as they claim on different medias and social medias. Then you have the point of that I am I'm most worried of is that in a population of 1.4 billion, you're making excuses. But the problem is not that there are 44 or 50 lynchings happening. The problem is that people are making excuses. You have the case of Monu Manesar, which everyone knows about him. He creates reels, Instagram reels, and he searches for these people who are so-called Muslims, trying to take cows from one city to the other, calling it, and then he starts firing on their vehicles. There are videos of him beating Muslim kids who are transporting these animals, and he's being protected. He has not been arrested yet, even after the two Muslim young men who were burnt alive. And this is just one of many. Like this is you search on the internet, you can find loads of videos of what happened on Ram Navami. On the occasion of Ram Navami, people barge inside masjids and dargahs with the saffron flag in their hand, chanting slogans like "Mulle kaate jayenge, Ram Ram chillayenge." Then there was this there was in one there was one incident where in Maharashtra, the far right monk Kalicharan Maharaj, who delivered a big hate speech in front of like thousands of people in the Sakal Hindu Samaj event, where he said that killing is important. If you don't kill to protect Hinduism, you are how are you even a Hindu? Then you have T. Raja, who was an ex-BJP MLA, which has like big protests where thousands of people turn up.
So
Where he
when
talks
did
about.
I say that
Can
the
you?
right wing
I'm
does
talking.
not have
I'm
leaders
talking. I
like
think I
these
thought
and
you.
these?
I thought
Listen,
you
I
were
heard
knowledgeable.
what you said. It was difficult, but I still
Yeah,
get
so
that.
these are the
I never
problematic
said.
things. This shouldn't happen. You don't see that in Sweden. You don't see that in Australia. You don't see that in New Zealand. This is a very worrying situation that we have never thought of would happen. And you cannot tell me that this used to happen earlier. Also, there were thousands of people who were talking about economic boycott of Muslims and Christians. There were like
These things happened
rapists
in
and
Australia as well. Even Australia and New Zealand, there was a mosque which was attacked and there were people killed. Don't you
that,
know about that? White
no,
supremacist guy.
that's
So
happening in India daily. That's
Now,
no, not
that's
happening
now
daily. How can
no,
you say it is
the
happening
one that
daily?
happened in
No,
Australia was an isolated incident, only
no, it
precisely
is not
because
an
it doesn't
isolated
happen
incident. There are
every
people
time.
living in Australia. Listen, there are people living in
Oh my
Australia that I
God.
know in which there are Muslims are facing problems over there as well. It's not completely the fault of either side. They all have issues over there as well. Not
Okay,
just in India.
Azor, I think we've got your point now. Thank you. We are going to have
Nuraya,
to.
can I speak?
Yes,
Okay.
of course, Rukshit. I'm just going to remove Azor and we're going to take third eye after. Ji, Rukshit, aap bole.
Okay, so I have been hearing everything. Okay, let's be clear. Because BJP, RSS, and politics believes in the restoration of temples and all that, that is why this has been come into it. Because they like to use the religious element for getting the political votes. Hence the discussion on politics. Okay, right or left, whatever you call it. Okay. That is the one answer. And as far as what I heard from all Azor, I'm not sure what he thinks and comes, but it seems like he probably hasn't opened Sudarshan News, he hasn't opened Republic TV, he hasn't opened Z News, which every day can cover plenty of right wing content, plenty of it. Okay, Sudarshan News channel's reporter and anchor has been booked for hate speech, and there has been countless FIRs against him. Okay, so this is not any isolated incidents. Okay, and as far as this goes, it only shows a matter of convenience. The identity of Hindu, that I am a Hindu, I am this, I am Sanātana, I am not. This is a matter of convenience within the political power structure. That's it. That's what he is playing on. Okay. Imagine if Azhar was not a Hindu but somebody else from Muslim, he would have been defending why conversion and jihad is good. If he had been in US as a Mormon or a Catholic, he would have been saying why that is good. Same thing here also. He is Hindu, he is convenient with that identity and that plays very well. Hence, anything happens for that sake, chalega bhai, koi problem nahi hai. Okay, that's the whole point I get. Okay. And as far as wait, let me complete Kshitij. I have heard from all. So as far as left wing is doing communism is concerned, yeah, I think he has no idea what left is or what right is or what communism is. He hasn't read what communism is and what left does. What do you mean by left? What do you mean by right? Because there can be economic left, there can be economic right, there can be social left, there can be social right. This can be a having mixture of anything. So again, he didn't even clarify that, and he just made a plain statement. Left is trying to bring communism. Communism, if you look at it, how many countries are there in the world which are really communist? How many states? Hardly 3, 4. So can you? I mean, it sounds like the way he's saying, अगर UK का government left है, तो भाई UK में communism आ जाएगा. That's how his statement sounds like. And even before he came and joined the studio, he absolutely wrote with fact as though it's a fact that evolution is not proven. Uska private chat hi pada hua hai.
ہاں
So
میں نے بھی
again,
وہ
that
دیکھا.
I need not tell further. ٹھیک ہے.
Exactly.
Somebody who is an evolution denier will obviously end up believing there is something called as UFO aliens as well. Ancient aliens built the pyramid. He will end up believing even that. Okay.
Yeah. Kshitij, do you want to come in? پھر میں
Yeah.
third eye کو add کروں گی. جی.
Yeah, I just wanted to address some people in the chat earlier. Also, they were talking about this. See, they claim that they are very tolerant and they are open to criticism and everything. But whenever you start talking about anything about Hinduism or even Hindutva, what they do is they try to put labels on you. With me, the label started with that you're Buddhist. When I said, "Oh, I don't believe in Buddha. Buddhism is crap for me as well," then they said you're Christian. I said, "Oh my God, I'm not a Christian for Christ's sake." So after that, they said that you are a Bhimta, which is a slur, by the way. They use it for lower caste people, and they thought that I am using a fake surname, and that's then my real, my real caste is I'm from a lower caste, and I support, I don't even support you. That's just my identity. That's how these people are so charged up with this hate that they use slurs right, left, and center for Muslims, for Christians, for Dalits, and then they say that, oh no, we don't have caste system, we don't have these problems that we have in other religions, we don't hate people, we welcome criticism. These are all lies. These are just made up things. When you question them, when you talk to them, you realize that these people are very, very venomous and very hateful. And that's why I don't see a good future, at least for the 10 years that we, and then there was one more accusation, which was that you are Congress agent. I mean, I hate Congress as well, because Congress did to Sikhs in 1984 is also like one of the worst things one political party could do. So I don't know, you can just try to put labels on me, man, but you are not answering the question that we are trying to raise.
Yeah. And Chitra, just quickly in a minute, if I want to add, I have to add a point to that, which is these religious extremists, whether it be in Muslims or Hindus, they cannot look at situations independently. They always have to connect it with another ideology so that they can represent it as a reactionary movement. And this is exactly what Hindutwas are doing. When you bring in any Hindutva person here, they will say, hey, no, but that's not the true story. For example, for the cow lynchings, you also have to look at the Khilafat movement that happened in the 1920s, and then we will say yeah, but that still doesn't justify cow lynchings. And then they will be like, oh, that's because you're a Congress member, or that's because you're funded by Islamists or something. Now there you go, I exposed all of you. What is this? What kind of argumentation is this? Whatever, man.
Yeah, I'm so tired with this. I don't even want to answer these.
Can I say something, please, on the label of tagging stuff, please?
Who's that? Who's speaking? Sorry. Oh, Eksathya. Okay, can I just bring Third Eye in? Sorry, he's been waiting for a very long time. And then Eksathya, I promise. Yeah, hi
just
Third Eye, welcome.
Thing I want. It will take.
Yes, okay, go ahead. Say your point on labeling then, Third Eye.
Yeah, one thing about labeling is that
because my English is not good as yours.
Yes. आप बेशक हिंदी में बात कर लें, बस एक सत्य छोटा सा पॉइंट रखिए फिर आपके पास आते हैं. जी, एक सत्य.
Tagging thing I was saying. So isn't it rational that whenever you are speaking against anyone, they will tag you with something? And just now, didn't you just tag those person as venomous? So tagging is just normal for whatever who person doesn't subscribe to your views. You tag them with something. Why it is so opposing? It's all right being tagged at something. If someone is
venomous is not same as Buddhist or calling someone a Christian, because I'm telling my identity. I'm telling you that I don't believe in any religion. Then you're equating venomous to an ideology which is false equivalence.
It's an adjective. It's not a noun. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Third Eye ji, आप please बात करें. Welcome.
जी मैम, तो मुझे तो 2 पॉइंट पे बात रखनी थी. एक तो अखंड भारत पे, और दूसरा मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आप लोग थोड़े से कंफ्यूज हो आरएसएस, बीजेपी, पॉलिटिक्स और सनातन धर्म के बीच में. आप शायद सबको मिक्स कर रहे हैं. हिंदुत्वा और हिंदुइज्म दोनों अलग अलग चीजें हैं.
اوکے آپ بتا دیں پلیز.
ہاں بالکل. دیکھو RSS اور BJP پولیٹیکل پارٹی ہے, ان کا کام ہے الیکشن لڑنا, الیکشن جیتنا, اور وہ آپ کو لگ رہا ہے کہ ہندوتوا کے نام پہ الیکشن جیت رہی ہے تو آپ غلط ہو. وہ صرف ہندوتوا کے نام پہ الیکشن نہیں جیتتی ہے, ان کے پاس میں 4 اور 5 پوائنٹ کا ایجنڈا رہتا ہے اور وہ اس کے اوپر الیکشن لڑتی ہے اور اس کے بعد جیتتی ہے. انہوں نے ہندوتوا کے اوپر ٹرائی کیا تھا, وہ ہار چکے ہیں, اس لیے وہ دوبارہ ٹرائی نہیں کرتے ہیں. ہاں ایک ان کا پارٹ رہتا ہے تھوڑا سا ہندوتوا کا, یہ بالکل صحیح ہے.
ہوگی بات آپ کی.
1992 کے اندر BJP الیکشن لڑی تھی ہندوتوا کے اوپر, صرف بری طرح سے ہاری تھی بابری مسجد کے بعد میں. جی
اچھا تو ایک بات بتائیں مجھے, یوگی آدتیہ ناتھ کو CM کیوں بنایا گیا؟ کیا وہ بہت بڑا انجینئر ہے, اس میں
بالکل میں
بہت
بتاتا ہوں آپ کو. یوگی آدتیہ ناتھ CM وہاں پہ بنا ہے, وہاں پہ بہت زیادہ پرابلم ہے. ہندوتوا کا ان کا ایک ایجنڈا ہے, لیکن انہوں نے وہاں پہ جو کرمنلز تھے ان کو پورا کافی حد تک وائپ آؤٹ کر دیا ہے. تو ایک سب سے مین ریزن ہے وہاں پہ
میری
الیکشن
بات سنیں,
جیتنے کا.
اس نے بولا ہے, اس کی ویڈیوز وائرل ہیں, کہ اگر ایک لڑکی کوئی ہندوؤں کی لے جائے تو تم 10 مسلمانوں کی عورتوں کو اٹھا لو. اس نے بولا ہے کہ تم ان کو قبروں سے نکال کے ریپ کرو. یہ بندہ تمہارا چیف منسٹر ہے, تم یہاں آ کے مجھے سمجھا رہے ہو کہ ہندوتوا نہیں ہے پالیٹکس میں اور یہ ہندوازم الگ ہے,
میڈم
BJP الگ ہے. اور
سوری, میں نے یہ
ایسا
نہیں
بندہ آپ
کہا
کو لگتا ہے کہ
کہ ہندوتوا
نہیں
نہیں ہے
مجھے ایک بات ہے,
پالیٹکس
یہ
کے
آپ کا
اندر.
چیف منسٹر ہے, یہ
رہا ہے
MLA
ایک
نہیں ہے.
پارٹ ہے ان کی پالیٹکس کا, وہ
اوکے
بالکل
ٹھیک
MLA
ہے,
ہے,
دین از
وہ
فائن.
چیف منسٹر ہے, اور اس نے یہ چیز بولی ہے. بالکل صحیح بات ہے آپ کی, اور وہ اچھی بات نہیں ہے,
لیکن
یہ بھی
پھر
صحیح
میں آپ
بات
سے
ہے.
کیا نہیں, پھر میں آپ سے کیا آرگیو کروں یار. آپ کو اویسی کا بھاشن نظر آتا ہے کہ اس نے کہا ہے غلط, اویسی کو آپ بنائیں گے ایسے چیف منسٹر اپنا, اگر وہ باقی ڈیولپمنٹ کے مارکنگ پہ آ جائے برابر اس کے؟
اگر آپ OBC کی پالیٹکس کو اور BJP کی پالیٹکس کو تھوڑے سے دھیان سے دیکھیں گے تو آپ کو پتا چلے گا دونوں ایک ہی ہے. وہ
تو میں کہاں کر رہا ہوں
ان
غلط,
جگہوں پہ,
میں کہہ رہا ہوں سیم
ہاں
ہے.
جی بالکل
میں کہہ رہا
سیم
ہوں
ہے.
سیم ہے. تو میں یہ کہہ رہا ہوں کہ آپ کو ایز اے سوسائٹی سوچنا چاہیے کہ آپ کا جو چیف منسٹر
ہم
ہے
سوچتے ہیں,
وہ اتنی
بالکل ہم سوچتے ہیں,
گھٹیا
اور
قسم کی بات کرتا ہے, اور پھر آپ
ہماری
اس کو ڈیفینڈ
فاؤنڈیشن
کرتے ہو آ
اتنی
کے.
نہیں, بالکل میں ڈیفینڈ ہی نہیں کر رہا ہوں. آپ کو کیوں لگ رہا ہے کہ میں ڈیفینڈ کر رہا ہوں؟
آپ بہانے بازی کر رہے ہیں یہاں کے, اور کیا کر رہے
میں
ہو
نے
آپ؟ کہتے ہو
بالکل
نا
بہانے
کہ
بازی نہیں کی. میں نے بولا, آپ نے بولا کہ ہاں انہوں نے بولا, میں بالکل بولا ہے انہوں نے یہ چیز.
نہیں
ہندوتوا
دیکھیں,
پالیٹکس کا ان کا پارٹ ہے, بالکل ہے.
تھرڈ
میں نے اس کو لکھا ہے, چھوڑ دیا.
تھرڈ آئی
جی
دیکھیں,
بالکل.
آپ جب آ کے کہتے ہیں کہ ہمیں پالیٹکس اور ریلیجیس آئیڈیالوجی کو سپریٹ کر کے دونوں کو انڈیپینڈنٹلی دیکھنا پڑے گا, ٹھیک ہے, آپ کچھ حد تک صحیح بھی ہیں, لیکن آپ یہ بھی تو دیکھیں کہ پالیٹکس اور ریلیجیس آئیڈینٹی انڈیپینڈنٹ نہیں ہوتا, کیونکہ یہ پاکستان میں بھی ویری سملر چیزیں ہیں. تو یہ تو اگر پاکستانی آ کے آپ کو کہیں کہ آپ اسلامک آئیڈیالوجی اور پاکستان کے پولیٹیشینز کو سیپریٹلی دیکھیں تو کیا آپ مانیں گے؟ جب ہم لوگ پاکستانی ہندوز اور کرسچنز کے پرسیکیوشن کے بارے میں بات کرتے ہیں, آپ کو حیرانی ہوگی کہ یہ ایسے آپ نے جو آرگیومنٹیشن رکھا ہے نا, یہ پاکستانی بھی یہی ایگزیکٹ سیم آرگیومنٹیشن رکھتے ہیں کہ آپ
میں بتاتا ہوں کچھ,
نہیں بات سن لیں. یہ سیپریٹ اس لیے نہیں ہوتا کیونکہ ہم جو پولیٹیکل ایکشنز ہو رہے ہیں وہ ہم کسی ریلیجیس آئیڈیالوجی کے ساتھ کنیکٹ کر سکتے ہیں. جیسے میں آپ کو ایک ایگزامپل دیتا ہوں. اگر ایک ریلیجیس بول رہا ہوں, ایک پولیٹیکل نیریٹو آتا ہے کہ ہمیں انفراسٹرکچر میں ڈیولپمنٹ کرنا ہے, وہ ابھی ہم نا بڑے مشکل سے ہی ریلیجنز کے ساتھ کنیکٹ کر سکتے ہیں, کیونکہ ریلیجنز میں تو انفراسٹرکچر کا ذکر ہے ہی نہیں. لیکن اگر ہو سکتا ہے تو آپ لوگ کچھ فلسافیکلی انٹرپریٹ کر کے منا سکتے ہیں, لیکن ہم اس کو ریلیجن کے ساتھ تو نہیں کنیکٹ کر سکتے ہیں. سملرلی اگر کوئی جو کرپشن ہوتا ہے, جو نا ٹیبل کے اندر سے جو پیسے لیتے ہیں, اس کو بھی تھوڑا بہت مشکل ہوتا ہے ریلیجن کے ساتھ کنیکٹ کرنا, کیونکہ ریلیجن میں تو وہ بھی نہیں ہے. لیکن جب کوئی پولیٹیکل ڈکٹیٹ آتا ہے کہ ہمیں ان کے عورتوں کو اغوا کر کے ریپ کرنا چاہیے کیونکہ وہ ہمارے انویڈرز ہیں, ہم یہ ریلیجنس کے ساتھ کنیکٹ کر سکتے ہیں یا ریلیجیس آئیڈینٹی کے ساتھ کنیکٹ کر سکتے ہیں, کیونکہ ریلیجنس میں ایک قسم کا فرکشن ہے. اور جب ہم موب لنچز کو دیکھتے ہیں, جب ہم اسٹیٹ لیول مینڈیٹس دیکھتے ہیں جو کاؤ سلاٹرنگ بین کرتا ہے, ہم اس کو ریلیجن یا ریلیجیس آئیڈینٹی کے ساتھ کنیکٹ کر سکتے ہیں, کیونکہ ہندوازم میں گائے کو اپنا ماتا سمجھا جاتا ہے. تو اسی لیے ہم جس ٹاپک پہ بات کر رہے ہیں نا, اس میں ہم ریلیجیس اور پولیٹیکل آئیڈینٹی کو الگ سیپریٹ حساب سے نہیں دیکھ سکتے, کیونکہ ہمارا تو پورا ٹاپک یہی ہے ہندوتوا کو لے کر, جو دونوں پالیٹکس اور ریلیجن کو کمبائن کر کے ہی ہندوتوا بنتا ہے. تو آپ آئی ہوپ آپ کو سمجھ آ رہی ہے کہ ہمارا جو ایتھیسٹ پروگریسو سیکولر پرسپیکٹو جس کیا ہے اور ہم کس پوائنٹ آف ویو سے آ رہے ہیں. آئی ہوپ یو انڈرسٹینڈ دیٹ, سو دیٹ آپ لوگ آ کے ہمیں یہ مت کہیں کہ آپ اس کو سپریٹ دیکھیں اس کو سپریٹ دیکھیں, آپ ان دونوں کو مکس نہ کریں. کیونکہ میرے
میں
بھائی
نہیں کہہ رہا ہوں, آپ پھر وہی بات کر رہے ہیں. میں نہیں کہہ رہا ہوں, آپ اپنے شبد میرے منہ میں کیوں ڈال رہے ہیں؟
آپ ہی نے تو شروع, اچھا
میں یہ کہہ رہا ہوں کہ میں سناتنی ہوں. سنیے, میں سناتنی ہوں, میں بی جے پی کو سپورٹ نہیں کرتا, میں آر ایس ایس کو سپورٹ نہیں کرتا. تو کیا سیکولر ہونے کے لیے ایتھیسٹ ہونا ضروری ہے؟
نہیں وہ تو نہیں ہے, لیکن اگر آپ نے جو ابھی انفارمیشن دیا ہے کہ آپ سناتنی ہیں اور آپ یہ
میں نے کیا
RSS
انفارمیشن دیا ہے, آپ نے سنا ہی نہیں ہے دھیان سے. میں نے
نہیں
یہ
میں نے
کہا ہے
سنا ہے.
آئی تھنک اگر وہ کہہ رہے ہیں کہ وہ آر ایس ایس یا یہ ہندوتوا کو سپورٹ نہیں کرتے ہیں تو ٹھیک ہے. مجھے لگا تھا کہ یہ کہہ رہے ہیں کہ یہ ہندوتوا کے سپورٹر ہیں, مجھے ایسا لگا.
نہیں ہوں میں سپورٹر ہندوتوا کا, لیکن میں سناتن دھرم کا تو سپورٹر ہوں نا, میں اس کو تو فالو کرتا ہوں نا. آپ یہ
ٹھیک ہے.
سمجھیے.
تو ریلیجن پہ کر سکتے ہیں بات. مجھے لگا میں
اب
شاید غلط سمجھ لیا.
ایک
ہندوتوا الگ ہے, ہندوتوا الگ ہے, دونوں الگ الگ چیزیں ہیں. ہندوتوا پولیٹیکل آئیڈیالوجی ہے اور ہندوازم ہے وہ ریلیجن ہے. اب آپ تھوڑا سا اس کو یہ ایسے ڈفرینس کر کے دیکھ سکتے ہیں.
تھرڈ ہے بھائی. اور
دوسری بات,
ایک پوائنٹ میں رکھنا چاہوں گا پلیز 1 منٹ میں, کہ
جی
انڈیا میں جیسا سوچا جاتا ہے نا کہ پاکستان میں ایسا ہے بس اسلام ورسز مائنورٹی, انڈیا میں ایسا نہیں ہے. اگر ایسا ہوتا تو جیسے بہار ہے, یو پی ہے, یہاں پہ مائی سمیکرن چلتا ہے, مسلم یادو
بالکل
ہندوازم کے ایک کاسٹ, اور مسلم جو کہ ایک ٹوٹلی الگ ریلیجن. تو ایسا کچھ ہوتا ہی نہیں, ہمیشہ ہی پالیٹکس بس ہندوازم کو لے کے اور
وہی
اسلام
کہہ رہا
کو لے
ہوں
کے
ان
ہوتی
کو.
ہے. ایسا نہیں ہوتا. سماجوادی پارٹی دلتس کو لے کے ووٹ کرتی ہے, بنگال میں ممتا بنرجی, اور ساؤتھ میں دراویڈین چلتا ہے. تو یہ ایسے سیگریگیشنز, ایسے ڈویژنس نہیں ہوتے اگر ہندوازم ورسز اسلامزم کا پالیٹکس انڈیا میں ڈومیننٹ ہوتا تو. اور اگر ڈومیننٹ ہے تو پھر
بالکل نہیں
ایسے
ہے.
ڈائیورژن
میں یہی
کیوں
کہہ
ہے؟
رہا ہوں بھائی,
بہار میں
ایک ستیہ,
MOI
میری بات
چلتا
سنو,
ہے.
میری بات سنو ایک ستیہ. میں یہی بول رہا ہوں ان کو. فرسٹ میرا پوائنٹ یہی تھا کہ ہندوتوا بی جے پی کی آئیڈیالوجی کے اندر ایک چھوٹا سا پارٹ ہے. آپ سمجھیے تھوڑا سا, ہندوتوا سے ان کو وہ الیکشن نہیں جیت سکتے, انڈیا کے اندر بالکل نہیں جیت سکتے. ہماری فاؤنڈیشن اتنی زیادہ اسٹرانگ ہے
تو نہیں ہے,
کہ یہاں پہ
چھوٹا
کوئی
سا
بھی
تو نہیں ہے,
پارٹی
بہت
ریلیجیس
بڑا
آئیڈیالوجی
پارٹ
کے
ہے.
اوپر الیکشن نہیں جیت سکتی.
نہیں
ایک
چھوٹا
ریلیجن کو
پارٹ
لے
نہیں
کے
ہے,
کوئی
وہ
بھی
بہت
پولیٹیکل
بڑا
پارٹی
پارٹ ہے.
نہیں جیت سکتی.
دیکھیے یہ
نہیں ہے بڑا, آپ کو لگتا ہے بڑا ہے,
دیکھیے
وہ ٹی وی کے
تھرڈ آئی
اوپر
جی,
اچھا لگتا ہے اس لیے وہ بڑا آپ کو لگ رہا ہے, لیکن
تھرڈ
اگر
آئی
گراؤنڈ کے
جی,
اوپر جاؤ گے آپ تو ووٹ ویسے نہیں ملتے ہیں.
تھرڈ آئی جی آنےسٹلی بتانا, یہ ایک پرسنل سوال ہے, اگر
جی
نہ
پوچھیے.
آنسر کرنا چاہیں تو نہ کریں. کیا آپ مودی کے لیے
نہیں میں
ووٹ
کر
کیے
دوں گا,
تھے؟
آپ بولیے.
آپ مودی کے لیے
سوری,
ووٹ کیے تھے؟ آپ نے مودی
نہیں
یا
میں نے ابھی تک نہیں کیا ہے سر.
ابھی تک نہیں کیا؟ تو کیا آپ نے کانگریس کے لیے ووٹ کیا تھا یا پھر کوئی دوسرا نان بی جے پی پارٹی کے لیے ووٹ
میں نے
کیا تھا؟
کانگریس کے لیے بھی ووٹ نہیں کیا تھا.
تو 2019 الیکشن میں کسی کے لیے بھی نہیں ووٹ کیا تھا, اس کا مطلب آپ نے؟
میں نے نوٹا ووٹ کیا تھا. میں نے الگ الگ, میں کینڈیڈیٹ دیکھ کے ووٹ کرتا ہوں. میرے اگر ایریا کے اندر اچھا کینڈیڈیٹ ہوتا ہے MLA کے لیے تو میں اس کو ووٹ کرتا ہوں.
آپ نے
اور
نوٹا
جو
ووٹ کیا تھا
میونسپل
تو بی جے
کارپوریشن
پی
کے,
کو
ہاں
آپ کیوں ڈیفینڈ کر رہے ہو آکے؟ مجھے یہ سمجھ
میں
نہیں
بی
آیا.
جے پی کو کہاں ڈیفینڈ
کتنی
کر
اور
رہا ہوں, میں
کرنی
آپ
الگ
کو
آتی
بتا رہا
ہے.
ہوں جو ریئلٹی ہے وہ.
نہیں ٹھیک ہے,
میں ڈیفینڈ نہیں کر رہا ہوں, میں تو جو ریئلٹی ہے وہ بتا رہا ہوں. اب میری بات سنیے, میں آپ کو چلو میں نمبرز دیتا ہوں. بی جے پی کو کتنے % ووٹ ملے تھے؟
نہیں ایک تھرڈ آئی میں میری بات سن لیں. اگر آپ ان کو ان کے پولیٹیکل آئیڈیالوجی سے آپ مطلب سپورٹ نہیں کرتے ہیں, نہیں رکھتے ہیں, تو ٹھیک ہے. آپ کا جو اوپینین ہے وہ میں مانتا ہوں کہ ہم آپ جیسوں کے لیے, آپ کے لیے ابھی جب ہم آپ سے آرگیومنٹ کریں گے تو ہمیں پولیٹیکل اور ریلیجن کو سیپریٹ کرنا پڑے گا, کیونکہ آپ ایک ڈفرینٹ پرسپیکٹو کے ساتھ آتے ہیں, کیونکہ آپ ہندوتوا کے ساتھ.
میرے جیسوں کے نمبر سب سے زیادہ بڑے ہیں, یہ آپ کو
یہ
سمجھنا ہوگا. انڈیا کی فاؤنڈیشن بہت زیادہ اسٹرانگ ہے.
ٹھیک ہے,
آپ
اگر
سمجھیے
آپ
چیز کو, بی جے
ٹھیک
پی
ہے,
کے اندر بھی رائٹ لیننگ اور لیفٹ لیننگ جو ہوتی ہے نا لیڈرشپ آتی رہتی ہے. جیسے کہ اٹل بہاری واجپئی تھے, بی جے پی کے اندر ہی تھے. وہ لیفٹ لیننگ, وہ تھوڑے سے سینٹرک تھے. جو مودی
اچھا
ہے
میں
وہ
پھر ایک
تھوڑا سا
سوال پوچھتا ہوں.
تھوڑے سے رائٹ لیننگ ہے.
میں آپ سے ایک سوال پوچھتا ہوں ریلیجیس بیسس پہ, ریلیجن کے اوپر, مطلب ایگزیکٹلی اسکرپچر کے بارے میں نہیں, لیکن آپ کا اوپینین کیا ہے؟ آپ کا اوپینین کیا ہوتا ہے؟ نہیں مجھے نہیں, میں ہندو نہیں ہوں, مجھے نہیں پتا. رکشتھ آپ کو پتا ہوگا تو آپ آ جائیے گا. لیکن میں آپ سے ایک سوال اسٹریٹ پوچھتا ہوں کہ آپ کا یہ جو کاؤ لنچنگس میں, یہ جو کاؤ سلاٹر پہ موب لنچز ہوتے ہیں, اس پہ آپ کیا کہتے ہیں؟ اس پہ آپ کا کیا اوپینین ہے؟
سر میرا دیکھو اس کے اندر اوپینین یہ ہے, اہنسا پرمو دھرم. हिंसा नहीं होनी चाहिए किसी भी हालत के अंदर। अगर कोई काऊ को स्मगल कर रहा है तो उसको पकड़ के और पुलिस के अंदर मतलब उसके ऊपर केस वेस करो, और जो भी लीगल प्रोसीजर है वो फॉलो होना चाहिए। लिंच कर देना मेरे हिसाब से सही नहीं है,
और
और
जो
ज्यादातर लोगों की यही राय होती है।
और जो लिंच करते हैं उनके साथ क्या होना चाहिए?
तो लिंच उनके साथ भी सजा होनी चाहिए, बिल्कुल। उनके साथ भी वही होना चाहिए जो मतलब लिंच नहीं होना चाहिए उनको भी, लेकिन उनके साथ में भी जो लीगल प्रोसीजर है वो फॉलो होना चाहिए, बिल्कुल।
Okay,
अच्छा,
okay, Hadrian, एक second, sorry. Third eye, आपसे एक सवाल है, and then obviously I'm so sorry. Just some guy, आपको भी लेते हैं, आशिक ट्रम्प, मुझे पता है आप कब से बैठे हैं दोनों. I'm so sorry. I'll bring you guys on very soon. Third eye, आपसे एक सवाल है कि आप सनातनी क्यों हैं? आपको क्या महसूस होता है, क्यों अच्छा लगता है सनातन धर्म?
मैं पहले है ना मतलब नास्तिक भी रह चुका हूँ। तो सनातन धर्म की एक सबसे बड़ी खूबसूरती है ये क्या डाइवर्सिटी को सपोर्ट करता है, तो ये सबसे अच्छी बात मुझे लगती है।
किसको
आप
सपोर्ट
मतलब
करता है,
मूर्ति
sorry?
पूजा कर रहे हो, नहीं, डाइवर्सिटी को सपोर्ट करता है ये।
Diversity.
इस पे
बिल्कुल,
वैसे
मैं
मैंने
एक ऑर्थोडॉक्स ब्राह्मण
अभी
फैमिली से
आपने
हूँ।
वैसे अभी आपने
मैं खुद
न्यूज़
एक
पढ़ी है,
ऑर्थोडॉक्स
एक
ब्राह्मण।
एक जो केस हुआ है
जी बोलिए,
थर्ड आई,
क्या केस हुआ?
अभी केस हुआ है
जी
कि
बोलिए।
एक बंदा जो ये बना रहा था, मूर्ति बना रहा था, उससे मूर्ति टूट गई तो उसको मार दिया है मूर्ति तोड़ने पे।
नहीं, मैंने
वो
नहीं सुना
बनाता है।
है, लेकिन आप बता रहे हो, बिल्कुल
तो
ऐसा
मैं कह रहा हूँ कि
मैंने
जो
सुना
जो
नहीं है।
जो ये आप कहते हैं ना कि हिंदू बहुत ओपन है या नहीं है, ये धीरे धीरे आपको दिख रहा है कि सोसाइटी किस तरफ जा रही है। आपको
देखो
छोटी
सर,
छोटी
मैं
बात पे लोगों की भावना आहत हो जाती है, बहुत
हाँ,
इमोशनली
ये
लोग
मुझे
चार्ज
थोड़ा
रहते
सही
हैं।
नहीं लगता है, मुझे थोड़ा सही नहीं लगता है, लेकिन इसके अंदर काफी चीजें हैं। मैं बताता हूँ आपको, एक एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ इसका। अभी अभी मैं थोड़े दिन पहले देख रहा था, तो मुझे भी ऐसा कई बार लगता है कि मुझे भी थोड़ा सा हार्डकोर शायद, क्या मालूम, हो सकता हूँ मैं भी आने वाले फ्यूचर में हो जाऊं। मैं एक रिपोर्ट देख रहा था, 2017 का सेंसेक्स था पाकिस्तान का, उसके अंदर 88 लाख हिंदू थे पाकिस्तान के अंदर। अभी वहां पे 2030 का ये आया है, उसके अंदर 44 लाख बचे हैं खाली। और मैं देख रहा हूँ केस यहाँ पे बांग्लादेश के अंदर हिंदू लड़कियों को उठा उठा के ले जा रहे हैं, उनकी जबरदस्ती शादियां करवा रहे हैं, जबकि बांग्लादेश की
आप क्या कह
हेल्पलेसनेस
रहे हो
ही
कि
सबसे ज्यादा इंडिया ने करी।
2017 में 88 लाख
2017 के
मुस्लिम
अंदर
हिंदू।
88 लाख हिंदू थे वहां पे, अभी आधे रह गए हैं
अच्छा,
वहां पे पाकिस्तान में।
आपने कहाँ देखी है
और
स्टैट? उनका
वो
तो सेंसस
सिंध के अंदर
2001।
लड़कियों को उठा उठा के ले जा रहे हैं। मैं सिंध के उधर से ही हूँ खुद।
नहीं, मैं खुद
मैं जहाँ
देखना
रहने वाला हूँ, पाकिस्तान का बॉर्डर है
मैं,
वो।
मैं देखना चाह रहा हूँ वो डेटा जो आपने कहा ना कि 5 साल में
आप
आधे
डेटा
हो गए
चेक
हैं।
करिए, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, मैं डेटा ही बता रहा
हाँ,
हूँ
तो
आपको, आप
रेफरेंस
डेटा
आप मुझे
चेक
बता
करिए।
सकते हो कहाँ आपने देखा था,
हाँ,
कहाँ
एक
देखा था
तो
ये मैंने?
2017 का तो सेंसेक्स है उनका जो आता है,
पाकिस्तानी
वही है। उसके
सेंसस,
बाद में
ठीक है।
23 का कोई एजेंसी ने काउंट किया था कुछ, उधर की कोई
अच्छा,
एजेंसी है उसने काउंट किया था। हाँ, 44
ठीक है,
आधे
चलिए
रह
मैं
गए हैं, बिल्कुल।
आपकी बात को अगर मैं फेस वैल्यू पे भी ले लूं कि आप सही कह रहे हैं, तो मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि आपको क्या वैसी सोसाइटी बनानी है इंडिया में? इंडिया में
नहीं, बिल्कुल
ऑलरेडी
नहीं।
इतनी, तो
मैं
फिर
मैंने कहा, मैं तो अखंड भारत पे बात करने आया था। मैंने कहा अखंड भारत को मैं सपोर्ट करता हूँ।
वो अखंड भारत एक अलग टॉपिक हो जाएगा।
अच्छा, यहाँ
हाँ,
पे एक सवाल पूछो नूरैया, कैन आई आस्क?
Gigi, of course, Rakshit. And then just some guy in Ashika Trump, I'll add you both. Go ahead,
ओके
Rakshit.
ओके ओके। सो थर्ड आई, आपसे एक ही सवाल है, ठीक है? आप बोले आप
जी बोलिए।
सेकुलरिज्म को सपोर्ट करते हैं, अच्छी बात है। आप नोटा दबा लिए, पॉलिटिकल पार्टी से दूर रहे, ओके, बहुत अच्छी बात, नो इश्यूज, ठीक है। आपने अभी बोला अखंड भारत सपोर्ट करते हैं, तो क्या आप अखंड भारत में
हाँ,
जो अफगानिस्तान के लोग रहेंगे, पाकिस्तान के लोग रहेंगे और बांग्लादेश के लोग रहेंगे और उनका जो पॉपुलेशन होगा, आप वो भी एक्सेप्ट करेंगे फिर?
बिल्कुल 100%, क्यों नहीं।
अच्छा, अभी आपको बोलिए, भारत में कितना परसेंट मुस्लिम पॉपुलेशन है, बताइए।
मेरे हिसाब से 21% है, या 18 या 21%।
अच्छा, क्रिश्चियन।
आप अखंड भारत को थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूज
रुके
कर
रुके
रहे हैं, मैं
रुके रुके
आपको
रुके
बताता
रुके
हूँ।
रुके रुके रुके,
ओके
नहीं नहीं
ओके।
नहीं 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 नहीं,
जी जी।
मेरे को कंप्लीट
ओके
करने
ओके
दीजिए।
ओके।
क्रिश्चियन,
गो
क्रिश्चियन
गो अहेड।
पॉपुलेशन कितना है? क्रिश्चियन पॉपुलेशन कितना है?
क्रिश्चियन पॉपुलेशन मेरे हिसाब से 1.5% होगा।
अच्छा, कम्युनिस्ट का पॉपुलेशन कितना है?
कम्युनिस्ट कम बचे हैं, ज्यादा नहीं है। ओनली केरला एक ही स्टेट बचा है।
अच्छा, तो इनका, अच्छा तो फिर एक चीज बता सकते हैं, ये क्रिश्चियन लोगों पे भी क्यों अटैक होता है?
اٹیک تو سر دیکھو اب سب جگہ تھوڑا بہت انریسٹ ہے, لوگ
نہیں
تھوڑے
نہیں
سے
نہیں نہیں
بھاوک ہوتے
تھوڑا
ہیں,
بہت
اٹھتے ہیں
انریسٹ
یہ.
کی نہیں. کرسچن دیکھیے, یہ کرسچن مسلم آپ بولتے ہیں کہ وہ کنورٹ کرتے ہیں, غلط ہے, آپ ان پہ ریٹیلیٹ کر رہے ہیں, ٹھیک ہے. کرسچن نے تو بھائی کون سا تلوار اٹھایا انہوں نے, کیا وہ
برادر
تلوار
وائلنس.
نہیں اٹھایا
کرسچنس
انہوں نے
کیا
بھی, وہ
کنورٹ
بھی
نہیں کرتے ہیں کیا؟ پنجاب کے رپورٹ جا کے
کرسچن
تھوڑا
کنورٹ
دیکھیں آپ
کرتے ہیں,
پلیز.
وہاں پہ راشٹریہ کنورژن
آپ
ہوتا
کو
ہے.
کیا لگ رہا ہے کہ
وہ
افریقہ میں
آدیواسی کے
کنورٹ
اندر جاتے ہیں,
اوریجنل
کنورژن
کہاں
سے
گئے
کیا
تب؟
دقت ہے بھائی؟
نہیں
کنورژن تو ہوتی ہے بھائی. کنورژن آپ
وہ رائس
یہ
پہ
کیا نام
کنورژن
ہے اس کا؟
کرتے ہیں.
ابھی ایکس
ارے
ہندوز
بھائی
نے بولا
یہ
کہ
جو
کنورٹ.
ہندوز ہیں وہ جا کے ادھر وہ ہرے کرشنا ور کر کے نہیں کنورٹ کرتے تھے, وہ بھی چیک کریں نا
کنورٹ
اسٹارٹنگ
انہوں نے
تو.
کہا کہ
تو
کرسچن
پیسے
کہاں
لے کے تھوڑی کر
کنورٹ
رہے ہیں
کر
سر.
رہا ہے، تو میں نے
نہیں,
کہا
اگر
کہ
پیسے لے
کرسچن
کے کوئی
کنورٹ
آپ کا
کر رہا
دھرم چھوڑا ہے تو آپ کا دھرم کتنا برا ہے کہ وہ پیسے لے کر چھوڑ دے رہا ہے, کہ اس کو لگا کہ بھائی پیسے
سر
مجھے مل رہا
آدیواسی
ہے
وہ
یہ
غریب
کر.
لوگوں کے اندر جا رہے ہیں, دیکھو میرے کو کوئی پرابلم نہیں ہے,
آپ دو نا پیسے ان
میں
کو,
بتا
وہ
رہا
نہیں
ہوں.
کریں گے کنورٹ.
ہاں پیسے دے کے اور وہ کنورٹ کرتے ہیں تو لوگوں کے سینٹیمنٹ ہرٹ ہوتے ہیں, اور وہ لوگ تھوڑے سے اگر جو رائٹ ونگر
تو
ہوں گے وہ اس کو ہوا دیتے ہیں, تو اس
اس میں
طرح سے
کس کے
تھوڑا بہت وہ
اکنامک
ہوتا ہے,
فیلئر ہے یہ
جیسے
بتائیے.
ہر کنٹری میں ہو رہا ہے.
رکیے,
سوری
اس میں کس کی اکنامک فیلئر ہے اس میں؟ اگر کوئی آدمی غریب ہے اور اس کو کوئی سامنے کرسچن کنورٹ کرنے آ جاتا ہے اور وہ کنورٹ ہو جاتا ہے کسی کارن سے, ٹھیک ہے, پیسے کے لیے ہی صحیح, تو بھائی یہ تو اسٹیٹ کا اکنامک فیلئر ہوا نا, کہ بھائی اسٹیٹ
اب
انشور
سر اس
نہیں
کے
کر
اندر
پا
تو
رہا
میں
ہے.
اور ایک اور چیز
اب اس
ایڈ
کے
کر
لیے
دوں
تو میں
رکشت,
برٹین کو
ایک
بھی
اور چیز
تھوڑا سا
ایڈ کر
کر
دوں.
سکتا ہوں کہ ہاں ان کی وجہ
سناتن
سے تھوڑی سی غریبی ہے انڈیا کے اندر,
تھرڈا
یہ بھی ایک بات ہے.
ایک سیکنڈ میری بات سنیں. اگر کوئی پیسوں کے لیے کنورٹ کر رہا ہے اور اس سے سینٹیمنٹس ہرٹ ہوتا ہے تو اس کو ایک سائڈ میں رکھیں. اب سناتن دھرم میں تو سب کچھ الاؤڈ ہے, اور اگر سب کچھ الاؤڈ ہے تو سناتن دھرم میں ہندوازم, اسلام اور کرسچینٹی بھی ایکسیپٹیبل ہے. پھر تو اگر کوئی سناتنی پیسے لے کر کرسچن یا مسلم بنتا ہے تو اس میں سینٹیمنٹس کیوں ہرٹ ہونا چاہیے؟ کیونکہ سناتن دھرم میں تو سب کچھ اوپن اینڈیڈ ہے, کسی بھی راستے سے اللہ, خدا, بھگوان, ایشور تک پہنچ سکتے ہیں. تو وہ دوسرا جو ہمارے بھائی بہن ہے وہ بس پیسے لے کے ایک دوسرا راستہ چن رہا ہے خدا تک پہنچنے کے لیے. تو اس میں سینٹیمنٹس کیوں ہرٹ ہونا چاہیے؟ اس میں تو سناتن دھرم تو پورا اوپن اینڈیڈ ہے نا بھائی.
پورا. میں تھوڑا سا اس کا آنسر دوں پلیز.
جی جلدی سے پلیز.
ایک پرابلم ہے ایٹ لیسٹ اسلام میں کہ وہ چاہتی ہے کہ پورا دنیا ہی بس اسلامسٹ بننے, تب تک وہ لوگ شانت نہیں بیٹھیں گے. کرسچنس کے ساتھ اتنا بڑا انڈیا میں وار کیوں نہیں ہے؟ بدھسٹ کے ساتھ کیوں نہیں ہوا تھا؟ اگر کچھ کہیں گے بدھسٹ انڈیا میں ختم ہو گئے تو وہ آئیڈیولوجیکلی وہ شاسترارتھ کا پرمپرا تھا, جا کے چیک کر سکتے ہیں. بٹ ایک پرابلم ہے, اسلام چاہتا ہے پورا دنیا اسلامائزیشن ہو جائے, ہر کوئی اسلام کا فالوور ہو, لیکن ہندوازم میں بہت کچھ الگ الگ ہے. اور اگر سب کچھ اس طرف جانے لگا تو ہم لوگ چاہتے ہیں نہ جائے, کیونکہ میں بھی اگر سناتنی خود کو مانتا ہوں, اس کا مین ریزن ہے کہ مجھے فریڈم ہے. لوگ کہیں گے اگر میں جلاتے ہیں ہندوز نہیں, لنگایت زمین میں دفناتے ہیں, لوگ کہیں گے کیا بیف کو لے کے تھا نا, کاؤ کو لے کے, کچھ ہندو ساؤتھ میں کاؤ ایٹنگ بھی کرتے ہیں, کچھ آدیواسیز ہیں.
یہ دیکھیے ایک ستیہ شانت ہو جائے, ایک ستیہ ابھی آپ یہاں پہ بتا رہے ہیں ہمارے سامنے ہمارے اس چینل پہ, لیکن کیا یہی چیزیں آپ جو یوٹیوبر چینل ہے ان پہ جا کے آپ بتا سکتے یہی چیزیں؟ وہاں پہ تو آپ پر بھی لے گئے, آپ پر بھی ٹیگ لگا دیں گے کہ آپ تو لبرانڈو ہے, آپ تو یہ ہے فلانا فلانا.
ہر سماج میں چینج کے لیے لگتا ہے نا. ایشور چندر ودیا ساگر کا میں تب نام نہیں لے رہا
ایک
تھا, تو
ستیہ
ٹیگ
جی,
لگنے سے ڈر کس بات کی ہے؟
ایک ستیہ
ٹیگ نہیں لگا ہوا
پرابلم
کیا؟
یہ کہ آپ یہ سب باتیں یہاں بتا رہے, آپ وہاں نہیں بتا رہے نا, یہی تو ہم بول
یہ
رہے
تو
ہیں.
سر اوپن سیکریٹ ہے, کیرل کے اندر بیف سب کھاتے ہیں, سب کو پتا ہے, اس میں کوئی بڑی بات نہیں ہے.
ٹھیک ہے. ایک ستیہ جی سر, ایک ستیہ آپ کہہ رہے تھے کہ کیونکہ اسلام میں تو ہے وہ تو ہمیں پتا ہے وہ کہ ہے, لیکن اب ذرا عرض کریں کہ اگر ہم اسلام سے کٹر پناہ ہٹا دیں, جہاں پہ وہ اسلامی خلافت نہیں بنانا چاہتے ہیں, جہاد نہیں کرنا چاہتے ہیں, کسی کو مارنا نہیں چاہتے ہیں, لیکن دعویٰ تبھی بھی کرنا چاہتے ہیں, کنورٹ تبھی بھی کرنا چاہتے ہیں تھرو پیسفل مینس, اور اگر تب جا کے وہ لوگ صرف ہرے کرشنا جیسے یا پھر HSS جیسے آرگنائزیشنز بنائے جہاں پہ وہ کسی کو مارتے نہیں ہیں, دھمکی نہیں دیتے ہیں, کسی کو کاٹتے نہیں ہیں, بس اپنے اسلام کے بارے میں بتانا چاہتے ہیں, اور اسی طریقے سے اگر سناتنی یا ہندوز مسلمان بن جائے تو کیا اس سے آپ کو پرابلم ہوگا؟
کوئی پرابلم نہیں. پوچھئے کیوں؟ کیونکہ پورے ہندوستان کے پاسٹ اتہاس میں جین بدھ سب کہاں سے آتے تھے؟ سکھزم میں لوگ کہاں سے گئے اگر سکھ 500 سال پرانا دھرم ہے؟
ٹھیک ہے, تو آپ کو پھر آپ کو اسلام
پرابلم نہیں ہے.
آپ کو صرف اسلام, تو اس کا مطلب کہ آپ کو
ایسپیکٹ سے اسلام کے ریڈیکل جو دنیا کو کنورٹ کرنے پہ تلی ہوئی ہے وہ بھی ٹیررسٹک ہو کے. اسلام کا آپ سوچیے انڈیا میں جس آپ کاؤ لنچنگ کا بات کر رہے تھے, راجستھان میں کاؤ لنچنگ بین ہے, بہار میں بین ہے, لیکن یہاں پہ ایک اسمگل ہو رہا ہے. تو ایسے کوئی آئیڈیولوجی جو ریڈیکلائز اتنا ہے کہ مجھے کھانا ہے آخر بین ہو پھر بھی ایلیگل تھرو, یہ ڈینجرس
اوکے تو
ہے انڈیا کے
چلیں
لیے.
آپ کو میں اس کا جواب دیتا ہوں یار. یہاں پہ ابھی اس معاملے میں تو کرسچن سب سے بہتر ہے. میں جہاں رہتا ہوں یہاں میں کرائسٹ کا ننگا تصویر نکال دوں, یہاں میں جیزس کو گالیاں دے دوں, ان کی بک پھاڑ دوں بائبل, یہاں میں جو من وہ کھاؤں, مجھے کوئی کچھ نہیں کہنے والا. انڈیا میں تو بیف کھانے پہ لنچ کر دیا جائے گا. تو اوپن سی بات ہے. تو بھائی یہی کرسچن سب سے آگے ہیں, تو سب کو کرسچن بن جانا چاہیے.
کرسچن آگے نہیں ہے, ایٹ لیسٹ ہم یہاں پہ بات کریں کرسچن کا. پہلی بات کرسچن کا بھی اتہاس اگر ہم لوگ جائیں تو ہم لوگ کو معلوم ہے کہ ہیلیوسینٹرک وغیرہ
اتہاس کی بات نہیں کر رہا میں, آج کی بات کر رہا ہوں.
آج پریزنٹ کا دیکھو یار,
پریزنٹ کا ہی میں
کی بات کر رہا ہوں.
ہاں تو پریزنٹ کا
ایک کرسچن کنٹری کا تو نام بتائیے
کوئی
سر,
آئیڈیا
کون
نہیں
سا
ہے
کرسچن کنٹری ہے ورلڈ میں؟
جہاں بھی کرسچن, یورپ دیکھ لو یار, یورپ میں کیا لنچنگ ہو رہی ہے کسی
کرسچن
کو
کنٹری
کھانے
کون
پہ یا
سی
کچھ
ہے؟
کھانے پہ. ارے بھائی جہاں
میں
کرسچن
پوچھ رہا ہوں.
ہندو کنٹری تو ویسے انڈیا بھی نہیں ہے.
اچھا میں ایک سوال
میجورٹی
کروں.
کنٹری کی بات ہو رہی ہے.
نوری, ون کوشچن فار پینل ہیئر, ٹھیک ہے. ہمیں بتایا جاتا ہے دیر آر 57 مسلم کنٹری, ٹھیک ہے. اب میرے کو بتائیے اتنے سارے مسلم کنٹری میں کیا سبھی سیکولر ہیں یا سبھی نان سیکولر ہیں؟
دیکھیے
کنٹری
میں
خود انسیکولر ہے,
بہت سارا نان سیکولر ہے, لیکن کچھ جو سیکولر ہیں جیسے انڈونیشیا وغیرہ, اس میں بھی ریڈیکل ایک بہت بڑی ڈینجرس پرتھا ہی ہے نا کہ سب کو عربیہ کا اوریجنل اسلام فالو کرنا ہے. جیسے تم کلچر کے اگینسٹ بات کر رہے تھے نا رکشتھ, یاد کرو کہ انڈیا میں آج سے 100 سال پہلے کتنی برقع کلیڈ وومن ملتی تھی, آج کتنی مل رہی تھی. سب کو سڈنلی سے ہارڈ کور اسلام فالو کرنا ہے.
ایک ستیہ آپ تھوڑی دیر پہلے بتا رہے تھے نا کون سا کیرلا سٹوری, ٹھیک ہے. اگر میں کیرلا کے مسلم سے ڈیبیٹ کروں گا تو میں اس پہ یہ بات کروں گا, ٹھیک ہے. اور ایسا نہیں ہے کہ میرے کوئی کیرلا سے کوئی ایکس مسلم دوست نہیں ہے, میرے ایکس مسلم دوست وہاں سے بھی ہے, ٹھیک ہے. میں ان کے ساتھ بھی ٹچ میں بھی رہتا ہوں, ٹھیک ہے. تو ایسا نہیں ہے کہ بھائی ہم لوگ کوئی ایک سائڈ کو اگنور کر کے چری پک کر رہے ہیں, لیکن آج کا جو ٹاپک ہے اسی پہ ہم ڈسکشن کر رہے ہیں, ٹھیک ہے. اب آپ نے بولا کہ اسلام وائلنس ہے, میں مانتا ہوں ڈیفینیٹلی اس میں وائلنس ہے, اس میں بھی بہت سارا خون خرابی بہت کچھ ہے, ٹھیک ہے. اگریڈ, آل دیٹ از فائن, آئی اگری آن دیٹ, اوکے. اس میں کوئی ڈینائل نہیں ہے. دا فیکٹ دیٹ کہ میں ایکس مسلم ہیڈرین اور ایکس مسلم نوریہ خان کے ساتھ بیٹھا ہوں, یہ اس چیز کا اپنے آپ میں ایک ٹیسٹیمنی ہے, ٹھیک ہے. اب میرا ایک پوائنٹ یہ ہے کہ چلیے آپ نے ابھی بولا جتنے بھی ہندوتوا آرگنائزیشن ہے, وی ایچ پی ہو گیا, بجرنگ دل ہو گیا, آر ایس ایس ہو گیا, ٹھیک ہے, یہ مطلب ایکٹیو اس لیے ہوئے کیونکہ مسلم اور اسلامک کا وائلنس ہوا, موپلا رائٹس ہوا, کشمیر پنڈت کا جینوسائیڈ میسیکر وغیرہ وغیرہ, آل دیٹ از اگریڈ, ٹھیک ہے. سپوز کی میرا ایک ہائپوتھیٹیکل کوشچن ہے, سپوز کی کل کو سارے مسلم بول دے کہ بھائی ہم نے جہاد نہیں کرنا, ہمیں وائلنس نہیں کرنا, ہم جو صوفیزم پہ چلے جائیں گے, لیٹ اس آل بیکم صوفیز. تو کیا آپ سپورٹ کرو گے بیننگ آر ایس ایس, بجرنگ دل, وشو ہندو پریشد؟
بالکل
بالکل.
سپورٹ کریں گے.
یا تو ان سارے آرگنائزیشن کو اس فیسٹ سے آ کے ہیومینیٹیرین پہ آنا ہوگا, نہیں تو بین کرو, سمپل فارمولا. کیا آج ستی پرتھا بین نہیں
میں
ہے؟
ایک پوائنٹ رکھنا چاہوں گا
آج کے ٹائم بین ہوا ہے.
ہاں بالکل.
سر ایک
کیوں؟
پوائنٹ میں
کیونکہ
رکھنا
وہ
چاہوں گا,
سب
جیسے آپ
ابھی
نے
اگر
بولا
کوئی
ابھی
سنستھا بولے گا کہ پاسٹ میں کرتا تھا آج بھی ہونا چاہیے, تو لیٹس فنش دیم بائی دا ہوک اور کروک.
سر ہاں ایک چیز
چلیے
میں
تو
رکھنا چاہوں
انڈیا
گا.
میں, اچھا انڈیا میں تو خیر بہت سارے صوفی سے, وہ تو وہابزم نہیں مانتے, آپ ان سے فائن ہے, اوکے ہے. اب بہت سارے جو ہے وہ دیوبندی
سر
بھی
ہم
نہیں
خود
ہے,
اجمیر درگاہ میں جاتے ہیں.
وہ اسماعیلی بھی نہیں ہے, وہ حنفی بھی نہیں ہے, سلافی بھی نہیں ہے, وہ صوفی
سر
مانتے
آپ
ہیں.
ایک بار ہے نا اجمیر جائیے, وہاں پہ آپ کو جتنے مسلم دکھیں گے اتنے ہندو دکھیں گے. صوفی
ہاں
درگاہ
وہ
ہے.
تو میرے کو پتا ہے. دیکھیے وہ جو آپ بتا رہے ہیں وہ تو چشتی کا ہے, لیکن اور بھی بہت طرح کے صوفی ہے, ٹھیک ہے.
اور رکشتھ
تو
یہ بھی
اگر
کہنا
آپ
چاہوں
مانتے تو وہ پرابلم نہیں ہے, مطلب
ایک سر میں
یہ
پوائنٹ
وائلنس
رکھنا
روک
چاہ
لیں
رہا
گے
تھا,
گارنٹیڈ.
میں ایک پوائنٹ رکھنا چاہ رہا تھا. جیسے آپ بتا رہے تھے ہندوز مطلب اسلام کے اندر یہ سب پرابلم ہے اور ہندوز کے اندر بھی ہے, لیکن ایک فرق ہے, بہت بڑا فرق ہے, ہمارے اسکرپچرز کے اندر نہیں ہے, ان کے اسکرپچرز کے اندر ہے کہ آپ کو سب کو وائپ آؤٹ کرنا ہے, ایک مورتی توڑنی ہے. نہیں ہے,
ہمارے
آپ مجھے
اسکرپچر
دکھائیں
میں
نا.
بھی ہے. भाई आप महाभारत पढ़ लो, महाभारत
क्या
में
चीज?
मलेच्छ वर्ड यूज करके बोला गया युद्ध करने के लिए उन सब से। तो आप मैं आपको विवेकानंद का
सर
वॉल्यूम दिखाता
महाभारत
हूँ। उस
तो महाभारत
इवन
एपिक है
विवेकानंद, अरे सुनिए
या
आनंद,
लॉ बिट
अच्छा
है?
आप
आप मेरे को थोड़ा सा क्लियर
आनंद मठ
करेंगे?
पढ़ लो, रुकिए आप आनंद मठ पढ़ लो
अरे
भाई,
सर,
बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी का साहित्य।
सर
वो
मेरे को
तो
आप वेद के
लिटरली
अंदर दिखा सकते हैं?
वो तो लिटरली सारे जितने भी नॉन हिंदू सबको मलेच्छ शब्द का प्रयोग किया है, जिसका मतलब होता है बारबेरियन या फॉरेन, मतलब वर्ष दान चंडाल जिसको बोला गया है
मलेच्छ किसको
मलेच्छ वो।
बोलते हैं सर? मलेच्छ शब्द मैंने सुना है, जहां तक पुराण के अंदर सुना है मैंने। आप मेरे को कौन सी बुक
हाँ
बता रहे थे
लेकिन
मुझे?
इसका उपयोग सिर्फ पुराण में नहीं हुआ है, बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी के आनंद मठ में भी
सर
हुआ है।
बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी सर अभी आए हैं। बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी थोड़ी हिंदू स्क्रिप्चर्स लिखे हैं उन्होंने कोई।
आप तो, अरे भाई आपको लगता है उन्होंने कोई हिंदू शास्त्र नहीं पढ़े होंगे, ऐसे ही लिख
अरे
दिए।
सर उन्होंने, सर
हालांकि
उनके लिखे
देखिए
हुए
देखिए देखिए
शास्त्र
देखिए
हिंदू शास्त्र
मैं
थोड़ी हो सकते हैं सर, वो तो पोइट थे। वो तो
अरे
उन्होंने तो
पता
बंकिम
है
चंद्र
उन्होंने
चटर्जी
वंदे,
हाँ
रुकिए सुनिए उन्होंने वंदे मातरम लिखा, वो सब लिखा, ठीक है। मेरा इतना पॉइंट था कि अभी आपने जो बोला ना मलेच्छ शब्द की सिर्फ पुराणों में रिस्ट्रिक्टेड है, ये आज के टाइम पुराणों में भी रिस्ट्रिक्ट नहीं है, पुराणों के बाहर भी निकल के अलग साहित्य में इसका यूज हुआ है। अब आनंद मठ
अरे
जो है वो एक लिटरेचर है, बंगाली लिटरेचर, लेकिन उसमें भी मलेच्छ वर्ड यूज हुआ है। तो पुराणों में
अब
कहाँ
सर आप
रिस्ट्रिक्ट हुआ, ये तो
मुझे,
बाहर निकल गया ना फिर।
सर आप मुझे बता रहे हैं कि अब हिंदू
अच्छा ये
हिंदूज के बेसिक
थर्ड आई,
स्क्रिप्चर्स कौन कौन से होते हैं सर? आप मुझे थोड़ा सा
थर्ड आई
बता
एक
सकेंगे?
सेकंड, थर्ड आई एक सेकंड यार, मैं दो
उसी
मेरा
दो
डिस्कनेक्ट हो
टाइप के
गया था।
होते हैं, इतना तो बोल सकते हैं, श्रुति और स्मृति, ठीक है। अब
हाँ
उसमें आपने के
हाँ, तो
बहुत
फिर
कुछ
ये
लिखा गया
दोनों में
है।
से कौन सा
हाँ
है? ये जो आप बोल रहे हैं आनंद मठ, ये कौन से वाली श्रेणी में आता है?
वही तो बोल रहा हूँ, श्रुति और स्मृति के बाहर निकल चुका है। आपका पॉइंट आप कह रहे थे सिर्फ पुराणों में है, हम बोल रहे हैं पुराणों के बाहर निकल के ऑलरेडी बाकी स्क्रिप्ट, बाकी जो साहित्य है, लिटरेचर है, उसमें यूज होना शुरू हुआ है। हम वही तो बोल रहे हैं अभी, अब फिर से सुन
अरे सर
लीजिए एक
आप
बार।
बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी की बुक दिखा के
अरे
कुछ
यार
बोल रहे हो, तो वो
एक
तो
सेकंड
कैसे
यार,
रेफरेंस
ये
में?
वी आर गोइंग इन सर्कल्स यार, वेट। मैं कह रहा हूँ कि मेरी बात समय रह गई थी, डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया था। मैं कह रहा हूँ कि ये कंपैरेटिव स्टडी का मतलब क्या है? कंपैरेटिव रिलीजन की, हमारा रिलीजन कम से कम उतना बुरा नहीं है, उनका हमसे ज्यादा बुरा है, ये सब करने का कोई फायदा नहीं है। आई मीन एट द एंड ऑफ द डे सारे रिलीजन बुरे हैं, सारे रिलीजन डोंट मेक सेंस। अगर आपको खुशी मिलती है ये सोच के कि भाई कम से कम हमारे में वो मुसलमानों जितना जो उनके टेक्स्ट में उतना नहीं लिखा हुआ, तो आप खुश हो लें उससे, इससे हिंदुइज्म सच्चा तो साबित नहीं हो जाएगा। तो आई डोंट नो व्हाई लाइक यू
अच्छा
डू कंपैरेटिव
यहाँ
रिलीजन।
पे एक सत्य और
हिंदुत्व
एक
को गलत
सत्य,
साबित करना
रुकिए
होगा, आप समझिए बात को। आपको
रुकिए
गलत
रुकिए
साबित
रुकिए
करना
रुकिए,
होगा
गलत
उसको,
गलत
हम उसको
साबित
डिफेंड
कर
करेंगे।
लेंगे,
अगर
गलत,
हमारे पास में
हाँ
कुछ
हम
लॉजिक
कर
होगा
लेंगे,
तो हम आपको बताएंगे।
रुकिए रुकिए रुकिए, गलत हम साबित कर लेंगे, ठीक है।
जी
अभी
करिए।
भागवत पुराण के चौथे स्कंद के 17th चैप्टर का 17th वर्ष में बोला है कि भाई अगर आप
हम्म
में अगर कोई शिव जी का अपमान करे तो
हम्म
आप कान बंद करके चले जाओ, अगर क्षमता है तो आप जो है मतलब जिसने अपमान किया है उसका नाक काट के उसको मार के फिर अपने आप को भी मार लो, ये सती ने
अच्छा
बोला है।
अब
अब
मैं
गीता, अरे
आपको
अब अगर आप गीता को ही खोल के देख लोगे, गीता को ही खोल के देख लोगे, 2 का 29 से लेकर 2 का 32, चैप्टर 2 के
हम्म
29 वर्ष से लेकर 32 वर्ष जो है, वो तो दिखा रहा है कि आप युद्ध करो, लड़ाई करो, और आपको स्वर्ग की प्राप्ति होगी भाई। मुस्लिम का
नहीं,
भी
अब
ये है
सर
कि भाई
आपके
युद्ध
दो
करो,
सवाल है
लड़ाई
इसके
करो,
अंदर।
और आपको
भाई
भी जन्नत प्राप्ति
थर्ड आई
होगी,
में
आपने
एक
दो
मक्का
जवाब
सवाल
देना
मिलेगा।
पूछे सर,
चाहूंगा
मैं
इस पे।
आंसर करना चाहूंगा।
सेकंड का मैं थर्ड आई थोड़ा सा जवाब देना चाहूंगा प्लीज,
हाँ
उसके
फर्स्ट,
बाद तुम उस पर ऐड कर
ठीक है।
देना। हाँ,
जी जी
गीता का युद्ध के बारे में, युद्ध
ठीक है।
किसके खिलाफ? रक्षित, अधर्म के खिलाफ। अधर्म मतलब क्या? जो सही नहीं है। जैसे टेररिस्ट के खिलाफ युद्ध करना गलत है क्या?
ये तो आज का आप बता रहे हो ना, उस टाइम अच्छा
उस
अगर
टाइम
आप धर्म
जो
और
हरे
अधर्म, नहीं नहीं
कृष्ण,
नहीं नहीं नहीं
हरे
नहीं,
कृष्ण तो
जो
आपको
स्टोरी
पहले
है
डिफाइन
उसके
ये
अकॉर्डिंग
बताना
देखो ना।
होगा धर्म क्या है, आपको पहले ये बताना होगा धर्म क्या है।
राइटियस पाथ कहते हैं जो सही कर्म है, जिस अकॉर्डिंग ह्यूमन जो सोसाइटी बनी है या फिर जो चलना चाहिए हमें, उसे
अच्छा
राइटियस पाथ को
यहाँ
धर्म
पे
कहते
ह्यूमन
हैं।
सोसाइटी, यहाँ पे कौन सी ह्यूमन सोसाइटी की बात हो रही है? पूरे दुनिया
उस
की
टाइम
बात हो रही है कि
कृष्ण अगर गीता का टाइम दे रहे हैं तो वो महाभारत युद्ध के टाइम का दे रहे हैं अर्जुन को कि तुम जाके युद्ध करो। किसके अगेंस्ट? जिसने तुम्हारे साथ इतना अन्याय किया, जिसने तुम्हारे साथ
अच्छा,
गलत किया, अधर्म किया, जो
अच्छा,
तुम्हें
तो
धूर्तता से सब
यहाँ पे मैं एक सवाल पूछूं। आपने
बिल्कुल।
बोला धर्म का अर्थ होता है राइटियसनेस, ठीक है, तो उस हिसाब से
रैशनलिटी
देखा जाए
जैसे
तो
हम लोग कहते हैं।
अरे
بالکل
रैशनैलिटी वो सब साइड में रखिए, आपने कहा राइटियसनेस, ठीक है, जो अच्छे काम है, तो उस हिसाब से देखा जाए तो अर्जुन को पहला युद्ध तो युधिष्ठिर से करना चाहिए था, सबसे बड़ा गलत काम तो युधिष्ठिर ने किया, फिर तो अर्जुन ने फिर उनसे क्यों युद्ध नहीं किया, अगर राइटियसनेस डेफिनेशन है तो धर्म का।
اچھا युधिष्ठिर ने जो वो खेला था वही ना आप कहना चाह रहे हैं? तो सबसे
और
पहले
सिर्फ यही नहीं, और
युधिष्ठिर
भी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं।
अरे वैसे तो
महाभारत
फिर
में अगर
कृष्ण ने
पढ़ेंगे
जो
तो
औरतों के कपड़े चुरा के वो गेम खेला करता था बचपन में, वो भी कौन सा राइचियस
सर मेरी बात
बिहेवियर
बचपन में
था?
ना, ठीक है। अच्छा, अब आपका फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन था कि मतलब क्या पुराण के अंदर ये लिखा हुआ है, तो एक क्लियर है, वेद के विरुद्ध जो भी है वो नहीं मानना है, बात खत्म। वेद खुद कह रहा है ये,
एग्रीड।
वेद के विरुद्ध कोई भी बात उसके बाद नहीं माननी है, बात खत्म हो जाती है उसी जगह।
तो मतलब
वेद
आप
के अंदर आप
कोई
दिखा
और
दीजिए
टेक्स्ट
कहीं
हिंदू
ऐसा
टेक्स्ट
लिखा
नहीं
हो
मानते
तो।
हैं?
श्रुति
सॉरी,
प्रमाण उसे कहते हैं वेद वाले को, जो
नहीं,
श्रुति
श्रुति
आप
मतलब वेद।
आप फिर
नहीं,
कृष्ण
आप यहाँ पे
कृष्ण को
जंप
नहीं
मार
मानते?
रहे हैं ना, अभी हम
जंप
डिस्कस
नहीं
कर रहे
मार रहा
थे
हूँ,
भगवत गीता
ये
और इसमें आप
सारी ये रूल
वेद
है।
में भाग रहे हैं।
ये
नहीं,
कृष्ण को भी
वेद
नकार
के
रहे हैं।
विरुद्ध कोई भी चीज नहीं मानू। भगवत गीता के अंदर तो वेद विरुद्ध कुछ भी नहीं है, भगवत गीता के अंदर वेद के विरुद्ध कुछ भी नहीं है।
सार
आप
कहा
जितना
जाता है
अच्छा,
बोल
बेसिकली
ओके,
भगवत गीता
तो
को।
भाई रुके रुके रुके, भगवत गीता के चैप्टर 18 का वर्ष जो 66 है, वो तो भाई शरणागति की बात कर रहे हैं। वेदों में कौन सा देवता की शरणागति की बात हो रही है, जरा बताइए।
एक मिनट
वेद
बताओ,
में तो
कौन सा
अलग
शब्द
अलग
बताया
देवी
आपने?
देवताओं को उनकी पूजा और पूजा पद्धति तो बताया गया है, लेकिन शरणागति तो नहीं बताया गया भाई, कि मेरी
सर
शरण
आप मेरे
पकड़
को
लो मैं
बताइए,
तुम्हारे
वर्ष
पाप
वर्ष
धो
वर्ष
दूंगा, ये
बताइए,
कहाँ है वेदों में?
वर्ष बताइए सर, मुझे वर्ष बताइए।
चैप्टर 18 वर्ष 66।
66, एक मिनट।
हाँ, तो ये बताइए ये वेदों में कहाँ है? अच्छा,
क्या चीज?
आपने गुण का, हाँ, और
तो
आपने
अगर आप अच्छा एक्सेथिस्ट
रजस
जी,
तम सत्व गुण, ये बातें कहाँ ऋग्वेद में आती है, जरा दिखाइए।
मैं ये कहना चाहता
ऋग्वेद
हूँ
में है।
अगर नहीं है तो कितने लोग हिंदुइज्म बस
नहीं है तो
गीता
विरुद्ध
को
कैसे
फॉलो
हुआ?
करते हैं। वैष्णविज्म वो ट्रेड है ना, सेविज्म तो है, शक्तिज्म तो है, कहाँ सारे हो गए कृष्ण के भक्त? शक्ति के भी भक्त हैं, शिव के भी भक्त हैं, वैष्णविज्म एक
उसके अंदर
अलग
लिखा है
ट्रेडिशन चल रहा है।
समस्त
हाँ,
धर्मों
तो
का
इसलिए
परित्याग करो और
इसलिए
मेरी शरण में आ जाओ, मैं पापों से तुम्हारा उद्धार कर दूंगा, डरो मत।
हाँ,
हाँ
अब ऐसी
बिल्कुल।
बातें वेदों में कहाँ मिलती है? अब जरा दिखाइए, ऋग्वेद में ऐसा तो नहीं है कहीं पर।
क्या क्या
तो
चीज
अब
नहीं
आप
है?
चैप्टर
तो
14 का,
वेद में क्या नहीं है
चैप्टर
सर, मेरे को बताइए।
अच्छा, वेद में गुण की बातें है क्या? रज तम सत्व गुण वो सब?
सर वेद के अंदर नहीं है तो वो वेद के विरुद्ध कैसे हुआ? आप
भाई
समझिए,
अभी
वेद
अभी
के
तो
अंदर
आपने
जैसे
बोला
लिखा
कि
है
जो
कि, मेरी
वेद,
बात
नहीं
सुनो,
नहीं
मैं
नहीं नहीं
बताता
नहीं
हूँ,
नहीं नहीं,
मैं
अभी
एग्जांपल दे
अभी
रहा हूँ एक, सुनिए
थोड़ी
सुनिए
देर
मेरे
पहले आप, हाँ,
एग्जांपल, मेरा एग्जांपल लीजिए, मेरा एग्जांपल लीजिए। जैसे वेदों के अंदर लिखा है कि मांस नहीं खाना है, अब गीता के अंदर लिखा हुआ है कि मांस खाना है, तो वो वेद के विरुद्ध हुआ। अगर कुछ चीज गीता के वेद के अंदर नहीं लिखी हुई है और गीता के अंदर लिखी हुई है, तो उसको आप एक्स्ट्रा नॉलेज क्यों नहीं कंसीडर करते हो?
अच्छा, आप एक्स्ट्रा नॉलेज बोल रहे हैं, ये एक्स्ट्रा नॉलेज क्यों
बिल्कुल।
क्यों जरूरत पड़ा भाई? ऐसा क्या
क्यों?
मतलब
क्योंकि मैं बताता हूँ,
आफत
इसके
आ गया
अंदर
था? हाँ,
गीता के अंदर
नहीं
12 का
ये नहीं
5
नहीं
आप
नहीं नहीं,
पढ़िए।
मैं
सुनिए,
रुके, ये अच्छा एक चीज बताइए, वर्ण है 4 वर्ण, ठीक है, ब्राह्मण क्षत्रिय
हाँ
वैश्य शूद्र, 4 वर्ण,
बिल्कुल,
तो सिर्फ
हाँ
3 गुण की चर्चा क्यों है भाई? रज सत्व
किसमें?
तम, ये 3 गुण क्यों है फिर? हम्म
तो
वर्ण
3 ही
4
गुण
है
होते
तो
हैं सबके अंदर,
वर्ण
और कोई गुण ही नहीं होता है।
4 वर्ण है तो गुण 3 क्यों है सिर्फ?
तो सर वर्ण एजुकेशन से होता है, वर्ण कोई गुण से नहीं, गुण और कर्म दोनों से होता है वर्ण। गुण 3
अच्छा,
होते
तो
हैं, उसके
रुके
अलावा
रुके,
एजुकेशन होता है।
तो इसका मतलब पुनर्जन्म नहीं होता, आप ये कह रहे हैं पुनर्जन्म नहीं है फिर?
क्यों नहीं होता? पुनर्जन्म तो होता है।
तो
आप गूगल कर लीजिए, आपको
पुनर्जन्म
पुनर्जन्म
में,
वाले
अच्छा,
लोग
तो
मिल जाएंगे।
पुनर्जन्म होता है तो कर्म और गुण नहीं होता?
बिल्कुल होता है, कर्म और गुण भी होता है, कर्म और गुण के आधार के ऊपर ही
हाँ, अब
अगला
इसका
जन्म
मतलब आप
निश्चित होता है।
रुके, तो कर्म और गुण और जन्म, तो इसका
जी जी।
मतलब वर्ण जन्म से होगा ना, अगले जन्म
हाँ,
में आपका वर्ण, इस जन्म में आपका वर्ण, पिछले जन्म में आपका वर्ण हो गया ना, जन्म
नहीं
से वर्ण फिर।
वर्ण तो द्विज के बाद में होता है सर, वर्ण तो द्विज के बाद होता है।
अच्छा, तो भाई ये द्विज जो है, ऐसा क्यों है कि भाई सिर्फ ब्राह्मण परिवार का जनेऊ है, शूद्र का नहीं है भाई? अच्छा, ये ऐसा क्यों है? अच्छा, एक चीज
किसने
बताइए,
कहा नहीं है
जनेऊ
सर?
परंपरा,
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
नहीं 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 नहीं
बिल्कुल
नहीं नहीं नहीं,
बिल्कुल शूद्र
मेरे
जन
को एक सवाल
जन
दे।
सर मेरी बात सुनिए, मैं रेफरेंस दे रहा हूँ, मनुस्मृति,
हाँ,
जन्मा
जी,
जायते शूद्र, जन्म से सब शूद्र होते हैं, उसके बाद में द्विज होता
हाँ,
है, द्विज के बाद में वर्ण मिलता है, जन्म से सब शूद्र होते हैं, कोई भी ब्राह्मण क्षत्रिय
अच्छा,
वैश्य नहीं होता है।
یہ کیوں نہیں بولا کہ جنم سے سب ورن سنکر ہوتے, یہ کیوں نہیں بولا گیا؟ ورن سنکر کیوں نہیں بولا گیا؟ ورن سنکر وہ کیوں نہیں بولا؟ ہاں ورن سنکر کیسے شودر کا نہیں شودر کا کام کیا ہوتا ہے؟ ذرا شودر کا کام بتائیے.
شودر کا کام سیوا کرنا ہوتا ہے. سیوا نوکری.
کس کی سیوا کرنا؟ نہیں, کس کی سیوا کرنا ہوتا ہے؟
کسی کی بھی سیوا. نوکری کرنے والا شودر ہوتا ہے, کوئی بھی نوکری بھلے کلیکٹر ہو.
ٹھیک ہے, رکے. تو بچہ جو ہے بچپن سے پیدا ہوتا ہے وہ کون سی نوکری کر رہا ہے بھائی؟ کس کی سیوا کر رہا ہے جب بچہ ہے؟
شودر جنم سے اس کے جب تک وہ بڑا ہوا نہیں. سر آپ سمجھیے,
ابھی بولا آپ نے بولا شودر جنم سے سب شودر ہے, تو بھائی جب بچہ پیدا ہوتا ہے وہ کس کی سیوا کر رہا ہے؟ کس کا لیبر کر رہا ہے وہ؟
میری بات سنیے, شودر کا کیا مطلب ہوتا ہے؟ شودر کا مطلب ہوتا ہے جو پڑھ نہیں پایا ہے, جس کے پاس میں ایجوکیشن نہیں ہے, وہ ہوتا ہے شودر. تو بچے کے پاس میں کون سی ایجوکیشن ہوتی ہے؟ تو اس لیے وہ شودر ہے.
تو اس سے بیٹر تو ماڈرن ایجوکیشن سسٹم ہے بھائی, کہ بھائی سب کو ایٹ لیسٹ شکشا دو.
تو سب کو دو نا سر, منع تھوڑی ہے. آپ دوج کریے, اپنے بچے کو بھیجیے اسکول کے اندر, وہ پڑھ لکھ جائے گا, وہ شودر نہیں رہے گا.
رکے, یہاں پہ ایک چیز پوچھنا ہے. دوج میں یہ جنیو تھریڈ پہننا ہی کیوں ہوتا ہے بھائی؟ یہ کوئی اور سنسکار کیوں نہیں ہوتا اس میں؟
دوج سر میری بات سنیے, اب دوج اس ٹائم کا آئیڈینٹی کارڈ آپ سمجھ لیجئے. اس ٹائم کے اندر یہ تھا تو وہی چل رہا ہے. آپ دوج کریے, دوج کے بعد میں اس کو سرٹن رولس ہے ان کو فالو کرنا ہوگا. وہ پڑھے گا گروکل کے اندر, اور اس کے بعد میں شکشا لے گا, اور اس کے بعد میں اس کو ورن ملے گا.
رکے, یہ جو جنیو پہنتے دھاگا, آپ کو نہیں لگتا یہ بھی شاید ہو سکتا ہے مغلوں کا ملاوٹ ہے؟ ایسا کیوں نہیں سوچتے؟
یہ تو پہلے سے ہو رہا ہے. جنوی تو پہلے سے ہو رہا ہے.
ہو سکتا ہے یہ مغلوں کا ملاوٹ ہو, برٹش کا ملاوٹ ہو, وہ شاید ڈیوائڈ اینڈ رول کرنا چاہتے تھے.
اس سے پہلے سر ایسا ہے نا سر, 2500-2600 سال پرانی مورتیوں کے اندر جنوی ملتے ہیں. تو اس لیے
مورتیوں کے اندر ملتا ہے؟ ویدوں کے اندر ملتا ہے کیا؟ نہیں, ویدوں کے اندر ملتا ہے کیا؟ ویدوں کے اندر ہے کیا؟ ویدوں کے اندر ہے کیا
دوج ملتا ہے منوسمرتی کے اندر. وید کا مجھے آئیڈیا نہیں ہے, لیکن منوسمرتی کے اندر دوج ہے.
ویدوں میں ہے کیا؟ ویدوں میں ہے کیا؟
مجھے آئیڈیا نہیں ہے. دوج ہوتا ہے اس کے اندر, وید کے اندر شاید ہوتا ہے.
کیا 2 منٹ یار, مجھے بھی یار بہت لمبی بات ہو گئی ان سے, مجھے سمجھ نہیں آ رہا. کچھ آپ کہہ رہے کہ کچھ چیزیں جو ہیں ہندو ٹیکسٹ کی, کیونکہ وہ ویداز میں کیا کہتے ہیں ایک سلوک آتا ہے, اس لیے یہ کینسل آؤٹ ہو جاتی ہے. لیکن یہ ایسا تو ہر کوئی مانتا نہیں ہے نا. آپ دیکھیں ایون جو اوتارس ہیں ان کی سٹوریز دیکھ لیں, موسٹلی جو ہم سیلیبریٹ کرتے ہیں فیسٹیول, وہ سارے قرآن سے آتے ہیں. تو آپ اگر اپنی مرضی ایک ٹیکسٹ اٹھا لیں گے تو وہ جنرلی ہندو نہیں مانتے ویسا. ہر ہندو, آپ جنرلی ہندو سے پوچھیں گے تو وہ مانتا ہے کہ جو پرشورام اوتار ہے اس نے جو ہے 21 بار چھتریہ وہین کر دیا پوری دھرتی کو. 21 بار انہوں نے چھتریہ سارے مار دیے. اس نے کیا کہا, اپنی ماں کی گردن اڑا دی. تو یہ سٹوریز تو ہے نا.
سر یہ تو غلط بات ہے نا, 21 بار چھتریہ وہین کر دیا, کیونکہ دشرتھ کو تو نہیں مارا پرشورام نے. انہوں نے 21 آپریشنز کیے چھتریوں کے خلاف, ایک پرٹیکولر جو اتیاچار کر رہے تھے ان کے اوپر.
ایک سوال ہے بھائی,
21 آپریشن ڈاکٹر تھے وہ,
مطلب انہوں نے یدھ کیے, 21 یدھ کیے چھتریوں کے خلاف.
کرپیا کر کے بھاگوت پران کے وشتچ میرے کو کمپلیٹ کرنے دو. نوریا, we have to go ahead, okay? This will be my last response and we have to move ahead, okay? So third eye, آپ سے پرارتھنا ہے بھاگوت پران کے 9th اسکند کے 15th اور 16th چیپٹر کو اچھے سے پڑھ لیجئے, اور اس میں ایک تالاب کا ورنن آتا ہے شامنت پنچک, ٹھیک ہے؟ اس میں کتنے خون بہایا گیا, کتنا لیٹر آف خون بہایا گیا, وہ بھی مینشنڈ ہے. ذرا آپ پڑھ لیجئے,
بالکل
میں کلیریفائی ہو جائے گا. اور اس پزل کو ذرا سالو کر لیجئے گا ذرا. تب تک آپ کے لیے ایک پزل ہے کہ اگر پرشورام نے 21 بار دھرتی کو کشتریہ وہین کر دیا تھا تو نئے کشتریہ پیدا کیسے کیے گئے؟ نئے کشتریہ آئے کہاں سے؟
میں یہی تو کہہ رہا ہوں, کیا ہی نہیں ہے وہین, بالکل نہیں کیا ہے.
گجب کے. تو بھائی اسی طرح جنیو بھی کچھ الگ چیز ہے, یہ بھی کسی نے اور نے ایڈ کر دیا. اوکے نوریا,
آپ کو جو سوچنا ہے سوچیے, میں نے آپ کو کمانڈ دے دیا ہے, ورڈ بتا دیا ہے سب آپ کو.
اور قرآن سب میں یہ ہے, جب کنفلکٹ ہوگا تب وید کو پریفر کیا جائے گا. ادر سب کچھ ایکسٹینشن ہے اس کا, ٹھیک ہے؟ یہ کلیئر کر لیتے ہیں ہم لوگ کہ کنفلکٹنگ سینیریو میں وید کو پریفرنس دیا جائے گا, نہ کہ کسی ادر کو.
وید شبد پرمان ہے.
شبد. اب میں جانے سے پہلے ایک چیز کلیئر کر دوں گا.
ایک سیکنڈ, I'm so sorry. ایک سیکنڈ.
Remark, closing remark, and then you can close it.
Okay, please, quickly.
All right.
Thank you.
So, this is the beauty of Hinduism. I welcome you all. I welcome myself. You keep bashing it. because it will eventually cleanse any impurity in Hinduism and make it stronger and beautiful.
No,
I
you
don't
tell
want
them
to
to
be
the
bashed
Hindus in
so
the chat.
much.
You tell
Yeah.
that the
So
Hindus in
all
the
I
chat,
am,
not to us.
I being a
Don't
Brahman,
preach
I
don't
being a
preach it to
Hindu, I
don't preach
being
it
a
to us.
Sanātana. All right, I'm just saying it. You can listen it. To all those in chats and like saying, let others bash us, because then only you will understand what are your weak points and what you have to work upon to make you better. This is the beauty of the land which we are proud of and which we have to defend until eternity. Thank you.
Yeah, but
Okay.
This is
that's not.
Okay,
I have
thanks.
to say
Let me
that
close,
if you're
please.
preaching something, you have to practice it. Hindus in general are very dogmatic, and they have practices which are so unscientific and stupid, which makes us like question them. And when we question them, we get tags and we get attacked and we get threats. And this is
Not tax,
something which is
attacked.
going
Yeah.
on. So yeah, we get attacked, we get threats. So practice what you preach. First you need to practice what you preach. You're preaching something and which is not being practiced.
Can I conclude?
Sorry, I'm really sorry. We have to get just some guy in. It's been ages.
Just 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds.
Okay, very quickly, please. I need to get control back of this stream. ये बहुत लंबी हो रही है जी.
Yeah.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल इसके अंदर सर सुनिए आप लोग, वेद के अंदर 4 टाइप के जो है ना उनको प्रमाण मानते हैं. शब्द प्रमाण है, अनुमान है, उपमान है और तर्क है. ये 4 प्रकार के प्रमाण माने जाते हैं. जैसे कि अगर कहीं लिखा हुआ है वेद के अंदर कि आग ठंडी होती है तो उसको आपको नहीं मानना है क्योंकि आग गर्म होती है. तो ये प्रत्यक्ष प्रमाण है. तो ये वेद ये कहता है कि आप 4 तरह के जो तर्क है उनको लेके चलो. अगर उसके ऊपर कोई चीज खरी नहीं उतरती है तो वो आपको नहीं माननी है. दैट्स इट. थैंक यू.
Okay, चलिए.
Thank
चलिए
you.
अगर
Just some guy.
बात हो गया. Next, yeah.
जी, just some guy आप बात करें फिर आशिक ट्रम्प आपकी बारी. जी, just some guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for waiting. I know you've waited ages. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I have a point to make, which is nobody points it out that Hinduism actually promotes a lot of mindless consumerism, and there are reasons behind it. You see, the mindless consumerism in India and especially in the Hindu communities is justified by their festivals, by their culture, and also the caste system sustains that model. So let me explain a little in detail. You see, what a religion is supposed to be about. A religion is supposed to give people a direction regarding culture, regarding lifestyle. But Hindus have managed to consumerize their own religion in a way which would benefit a certain groups of people, which are, for example, the Brahmins. They definitely benefit a lot from ritualistic practices. They have a monopoly over all the major rituals which we perform in the temples. The Banyas, the Jains, and all of these people, they have monopoly over small businesses and sometimes even larger businesses. So when we talk about caste system, we really have to understand that it benefits the consumeristic model that the Hindus have either created or it just grew organically. But nobody points this out. So that's the point I wanted to make.
Yeah, valuable point.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. And I'm surprised we didn't bring that up because, yeah, you see that. I mean, Rukshit, you kind of touched on it earlier as well, like the amount of milk and things that they go and pour, right? In the as you're doing puja and there's devotional offerings, the food that you have to leave out in a country where most people are beneath the poverty line. They basically are surviving on less than $1 a day. Yet, how many liters of milk are being poured down these gullies? Just to worship their supposed deities. But yeah, that's a really good point. Just some guy. Did you want to say anything else, just some guy, or did you have a question?
I think you can also keep this in mind. It's not just that. There are lakhs and lakhs of crores of rupees which even politician and businessmen put their money as part of worship, and that gets published in newspaper that oh, somebody built this gold chain, they got this gold, this thing, gold, that thing for the god, and whole media kind of celebrates that in newspaper, etc., etc. So again, this looks more of a business. I mean, it's also a very clever way to hide all the black money as well. Agar main
Yeah.
sara jo money, if I have a money which I haven't given it to income tax, well, what is the best way to hide and make sure public does not question it? Because public goes by sentiment and faith. So any businessman, any politician, whoever, which part of the country he or she is, if they just gave that money to temple or donations or convert that into some temple structure or statues, okay, who is going to question? People ultimately go by the sentiment. So whatever sentiment which Ek Satya expressed or Third Eye expressed is not the same sentiment that gets resonated by business people or politician. For them it's just a tool. हमारे लिए बस एक टूल है, हमको जब चाहे वोट लेंगे, जब चाहे यूज करेंगे, जब चाहे हम, if we want to maintain that anger against Muslim, we can maintain it. If we want to switch off that anger against Muslim, we can do that. We have the media for that, we have social media for that. So it's a tool. That's what the people need to understand.
And also, they whenever someone from our side points out any criticism about Hinduism, they call us like communists. But let me make a point here. So one of the core ideologies in communism is the monopoly of the state over means of production. And if you look at the way caste system is either created or evolved, it is a monopolistic structures which is distributed to certain castes depending upon what kind of field it is. For example, the Brahmins, they have ritualistic monopolies. The Baniyas, they have monopolies on the businesses. So whenever these Hindus say that we are the communists, so you also follow the communistic model. So they don't even see that. They don't even see the flaws in their own ideology, and they reflect that flaw upon everyone else.
Yeah.
I would like to say something about the tax evasion and kind of black money thing. Doesn't that also happen with NGO?
Is that it?
Satya.
Oh,
It
yes, go
happens.
ahead. And
It
then
happens.
Ashish.
Doesn't that happen with NGO? So should we label all NGO as wrong, and should we ban the NGO from the world just because they also help politicians and
But
businessmen
it's
evade
matter
the
of
tax?
convenience. What we're talking is matter of convenience. See,
So
NGO. See. Now the fact that you're talking about NGO shows NGO can be questioned. But until I mentioned that mandir ka ye ho sakta hai black money, did anybody else bring up this idea? NGO everybody can question because they may or may not have to do with religion. So it's liable to question. There is already
look,
FCRA.
they are already questions, and even South India's mandir pay taxes. Go ask. A lot of collection of South Indian temples go to
Everybody company
government.
pays
All right.
taxes.
So you
Wait.
can go and
Here is the
South.
thing. अगर इंडिविजुअली मैंने टैक्स नहीं पे किया तो भाई व्हाट इज द बेस्ट मींस आइदर टू पे टैक्स और कन्वर्ट इट इनटू व्हाइट दैट्स द होल पॉइंट
So in many countries you can directly donate it to politician and that money got white. So that doesn't change the fact that everything is wrong. So yeah, we have to make
I'm just
system
saying
which
this
will
is
be.
one of the
let
many
me
aspects.
give you one more let me give you one more example. The number of babas, you have so many babas every day. Some new baba is coming with their own science. You know, there's a Nuria, for your you can check out a baba. His name is Nirmal Baba, and he used to be like a very popular name. He used to have his own TV show on national TV, and what he used to do, he used to give like obscure tantras or like obscure remedies. So if you have like let's say you're having a financial problem, so he would say like go and eat golgappa and your problem would be resolved. They are so, yeah, they are babas, and there's this Bageshwar Dham Baba. There are different kinds of babas ruining the the normal psyche of people. And then you have some Babas who are convicted of rapes. There are many, like Asharam and what was the other guy, Nityanand, who also created that fake country of Kailasha. So these people, the Babas are also, they're not only convicts, but they are also looting the country at the same time. And the problem is the normal person doesn't understand the religion. That's why he goes to the Baba, and the Baba exploits it. And when we point it out, then you don't understand the basic point.
Yeah, exactly. Ashika Trump, do you want to come in now? Sorry for the long wait, but go ahead.
Hi, Anuria. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. A long time no see.
I know. I hope you're well.
Time. Thank you. Yes, just coming on. And I was listening to all the debate. I think everybody's missing the point here. And the debate should really be about whether meat eating is justified. I mean, I haven't heard anybody, either way, justify killing an animal. For what purpose? Nobody's been able to justify on a rational basis, on a health basis, or any scientific basis, why you should kill an animal which is a living entity. It has got life just like me and you, and it wants to fight for its life. So
Ashika Trump, I'm so sorry, but just to keep the conversation relevant, this is going to go into a whole nother can of worms about, the moral and dilemma of veganism and things like that.
And also a majority of Hindus do eat meat, so I don't know why this is relevant. Even in Hindu text, eating it is not a problem. Only the cow is a problem.
I'm not talking about religion. Hindus may eat meat. What I'm talking about is from everybody today uses science as a yardstick. Yeah. So using science as a yardstick in the 21st century, science says meat is very bad for your health.
But Ashika Trump, again, just before we delve into this, do you have any thoughts connected to Sanātana Dharma or what's happening in India or anything?
Yeah, I mean, Sanātana Dharma, you see, if you look at Sanātana Dharma as a philosophy, as a wider concept, I'm not a Hindu, by the way. I'm originally from Pakistan. I live in the UK, as you know, Nuria. And I have studied the, Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a very brilliant branch of, science, ancient science. And it also, does not give sanction to eating meats and this. So if you follow a good way of life, which is known as a sattvic way of life, you can't go wrong. You will not harm a fly, So I don't know what all the debate is about.
So Trump, in same Ayurveda Sushrut Samhita, I think chapter 4 or 5, it's already also written that for treating fever, you can eat chicken and other small meats, lean meat. Even that is there. They even recommend urine drinking, not just cow urine. It also has horse urine, camel urine, goat urine, sheep urine, human urine.
Yes. And urine, if you've done any scientific study, you will find that people do drink urine, human urine, and it has got detoxification elements. So just saying urine
can you
is...
hang on.
I'll elaborate on it if you allow me. There's a lot of people in the West now drinking their own urine, and it cures a lot of diseases and detoxifies. Go and read the studies. Don't take my word for it.
Hang on.
Read the studies.
Ashika Trump, can I ask one question? Can you explain me how urine is produced?
Urine is produced through the kidneys, extracting, the water out of your body and putting it into the bowel. And the urine contains a lot of metallic elements which are beneficial to your health. But
hang on. Urine contains...
No, you want to hang on.
Wait. No. You made a point. Lot of beneficial elements. So why would kidney, which is our metabolic, one of the key organs, remove beneficial elements through urine?
A lot of beneficial
is
elements
our kidney a fool?
Your body does not process all of your food and water 100% is not 100%
Yeah,
efficient.
body doesn't want
So
that.
that
That's why it's called urine.
No, it's not
Some
because it
want it.
doesn't
Body
want it.
doesn't want to
No,
use
I
that.
think
Why would
no,
you
it's
put
not
this
that.
thing
No.
which you don't want to
No,
use?
no. It is not that. Your body is not 100% efficient. Just like a car engine is not 100% efficient. It throws out exhaust because it can't burn it. Okay, your metabolism is not 100% efficient. So this is why if you take upon yourself to do yoga, yoga enhances your metabolism and it makes you
Hang on.
much more efficient.
Nuraya,
Okay?
just can you mute
You don't
him?
know anything. You are just talking
Hang
here,
on.
but you do.
You're
Everyone
giving
start
some
drinking
pseudo-scientific information here. You know zero about metabolism. You don't even know what increases metabolism. What increases metabolism has more to do with your large intestine and many other things. And that's a totally different debate, and you are just diverting the debate.
I'm not
Okay, and
diverting. You're the
Rukshit,
one who's diverting.
we have Amanuddin with us as well. So unko main welcome karna chaahungi. Welcome Amanuddin, and I think he also has something to share with us that's related to this.
Thank you so much for inviting me to your live. Just Saurashtra passed this StreamYard link onto me, so I'm honored to be with you on your live. I just put one article here. Can you I make it bigger for you? Yeah, just a second.
Thank you.
Can anybody read it through, please?
Okay, yeah, it says cow urine unfit for human, contains harmful bacteria. It contains E. coli as well, which is
Yeah, it
harmful.
says it has found the peer-reviewed research carried out on urine samples of cows and bulls has found at least 14 types of harmful bacteria, including the presence of oh God, how do you pronounce that? E. coli bacterium, which is commonly associated with stomach infections in humans.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. What I want to say is, you're taking this argument into urine and cow dung and all that. When I ask that, the real basis should be, can anybody justify why they want to kill an animal?
No, but we're not talking about that today, Ashika Trump. We're talking about
the topic is not about what are the ethical reasons behind veganism, yes or no. That's not the topic. Okay.
Can I ask this gentleman one question, please?
Sure. Amanuddin, the mic is yours for a while. Go ahead.
Okay, no problem at all. So I should not be interrupted, yeah? Sorry. Okay. You said in West, people start drinking the human urine or urine from other animals. Yeah. I live in West. I live in the UK. I was brought up in England, yeah? So I haven't come across any white person who drinks urine, human urines on a regular basis. So my point is, why do you have to speak for the benefit of the drinking human urine or cow urine? Is it because your religion talks about the benefit of drinking cow's urine or human urine? If it is the reason or fact, now I'm not finished yet, please. If it is the reason or fact, yeah, then you are far away from scientific finding or whatever. So why do you have to drink urine when you are living in modern era with all these advantage of modern science? We have a high level of modern scientific finding, medical finding. Yeah, so we don't need urine or something else. You talked about the Ayurveda is fine. Ayurveda contributed to the medical science, but it is still recognized by the World Health Organization. There are so many elements in Ayurveda, from Ayurveda, which you can use for the benefit of your health. It's okay. But remember, Ayurveda is not divine scripture. It is, I'm not finished yet. It is made up, it is made from the human being. So there might be human errors in Ayurveda. It's not different from other medical journals or any other thing. So why do you have to drink urine? I mean,
Okay,
where
you
I
wanted to.
tell you something.
Go
I'm
on.
not finished. You talk.
Yeah,
Yeah. Whenever I go to some YouTube channels, some
yeah.
people come from Hindu background. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
they talk about the benefit of drinking urine, human urine, cow urine, eating cow dungs, blah blah blah, and even
Mm-hmm.
they justify pouring the milk onto the siblinga. Why is it? I don't understand.
Okay.
If you are not Hindu, if you are not a
Yeah.
believer of Hindu religion, would you say these things like other people on this platform?
Yeah. I'm not a Hindu, but I said I am a believer
It
in
sounds like,
science. Okay. No,
so,
I'm not a Hindu. I'm
but
not a
if you
Hindu.
are,
Nuria
so
knows.
why you are speaking for the benefit of
Yes.
drinking urine?
Okay.
Why do you
Allow
have
me then. Now you've got a long turn. Allow me. I'll give you an
okay?
article. It's from NDTV. A lot of the leftists on this platform were citing NDTV. Okay. And here in the UK, there is a man who drinks his own urine daily and claims it left him looking 10 years younger. Here it is, 1st of May 2022. So Google this. It's on there. I
Yeah,
found this for
can you
you.
share this article on the screen, please?
I'm not able to because I'm on the
Yeah, so if
stream.
you are
So
not
if I
able to now, I shared my
I'm
article on
citing it
here.
for you. I'm citing it for you. It's
No,
NDTV.
you have to know. No, you when you are on the
You can
live,
Google it
please.
yourself.
No,
I told
I don't believe anything from Google University. I'm really sorry.
no, it's
Can
not from
you
Google. It's an
can you
article from Google.
can I ask you one
Okay.
question, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes.
You claim that the
Mhm.
drinking human urine or animals' urine is beneficiary for people's health, and somebody has been drinking the human urine and he
Yes.
looks 10 years younger than
Yes.
as he is now. Okay, well,
Yes.
is it recognized this where this article is published, and is
Yeah, I
it
just told
recognized?
you.
I'm not sure. Now,
And
let me talk. Is it recognized by
NDTV.
the? No, I'm not
You know
finished yet.
NDTV?
Is it recognized by the World Health Organization, or where it is published in? Where it is published? Is it published in any medical journal? Can you show this, please?
I'm showing you NDTV.
No. Yeah, who is the
medical,
moderator here?
you know, World
The
Health
moderator,
Organization you're talking about?
you
World Health
can
Organization is a corrupt organization.
share it on the
Okay.
screen. We can see.
I just told you I can't because I'm on the stream. If
No,
I
that's
share
lie.
it, I will.
That's lie.
You're telling me I'm lying?
No,
Question.
Please take
don't
back
get.
your words. I'm
No,
giving
you
you reference.
cannot claim these sort of things
I'm not
on
claiming
any
it's there.
live on
Look,
any
Google
live
this.
channel without any strong reference.
UK
I
man who
never
drinks
heard
his
of.
own
Let me talk.
urine
I
daily
never
claims it
heard
left him
of.
looking 10 years
I
younger.
never heard of
NDTV.
anything.
Well, you haven't
Any
heard of a lot of
about
you. I mean, I
drinking
don't think you live in
urine
a
published
cave.
in the
If
medical
you haven't
journal
heard,
or peer review.
okay. If you haven't heard of
Show
it,
me.
doesn't mean it's not
Show
there.
us.
Okay.
No, you have to show us on the screen. Share it, please.
I'm just telling you, Google it yourself.
No, we can't.
NDTV.
No, I don't believe.
I'm
I
on my
don't believe.
phone.
Why do I have to Google
Then
it?
why do you argue?
You
Why don't you
claim
Google
you
it?
have to prove.
I
Why do I
have
have to
proved
prove?
to
No, this is
Okay,
not.
okay, guys.
NDTV.
Okay,
I
guys,
wouldn't make
this
it
is
NDTV is not a science
take
journal.
a second, Ashika Trump. This is getting a bit like redundant in
Yeah, I mean,
circles.
this is
It's
not the topic.
only with religions like Islam and Hinduism that we would veer off and start
Sorry,
discussing the benefits
I
of
didn't know
urine.
that.
Yeah, can
Can
I
I
can I say something on the urine aspect regarding Hinduism, not
And then
something like
guys,
benefit and
sorry,
aspect.
एक second.
So-
Rukshit, how much time do you have? Because हमें थोड़ी देर में we should wrap up, है ना?
I think in another 3-4 minutes and probably we can wrap up.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright.
Cool. So just some guy. Yeah. Go ahead, and then we'll get everyone's closing. And we'll
Aman
end.
Udeni. So I'm
Oh, sorry,
saying
Amanuddin,
that-
GG.
yeah. So I'm saying to the Aman Udeni regarding the Hinduism and religious belief of regarding urine drinking. So as you know, Ayurveda, it's an ancient text, and many Indians do follow Ayurveda, just like many Indians they still follow homeopathy. All right, and in that respect, cow urine had particular medicinal benefits as they had described in the Ayurveda. It is not much in the Hindu scriptures. It is the Ayurveda which says that, which says that cow urine has benefits, medicinal benefits if taken with along some herbs in that respect. But in current day, in modern day, as you were saying, how many percentage of the Indians do take urine? I will say that some percentage just like take homeopathy, all that it is banned and it is also pseudo medicine, but many take homeopathy. All right. Similarly, some portion of Hinduism, those who believe in Ayurveda and that aspect of it, wait cow urine, those consume it, but that's very small percentage, not much.
No, the question was not whether so many people consume it. The point was people were trying to make an argument that it is good for your health, which is not backed by
The debate
science.
was on
We
that.
go by
Just like
science.
just like homeopathy. Is homeopathy recognized by science? But
No.
still, India has homeopathy stores. India has homeopathy doctors recognized
Yeah,
and
it doesn't
everything.
make it right.
India has,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
definitely. I'm agreed. That doesn't make it right, but still, it is prevalent in India, and those people will go on supporting homeopathy. Those people will go on supporting Unani medicine, but that doesn't
those
need.
people. I'm not talking about those people. I'm just
I
saying,
don't
talking
agree
about
that
science.
in today. Yeah, I don't agree in today's time anyone should try to cure himself or herself with drinking urine, wait cow urine
Good,
or
good.
whatever.
Great.
Simple.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, that's good to know.
Okay, can I come in, Nuria?
Yes, go ahead, and then we're going to wrap it up. So final thoughts, Ashika Trump, and then we'll,
Yeah, I mean, they wanted to know some scientific studies. I mean, if they go on to National Institutes of Health, there are loads of studies looking at the benefits of urine for medicinal purposes. I'm not advocating drinking urine. This has gone into a different tangent, this debate. But what I'm saying is that if you want to, look into it scientifically, there are scientific articles that have looked at this, and it needs one to research this area. But I'm not a Hindu. Why would I say I'm a Hindu or not a Hindu? I believe in science, and whatever the science leads, that's where I go. If the science says no, I will follow that. But what I'm saying is that I am a vegetarian myself, and I became a vegetarian from a meat-eating background. I'm ex-Muslim, actually. And why I came to that is because I could no longer justify to myself why I would take the life of an animal just for pleasure, because I can eat lots of other things which don't involve mutilating animals, and therefore I took a different path, and that's all I'm advocating, is to take an alternative path. Why would you want to mutilate an animal in this day and age when there is an abundance of food choices that you can make? And plus, scientifically, meat is not good for you. It's not healthy. Okay, it creates a lot of advanced glycation products in your body, and this is what I was trying to get at, that meat eating should actually be avoided on health grounds, and that's all I'm trying to put out there. That why
Okay,
do you
but
want
it's
to eat
not
meat?
related to the topic, is it?
It's not related to
not
the topic.
related at all. And I'm sorry,
No,
it is going to nearly 4
there's a
hours.
lot of things
Thank you.
that
Yeah,
are not
I
related to
think
the topic,
I'm
and
really
people
sorry,
have talked about
Ashika
it.
Trump. You've completely derailed the conversation. It's meant to be about
Yeah.
Sanātana Dharma and India and what's happening there. So I'm gonna have to stop you. Thank you though for joining. I just want to get final words from Rukshit and Kshitij and Amanuddin, if that's okay, and then we're gonna close. G Rukshit.
Yeah. So as I said, again, we had a debate, and hopefully people understood whatever the perspective was from ex-Hindu atheist perspective, what Hinduism, Brahmanism is all about, and whatever we have discussed, the political aspect, the religious aspect, the social aspect. There were a lot of good points, and we had some decent debate. Thankfully, no, too much of matlab, and I mean, there are a lot of horrible words used, but thankfully nothing as such, which good to see. But as I said, people need to study and understand, and mm, try to come to terms with the today's reality. Okay, the today's reality doesn't mean the same aspect of reality which you like to see. The reality can be many other aspect as well. Okay, so we have to be open to the possibilities and various ideas. uh, it's like people with religious ideas, they come and say that why aren't we open to religious idea? It's because for all these year people were open to religious ideas, that now they're saying maybe we need to get out of the religion and look at the society from different perspective. So that's the shift in thinking which is kind of required. And most importantly, I think there are a lot of good take home messages. Say there may be religious Hindus as well, that's okay. There may be practicing Hindus, okay, get it. But at least can we ensure that we be secular and we vote based on our economics and economic issues, and not on the issues of religious community ideas. Okay, there are government planning projects for religious community, and hence that community should vote. Instead, why can't we look at this? Okay, economic aspect, I have benefit, I'll vote this. If I didn't have, then maybe look at other parties or work on that other political aspect. Okay, so hopefully that should be the take-home message. And more importantly, a lot of people have generalized ideas. There are a lot of perception. Whatever people were debating with what Hinduism is this, Sanātana Dharma is, it's based on the perception, not based on actual reading, understanding, independent thought. It's either heard from somebody else or influenced by the society. That's what the take home is, that better to use your own independent thinking rather than looking at the influence of the society. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rukshit, and thank you so much for all your time and being here for so long and answering the questions. I think people really enjoyed the debate. And yeah, so Kshitij, we'll come to you, and then Amanuddin.
Yeah, thank you, Nuria, for having this stream. Basically, we did talk about what basically Hinduism is and what Hindu texts talk about. And the point is that most of the time people are just deflecting, that they're doing pick and choose. Like, we're going to only talk about one part of Vedas, or we would only have this as pramanas, as substance. But the point is, Hindu texts are full of what other religious texts have, and Hinduism is no different. It has a lot of problems which are still there in the society. The good thing is that Hindus don't read their texts, so that was a good thing. Once they start reading their text, they will find horrible things written in their books, from incest to sati, to the practice of sati, to child marriages, to animal sacrifices, to beheading done by their own gods. So all these things are there in Hinduism, and a good thing is that Hindus don't learn about this, don't know about this. Therefore, their Hinduism today is basically built upon the concept of Hindutva, which is a political ideology which stems from the early 1900s, from 1920. And this ideology, which we have already discussed, is a very hateful ideology, very discriminatory ideology, especially against the minorities. And yeah, perhaps when people would try to understand this ideology when you look at the political implications of what this ideology has done to India, particularly after 2014, you would understand how hateful it has made the society, which used to be somehow welcoming to other groups and other people. And yeah, that's what my two points were: what we understood about Hinduism, and what the consequences of Hindutva is there in 2023. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I think there is a super chat. Yeah.
Yes, there is. I will get to that as well. Amanuddin, did you want to have the closing remarks?
Thank you for having me, and thank you again for letting me say something. Because I wasn't on the live in the beginning of beginning of the live, so I don't catch most of the things. So in the end, I would like to say one thing. Hindu fundamentalism is in rise in India at the moment, and they are trying to, some politicians are trying to use Hindu religion as tool, and they are just trying to change Hindu religion into a radical political ideology, just like Islam. It's my opinion anyway. So I think by 2023, India should have had overcome the caste system. You know what I mean? This is very worrying, and in this century, India has to struggle with the caste system, and through the caste system, through the caste system or Varnapata, whatever you call in India, Varnapata or caste system, people are abused by the upper class as well. Especially if you mention the abuse of abusive behaviors to the Dalit people in India. We often heard about Dalit children, Dalit women being abused and tortured by the upper class Brahmin. So I think we should concentrate on this sort of thing, and I hope there should be a Indian Abraham Lincoln who would come forward and demolish the caste system. You know what I mean? That's my message only. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful message, and that's why I'm so grateful to everybody here. I'm so grateful for the work that ex-Hindu atheists are doing as well, just to shine a light on it. Like, as you said, it's ridiculous in this day and age that we still have something like the caste system operating. And the more I learn about it, it gets like just darker and darker. And obviously, I know things like colonization did not help. But the fact that we go back to the source and address the root problem, which is what Rukshit, Kshitij, all these people spend their time doing to try and wake up the masses and create a better society. I think it's really, really important that we keep having these conversations, not just in Hindi and Urdu, but also in English, so we can, make the Western world also aware of what's happening in India, what are the root issues that we need to speak out against, and the kind of minorities that need protection, and all the human rights abuses, and how religion can play a part in exacerbating that. So yeah, I just want to thank absolutely everybody here who joined, who spoke. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you, Hadrian, for joining. He sent another super chat saying, great discussion of Sanātana drama. Sorry, he meant Sanātana Dharma. Nuria, you should bring Vimo and Pranav as well. They are Indian atheists.
Yeah, they're good as well. Vimo and Pranav, yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. I think I've spoken to Vimo before. I've heard about him, but I definitely will. I think ex-Hindu, you posted something, and I think it was a beautiful comment to end on. We want atheists of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, I'd say even Afghanistan, everywhere, to create a platform. That will be the name of the platform, IPB. I think that's so beautiful, because even today, like, I've left Islam, people who have left Hinduism from across the border, if we can join forces and not play into the normal stereotype that most of them want us to play into, that Indians hate Pakistanis and Pakistanis hate Indians. Even today in the chat, people were saying, Nuria, you've left Islam, but you hate Hindus. No, it's the opposite. It's the fact that I care about Hindus. I care about human life. I care about Muslims, Hindus, Christians, Jains, whoever. They're human beings. They live in India, wherever they live. But the fact that I think it's a powerful message when Pakistanis and Indians and Bangladeshis and whoever come together. So yeah, thank you all. And yeah, let's do this again sometime soon. But keep up the good fight. Before you go, please do subscribe. Let me just share ex-Hindu Atheist channel. Can you just tell us, Rukshit, do you do regular streams? Yeah.
Currently, because of some technical issue, not able to, but we do have Twitter spaces regularly. Every week we have Twitter spaces. Last week as well we had. Instagram, we continue to post regularly. So yeah, definitely go ahead, look at the Instagram, Twitter, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you. And they're up to 4.33k subs. So please, let's get the subscriber count up. Their work is so important. So please share it, like it, subscribe it. If you can't even support financially, just liking and sharing means the world. We just want to get our message out. So yeah, please go ahead. And Rukshit, I hope people do come over from this channel to your channel. And I'll speak to you guys all soon. Take care, everybody. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Thanks, Nuria. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Happy